right, we are getting into the match right now. There it is, the gates have opened. And it does look like, ooh, this is a comp that we know that Splyce is able to run, this Windwalker Demon Hunter. So we'll have to see if this is a good pick.
Yeah, into the Thunder Cleave from Pen and Paper, which is a bit unexpected. We're going to have to see how well DouYu can kite Thugonomics, which can be a difficult task against a Demon Hunter and Windwalker. But Chun-Li under pressure. Tons of damage coming out from PCAT early on. They're trying to get the Touch of Karma Force, but with Iron Bark and Fortify Improved, Chun-Li should be able to stabilize. He's very scared, though, behind the pillar over here. DouYu trying to set up a Stormkeeper, but Thugonomics is attacking him as well. The spread pressure is starting to sink in. Novos is starting to feel the pressure. Tournament stage, first game at BlizzCon.
Yeah, it's an interesting comp. They really were trying to burst down Saji. You say that Chun-Li is not playing Serenity. Last tournament, they definitely were. Oh, and
what is going
burst.
on? Touch of Karma already forced out from Chun-Li. Normally, the Pen and Paper playing this composition, we focus on surviving and extending the match, but so far, they've been unleashing tons of pressure. In the meantime, setting up a swap onto Saji, down below half, manages to survive the stun lock, which means he'll be able to use Frenzy. Nice Imprison on the Frenzy regeneration. Perfect timing from Thugonomics. Now they need to stay on target. If they allow Saji to recover, it's going to be difficult to maintain this momentum. DouYu now under fire as they switch their attention to him. I like the constant swaps off the HOTS. Chun-Li, though, needs to be careful, wants to play defensive and not throw the match without Touch of Karma available.
Yeah, and you see Chun-Li all over the map right now, but definitely trying to stick onto the back of Saji. We'll see if he swaps, but look at Thug just taking so much damage at this point. Down to half. That Blur didn't proc, and that's really important. He needs to keep that. And there we go. Now we have the swap. Chun-Li is trying to get over there. Dives away from PCAT because he is in trouble. I really like that Pen and Paper is punishing Chun-Li every time he pushes in.
Oh, nice portal and ride the wind to reconnect onto Saji. They're focusing on split DPS, and it's starting to sink in. DouYu down to half. Fell barrage from Thugonomics. DouYu jumps away, but it ultimately reconnects. PCAT trying to force Chun-Li away. I like the defense from the Warrior here. He's got good synergy with the Resto Druid, just protecting the Druid, keeping Chun-Li on his toes. But there goes the Chaos Nova. The double stuns are about to land together. Barkskin needs to be enough. It looks to be so. Some healing surges from DouYu bought the time for Saji to live. Now he's going to be able to start to re-stabilize. DouYu still down at half. Thugonomics trying to keep up his momentum. As soon as Fell Barrage is available, look for those Fell Lasers to fly, because Thugonomics is going to do a ton of damage with that ability.
Oh, he's going for it. DouYu was able to get off an Ice Fury, tossing out that instant damage. There we go. Touch of Death with the clones.
Wombo.
Lots of damage onto Saji, having to use that Iron Bark on himself because Bark Skim was down.
Perfect fear there from PCAT. That intimidating shout during the Touch of Death attempt protected Saji, and that's the synergy between the Warrior and Resto Druid that is required to break up these burst setups. If Saji can stabilize through the spread pressure, they're going to be looking good, but Thugonomics' pressure is starting to sink in. DouYu down below half. Chun-Li paralyzes Saji. He switches over to DouYu. Fell Barrage being channeled. Insta-pummel. PCAT is insane on this Warrior coming up from China region, playing really well with these shutdowns.
Oh, and they're on Chun-Li again. Great Imprison onto PCAT, though, allows Chun-Li to try to get back to his target. Looks like they're going to go on DouYu pretty hard. That Ride the Wind used just very briefly right there to stay on target. And with the Elemental Shaman, you got to remember, it's very important to not kick the wrong school. They have so many schools available.
Oh, Saji now getting swapped too, but with no stuns, he should be all right. Chun-Li! Oh, boy, what is going on? Touch of Karma forced out, barely surviving through that Earthshock stun. DouYu threatens lethal constantly, but Chun-Li now has thrown caution to the wind, trying to train down the healer, but he's overextending. PCAT's forcing him back. Bash it out of Stormbolt, portals away, they waste the darkness. Chun-Li portaled out of the darkness, and now that cooldown won't be available for later. A bit of a misplay there between Chun-Li and Thugonomics, and they're starting to make Novus' team look shaky. They need to find a kill here now. Saji caught into the stuns. Barkskin gets traded out. Will they be able to burst him down? Frenzy Regeneration gets imprisoned. Perfect timing from Thugonomics. They switch off the imprison, but they need to get back on that Resto Druid. They know it. They're back onto him. Will Saji be able to deal with this? He's down low, trying to kite away with the dash. DouYu healing him up with some healing surges. PCAT is low as well. Saji has started to stabilize, and as we get closer to dampening, setups like that will become way more difficult to recover from.
Yeah, it seems like Saji, and during those times when they go really hard on Saji, DouYu and PCAT are we're rotting down just from that cleave from both players.
Yeah, we can see DouYu just crowd controlling Thugonomics, a root totem into a cyclone. Good crowd control between Saji and DouYu, keeping the Demon Hunter under control. But Novos' mana seems to be doing all right as we see him pop out of barrel. Actually a lead for Saji. Thugonomics now getting swapped over to good coordination from PCAT and DouYu. These constant swaps, but Novos
they got the
foot.
blur. That's important.
Forcing the blur out, a major defensive cooldown for the Demon Hunter. Now Chun-Li caught into the bashes. They're trying to set up the kill. Imprisonment denies the kill. Chun-Li rolls away, but Stormbolt charge to follow up. Thugonomics goes for the peels. Chun-Li now will survive. Metamorphosis has been been popped. They're going to on Doyu. Doyu jumps away. Thugonomics reconnects. They're still looking for this split DPS strategy. Chun-Li committee is touch of death. PCAT trying to force him away. Nice cyclone from Novos. Denies the pressure from the Warrior. Saji now getting bursted down if Thug wants to switch over. Looks like he's happy to just train the Elemental Shaman. They got Astral Shift and Barkskin from that attempt. So the next stun lock on Saji could be devastating.
Yeah, he does have that Iron Bark available, but they really need to keep the pressure up. Doyu, again, Thugonomics just on his back constantly. He was trying to get off the Ice Fury. There we go. Let's see if he can do that. Now he's going to have a lot of instant damage after that. But not hurting Thug too much, but look at how much mana Novos has dumped in the last few seconds.
I think Novos needs to consider going for a drink.
Yeah.
This is going to be going on for some time, I believe, so he's trying to use Healing Touch and extend his mana, but if he doesn't get a drink, he's 30% behind. Chun-Li getting bursted, trying to roll away. Iron Bark gets traded out. Doyu right on top of him. Cyclone's on Thug. Thug trinkets out. That was an offensive trinket. Now maybe if they catch Thugonomics in a stun behind a pillar, he could go down. He's going to have to be aware of that. They set up another swap onto Saji. Both players connect. Can PCAT peel it off? He goes for the Stormbolt onto the Demon Hunter. Trinkets out to peel. Doyu gets paralyzed, but Saji survives, and the defense between the Warrior and the Druid has been excellent. Thug getting bursted down, catching him off guard. Offensive trinket punished instantly, and China is going to take game one over Splyce.
Wow.
Wow. So what happened in the last few seconds there, I was just watching Novos basically. He went out of line of sight to get that drink that you were talking about, but while he was back there, they were able to line up that kill onto Thugonomics just because, honestly, probably because of that trinket that you called out as well.
The Druid used his...
Going to dismantle Windwalker DK once that dampening kicks in.
Yeah, and without the Purge and Electrocute from a Resto Shaman, their aggression is going to be so much lower, and I think this composition might backfire on them. We'll have to wait and see. PCAT needs to be on the ball. He has to protect his Druid constantly from these setups that Valido and Chun-Li will attempt on Saji.
Yeah, and they're just going to go in right away. Look at all the damage Chun-Li is taking already. This is not a great time for Chun-Li. Even in the last match, there we go, a Stormkeeper was able to be cast, so here comes the big damage on to Velido and Chun-Li. That Elemental Shaman's going to be able to cleave a ton. Both members of the team, Splyce, are now really low.
Yeah, Valido and Doyu getting low. Icebound Fortitude could be forced out early on. Connects the Death Strike and stabilizes. That initial burst was a dog pile of cooldowns. Valido is now an open target for Pen and Paper.
Yeah, this already is not looking good for Splyce. You know, Chun-Li down low, having to use that Fortifying Brew, but they are bursting right now. That was that touch of death. Not able to get too much out of it, unfortunately.
And by focusing Chun-Li, I can imagine Novos is keeping his life limbs on the Monk. But now they swapped to Novos, and I don't know where they learned to do damage in China, but this is so much damage. I have never seen a Thunder Cleave with this much pressure early on. Novos is just hiding behind a tombstone in the corner, trying to recover. Does not want to lose game two and be put on match point. Grip on Saji, but they dodged the leg sweep. Doyu was able to escape. That's 2 leg sweeps in a row that Saji got away from. Now Valido game bursted down. He was isolated out. Iron Bark, and a nice Cyclone. Low HP on the Iron Bark. If they can set up off of this, Stormkeeper is loaded up by Doyu. Novos caught into the bash, and Saji looking to carry. Full clone now on Novos. Valido in full retreat. Doyu jumping on top of him. Lava Burst, Ice Fury lines it barely at the last second, but they're still chasing him down. Triple Cyclone on Novos. Valido is still low. Caught into the Earthshock stun. He jumps into battle. If he was in battle that whole time, I think Valido might have gone down. Maybe he still will. So much damage coming out from PCAT at the moment. Valido barely staying alive.
Yeah, that offensive karma by Chun-Li. He wants to stay offensive because it is a ticking time bomb at this point. Velido's defensive cooldowns are down. Gets cloned at half again. Saji going for more clones, but does get kicked by Chun-Li. Chun-Li just sitting on the back of Do constantly.
Oh, another stun. Wind shear on Novos. Good cross CC. Valido now knocked into the open. Doyu trying to set up. Saji blinking in. Saji's so aggressive on the cycle. He fakes the Mind Freeze. He's moving towards Novos. He wants a clone. If Saji can get a clone here
he's
on
running
Novos,
after him.
Valido might go down. Saji's chasing him down. Bash into clone. Valido with no AMS for a couple of seconds, but Doyu's in trouble from Saji playing so aggressive. He's going to have to get healed back up. Valido is stabilized. Saji's making some aggressive moves, though, and keeping Novos on the back foot.
All right, they went for a kick. A little bit of a miscommunication right there, but that Ride the Wind was able to for Chun-Li to get back. They're looking to kick every Stormkeeper. That's the big thing they need to interrupt. Chun-Li, again, look at how low he is. No karma for 30 seconds. This is bad. Novos is landing those heals. Whoa, that was close.
Look at Novos' mana. He's just tapped on mana from the constant swaps of Pen and Paper. He can't keep his hots on enough targets, and he's shortly going to be and Pen and Paper are relentless. This assault is not ending anytime soon. Tons of damage on Valido. Full clone on Novos, and China is literally insane. Valido Wraith walks away but goes down, and Pen and Paper are looking to show dominance here. 1 win away from 3-0ing Splyce.
It's so scary. Every time that Do gets that Stormkeeper off, he has 2 targets standing right in front of him that he's going to be able to just chain lightning into.
Going because they're on match point at this, and they don't want to lose
scary.
the pen and paper first series of the day, man.
All right, let's see how fast Splyce connects to their target. They're definitely going to be looking for Saji. Saji is pre-hotting immediately. Looks like they're going to start on Doe, though. They do get a kickoff on that very first Stormkeeper, but that does mean that Doe's going to be able to get off that Storm, or the Ice Fury, rather.
Yeah, they're training down Chun-Li once again, trying to get Earth Shield on Chun-Li, and then when they go for their burst, sometimes they switch to Thugonomics. Touch of Death committed, they go for the kill onto Doyu. Immediately trades out his Astral Shift, recognizing the cooldowns, but now gets imprisoned on it. Decent peels there from Thugonomics, going to buy them more time to set up. Like that reaction, but now Thugonomics is going to be the playmaker. He's got Metamorphosis. Doyu is an opening target. They need to get Saji in crowd control. They need to get him into a Paralyze before they go for the burst. Novos, though, getting swapped to Earthshock into a full bash. Novos down below half, barely survives. Thugonomics saves him with that darkness, but it was overlapped. Cooldown overlap from Splyce has been the story of this series, and it's costing them matches. Chun-Li now uses Touch of Karma. Full Hex landed. Thugonomics caught into the Stormbolt, and pen and paper let it rip. Everybody dangerously low. Novo struggling to recover. Finally, some pressure on Doyu. There's the Paralyze. They need to get the kill with this, but PCAT denies it with a perfectly timed intimidating shot on Thugonomics, just not able to connect. Saji now should be able to get the heals going, and Do should stay alive.
And so the all-in strat was actually going to be on the Shaman. Chun-Li is even playing Tiger Eye Brew to kind of get by all that armor that Do's going to have.
Oh, Novos catches a healing wave there. Chun-Li's literally riding the wind away. Chun-Li is so scared. You can see the nerves in this match. They're getting knocked around and bodied by pen and paper.
It's really scary because PCAT's doing a great job of stacking onto Do every single time so that he's going to be able to cleave down Thug and PCAT. And great kiting with Gust of Wind right there.
Ooh, Ice Fury attempt. Novos needs to be ready for this. Chun-Li getting bursted down. Healing waves loaded up and channeled into Chun-Li. Now he will stabilize, but Doyu's defensive cooldowns are shortly going to be available. Iron Bark available. Pen and paper are in a good position. This double stun lock is basically getting absolutely nothing done. This is looking terrible for Splyce as Novos' mana is starting to wane. He's trying to get a drink in the back line. They need to play defense. Chun-Li portals away. Thugonomics retreats. Good team coordination here to set up a drink for Novos, but he's not getting any mana. He got literally 0 mana. Saji's right on top of him. Goes for the bash cyclone. Chun-Li roll. He fakes the roll kick. He faked the roll kick from Chun-Li. He's looking for the clone. Thugonomics denies it. Good job by Thugonomics to back him up, but almost nobody fakes Chun-Li on that roll kick. Sick plays from China here, and now Chun-Li is low. Touch of Karma available. Chun-Li rolls away. Saji on his toes looking for a clone, and sick plays from pen and paper throughout.
Yeah, they're going to have less peels, though, because they are not playing the Fist of Fury stun. Chun-Li sitting on the back of Do, though, and trying to do damage, but I mean, Saji's just doing an incredible job. His positioning, absolutely perfect this game.
All right, mana is starting to even out. Novos might want to hold out on the purges, though. He needs to make sure this can go on for a little bit longer because Doyu has a lot of cooldowns to survive. Chun-Li getting bursted, but he rolled over to Paralyze, trying to set up some damage. PCAT in position to peel. Sky Fury is down. Doyu wants to go in. PCAT trying to move in as well, but he's snared, and it is difficult to connect onto Windwalker Demon if they want to kite, and I think it's important for Splyce to be kiting right now and trying to set up drinks. It seems to be what they're trying to do. PCAT trying to connect. He misses the double Chaos Nova on Do. Now Do is not stunned, and that's going to put their pressure behind. Saji's on top of Novos, denying the drinks, and Saji really an MVP Druid. Double stun from Chun-Li here, trying to set up with some burst. Imprisoned on Saji, good cross crowd control. They need to get an Astral Shift from that, but they're not even finding it. Ice Fury attempt from Doyu. He pre-karma'd it, and Doyu held on to the Ice Fury. So Doyu baited that out. Now he's looking for another. Thugonomics is trying to go with that split DPS strategy, but that means he's going to be in the open, wide open for Doyu. Lava Burst flying out. Nice root on PCAT behind the pillar by Novos. Novos trying to escape. Doyu still setting up some burst. Now onto Novos. He literally soloed him down to 30%, and PCAT mounted up to charge over back onto Novos. He gets feared away. Good timing there by PCAT as they're trying to swap to the healer. Novos is starting to sweat right now. He's sitting in that Earthen Shield Totem trying to recover. Pummel onto his heal. Novos slowly starting to recover. Needs to get some heals. Gets wind sheared. Good interrupt coordination here from pen and paper.
No.
And now Novos gets storm bolted on the next cast, and Prison has to be used on the Warrior for Novos to breathe. Doyu is now in trouble though as Splyce finally gets some pressure.
Yeah, but Novos has used everything. The only thing he has left is Spirit Link Totem at this point. A good kick onto Saji. The double stun coming out with the Storm, Earth, and Fire, so they're going to burst down Do with this burst, but excellent plays by Do, you know, using the roots Looks like PCAT is struggling to get reconnected onto his target.
Oh, look at how smart he is. He has the Fire Elemental on Novos in the far corner. That Fire Elemental chasing him, denying a drink, and now Saji's moving in. He wants a bash. He wants a Cyclone. They got the interrupt from the Demon Hunter early on, so Chun-Li needs to stop this Cyclone. They paralyzed him, but he knew they were going to stop him, so he was in bear farm beforehand. Now Chun-Li getting soloed in the middle. Touch of Karma shortly going to be available. That mana bar is the clock ticking on Splyce's life here in this series.
Yeah, and Chun-Li really needs to make something happen. He does have that Karma available if they do go on him, but he has PCAT right on his back non-stop. They're going to reconnect onto the Ellie Shaman. Touch of Death is used. This is probably going to be one of their last bursts of the game. Oh, he gets a Stormkeeper off.
He got the Touch of Karma right before it, and there's the Paralyze to cover with crowd control. Good cross CC from Splyce, but Saji denies the kill with a well-timed Iron Bark. Novos trying to sit down for a drink. PCAT leaps over. Good awareness, but he got the mana he needed. Now he's got the mana lead. He's got some mana. He can dump the Purge. They got a 10-second window where Doyu doesn't have a defensive cooldown. They need to go now. They need the Purges. Novos needs to get aggressive. Paralyze on Saji, but now Novos is getting punished for that. If he's going to play aggressive, Doyu jumps on top of him, lobs out some Lava Burst, looking for an Ice Fury, and Doyu's looking to try and solo Novos. Chun-Li now getting stunned up by PCAT. PCAT gets imprisoned away, and these defensive imprisons are a sign of afraid. You can see Splyce are afraid because of these defensive imprisons. Novos astral shifts, jumps away from PCAT. PCAT's not going to keep chase. He's going to switch targets, try and back up Doyu, but now Saji may need to think about going for a drink here as this game moves on.
All of these Earthbind totems have been incredible onto Thug and Chun-Li. They're going to go for the burst. They have the leg sweep. They force
Triple
Astral
Fear!
Shift.
Chun-Li in a 3v1! Will he go down? Doyu trying to chase him down. PCAT leaps over, trying to get it. Nice Cyclone out of the Fear. If one execute connects, Chun-Li will fall full Storm Bolt. Novos has Spear Link. Thugonomics needs to get over there. Darkness and Spear Link overlap from Splyce, but Chun-Li stays alive.
Yeah, and Thug got out of it immediately. Chun-Li is by himself with PCAT, doing a great job using that Tiger Eye Brew so he can punch through that plate armor.
Nice imprison. On the die by the sword, PCAT held it, low HP from Thugonomics. Can Novos line up some purges out of this? Saji has cooldowns to survive. It would be a throw for PCAT to go down. They don't get the Iron Bar. Paralyzed connects. Rallying try to stay alive. A couple more seconds, but Chun-Li wants his kill. In the meantime, Doyu secures a full hex. Chun-Li gets caught into a Stormbolt. Earthshock is 1 second too late. Gets the Touch of Karma off to save himself. Now PCAT on the back foot. If Novos connects any purges, will PCAT be able to hang on?
The Stormkeeper.
They're trying to keep it going. Doyu's trying to counter pressure. Sky Fury is down. Thugonomics seems to be the primary target. They're cleaving them both, trying to make sure that Earth Shield is not the target they're hitting. Double leg sweep, paralyzed setup, and Doyu has nothing left, and Splyce are looking to put a point on that board.
Oh, there we go.
We're
all right,
in a
now
series
Splyce.
now.
Yep, Splyce came back. I will say the big turning point of that match was Novos sitting down to drink. You saw his mana bar go up, and then you saw him completely use it on purges immediately.
Yeah, we also saw a lot of overlapped.
I really hope that Novos just really pulls something out for his team right here. Pen and Paper just looking absolutely dominant so far.
Yeah, I definitely think Splyce are afraid. Pen and Paper just sticking to one comp, one strategy, just play good and win. That is Pen and Paper strategy. Splyce, they're playing afraid, they're overlapping cooldowns, and now with the Druid, they're going to lose their aggression that the Shaman would have brought, and we have to see how that plays out. Nice Cyclones from Novos early on, denying PCAT's pressure on that Warrior. Thugonomics, though, caught into a bash, and Doe is trying to blast into him. Novos repositioning. It looks like PCAT's looking as if he wants to fear Novos, but he's going to charge back, hold on to the fear. Chun-Li portals away from the charge. Leap into swap onto Novos. Huge damage to follow that up. Already down to half. Sharpened Blade following that up. Onto the Frenzy Regeneration as well. Denying all the boosted healing. No, Novos saved it. That was smart by Novos. Saved the Frenzy Regeneration until after the Sharpened Blade. Made sure it was almost a full heal. If he had done that into it, he might be dead right now. Yeah. But he had to use his Iron Bark and his Bark Skin, so Splyce in a bad position, although.
And look, Saji can just do whatever he wants at this point. He's going to get incapped pretty much on cooldown. But there we go. Now we have
Pre-walled it. Doe
pre-astral
shift the stun. If he didn't do that, I actually think he was dead there. Nice play from Doe. Now they're trying to set up some pressure, but they switch to PCAT. He can't sit in battle stance. That's good awareness there by Splyce, punishing PCAT for playing aggressive. Doe, you trying to jump back, retreating behind the pillar, trying to bait Chun-Li or Thugonomics to overextend, and they're falling for the bait so far. Novos needs to be ready for that. He's moving back out into the middle of the map. Chun-Li portals back. He's not going to overextend and fall for Doyu's trap behind this ramp. Now that he's recovered, he immediately charges back in. Thugonomics is going to move in as well. Mana basically tied. Saji is repositioned. I like this. In the room, he's out of line of sight of Novos for Cyclones, and you can use that to line of sight. Now he's moving in to chase down Novos. Bash landed into a Cyclone. Doyu jumps over to try and make sure he's in line of sight for the burst, but he stacks him up for a double stun. Good punish from Thugonomics. Now Doyu in trouble. Triple sweep. Cyclone up from Novos. Good crowd control from Splyce. Will Doyu be able to survive? Runs away. Swap over to PCAT. Die by the sword gets imprisoned, and Splyce are on fire now. They are waking up.
Doe's trying to get that Stormkeeper off. Ice Fury is cast. Now he's going to try to do some damage. Gets picked up by Saji, though, but PCAT is also very low. There we go. The in-cap comes out from Chun-Li. PCAT getting dangerously low at this point, but is staying offensive.
Oh, a nice fury of the Illidari there with Fell Barrage, cleaving both targets down. Saji struggling, the interrupt landed, and Thugonomics looking to nail the kill, but can't connect. Doyu barely escaping by the skin of his teeth, but Splyce put that doggy down. 2-2. Splyce bringing this series back.
And
one more
job.
win on that board, and they're going to be taking out pen and paper. And I don't know, I swear they were just asleep in the first 2 games, and
it could have been.
Now they're waking up. Suddenly woken up, but now pen and paper are going to break out all-out aggression, I can imagine, here as the gates open. What do you think's going to happen, VHL? Do you think Novus is going to crumble?
I don't know. That's, like we were saying, that's a big test. They're actually kind of scared. Thugonomics is playing Death from Above, actually, Rain from Above, rather. So he's going to be able to get out of
oh, they're going for the aggression on Doe instead. Caught behind the pillar, anti-magic zone. Doe's going to stay in the safety of that bubble, soak up the interrupts and cast a full. Novo's getting gripped in. This will be the testament of his Druid skill. Trades out Barkskin, Darkness, and he pre-Bearformed the stun. That was an overreaction if I've ever seen one. Thugonomics are going to fly up into the air to avoid the swap, but Novos overcommitted his team's cooldowns, and now if they set up another swap, he's going to be easily isolated. They're just going for the throat, gunning him down. That cooldown overlap could cost the series. He barely blinks away with a nice imprisonment. Novos trying to get some seconds to breathe, but PCAT on his heels. Doe moving in as well.
You hear the purge over and over and over onto Novos. They're going to swap onto Doe. This is smart with the leg sweep into the Fist of Fury stun, so they're not even playing super all in with Tiger Eye Brew.
One more leg sweep though on Novos. This could be it. He's relentless. There's no darkness. Nothing can save him. As long as Doe can stay alive though, and Splyce are keeping the pressure on. He's trying to jump away. Catches a healing surge, gets paralyzed on the next one. Another healing surge, another one. He needs as many healing surges as he can to deal with that touch of death. Doe survives, and now Novos needs to keep an eye out. That death grip from Danny could be the end of the match. Novos is so far away. Good positioning. Needs to stay behind that statue. He should know he's the target. He's waiting for Barkskin, staying out of line of sight, and Thugonomics is keeping up the aggression. Double stun, Chaos Nova, paralyzed on Thug. Nice peels from PCAT. We saw him peeling on the Warrior. Now he's peeling with the Windwalker. Doe pre-Earthen Shields. He's getting ready for the go. Trying to get a gift to the Queen as well, going for the extra stamina. Trying to predict this. Novos gets gripped in, bared the stun. Perfect timing from Novos. Nice imprisonment on the Death Knight, denying the swap here on Novos. Doe not in a position to chase him down, and Novos escapes. Really good setup there to peel, and now they should be in a good position to start swinging this around.
Yeah, and Chun-Li just trying to kite a little bit. He does have his Storm Earth and Fire clones out, you know, trying to do some damage onto Danny Center by himself. I will say that it seems like Splyce is very comfortable with this matchup. The big burst onto Danny Center down to half right there. With a little, but even though they are splitting right now, and we do have Thug that is harassing Doe behind the pillar, that does mean that he's forced to swap Earth Shield over and over.
All right, so Pillar of Frost coming up in 20 seconds for Danny. That's going to be the big burst of damage, but Novos has Barkskin. Doe's the one on the back foot. Thugonomics has been going after him constantly by himself on a solo mission to take down this Shaman. Now Doe looking for a Hex to punish that interrupt, gets imprisoned. Now Thug should be able to come back. PCAT still trying to peel Chun-Li off, and Danny's focusing down Chun-Li as well, knowing that Touch of Karma isn't available. Thugonomics getting hexed very far in the back line. Now PCAT getting set up on. Novos trying to blink away. Chun-Li portals out, and Splyce are actually retreating. I'd like to see Doe sit down for a drink in this position almost. I'm wondering if that's what he's thinking. He's moving really far behind that balcony on the far side of the map. If he gets a mana back, we could see a repeat. Thugonomics is not going for the stop. They're looking for the kill instead, but that's a critical mistake. Danny has defensives. They need to stop the drink. Chun-Li's going to move over, but Dao already got mana back. They're going to swap to him instead. He's so far away. They're going all in for the kill. Fist of Fury to follow up. AMZ at the final second for Doe. Double blinding sleet to buy him. Peels.
Nice
He soaks an interrupt on 1%, and Thugonomics looks for the kill. PCAT peels with the Fist of Fury at 1%. Doe gets caught into the paralyzed. Doe hangs on by a thread. Touch of Karma offensively from Chun-Li. They want to take this series down, and Doe is looking to defy it.
And he's running for his life. Touch of Death is off cooldown at this point. That there it goes. Touch of Death with the kick on top of it. Doe needs peels right now. His team needs to help him out. You see PCAT just desperately trying to do everything he can. They're trying to turn it around onto Chun-Li at this point. That Touch of Death is forced. And
Darkness was used.
How?
Thugonomics uses Darkness there, so that won't be available for Novos if they swap to him, but Thug doesn't care. He's keep going. I love these hexes by Doe, dragging Thugonomics really far away from Novos, and Novos got baited in now to try and dispel, but he pre-bearformed it. Novos has been playing really well in this game right now. He's pre-bearformed 3 setups in a row. Now Doe in trouble. Triple stun out from Chun-Li as they look to claim another kill. Will they find the opportunity? Doe hanging on by a thread. Thugonomics preemptively flies in the air, expecting some burst there from Danny with Pillar Frost pop. That was good prediction from Thug, but now Novos is in an awkward position where they swap over to him. him. Gets paralyzed. Danny catches up into the Fist of Fury. Chun-Li peels him away with the paralysis of his own into a Fist of Fury. Good peels there from Chun-Li. Nova's getting some seconds to breathe. Do's mana starting to get tapped. He can't afford to purge anymore. It's a risk. Now with stun landed, Fury of Illidari has been launched. Ride the Wind is down, and they're going to train Doyu constantly. He manages to escape, though, getting some breathing room. Nova still with the mana lead. Thugonomics trying to get back on target, and Danny and PCAT seem to be in an awkward position with what they want to do, and they need to figure out their game plan soon.
Yeah, all right, and it looks like the game plan is to go onto Thug at this point, but, oh, great grip right there, but he's going to do it again.
Oh,
Two charges of Fell Rush. They're going all in.
He peels him away. Double leg sweep. Good peels from PCAT. Now Thugonomics is overextended. Huge Cinder goes to Hex.
Nice
Lays
Hex.
it
Oh, my God.
Takes the Hex. Chun-Li now down at half. Touch of Karma has been forced, and Splyce are in full retreat.
What a Hex! While he had 2 melee right on top of him. Great job. Pen and Paper is showing so much skill. Chun-Li forced to use that Touch of Karma. It does fade, not full life. And you can see Splyce just in full retreat mode at this point.
Is he drinking?
Again.
Oh, Thug is trying to jump over there. He gets paralyzed. Do, is he getting mana? I can't see the blue bar on Do going up. I don't think he's actually getting mana back. He got a little bit. The littlest bit of mana.
Wow.
What can Do do with that is the question. Double Fist of Fury. They need to peel. Danny saves him with the anti-magic zone. He's trying to get the cast of heals. He gets stunned again. He's just going down through it. There's too much damage from Splyce. Spirit Link is forced out. Now Chun-Li in trouble. No touch of Karma. Novos gets wind sheared. Can Novos save Chun-Li in prison on the Death Knight? Trying to buy more time to train down Doyu. Doyu with no defensives. Tanks out the interrupt, but Thug jumps into the air. I'm wondering if he really needed to. He's going to lose a lot of damage. Paralysis gets broken instantly. He's trying to kill him with Fell Lances, but Fell Lance is not enough DPS. Doyu's going to recover. Chun-Li now in the back foot. Novos gets gripped in, but they don't have the stun to follow it up. That was a bit of a misplay there from Danny. His Pillar of Frost is up. He really wants to connect. Chun-Li sees that. He moves away from the Death Knight. Thugonomics moves away from the Death Knight immediately. They need to stay away for a couple of more seconds. They're still just kiting it out, waiting for it to be over, but Do sees that kiting. He's trying to sit down for a drink. Thug immediately switches back to stop that drink, and Do has been pulling out miracles with such little mana. Can Pen and Paper strive it out and take down North America's Splyce?
And PCAT is doing a great job of getting back onto Thug every single time that Do does go to sit and Thug tries to go to drink. Now we see Novos push up a little bit, pre-bear forming at that moment as they get the double stun onto the DPS of Pen and Paper. Thug kiting a little bit. Novos' mana is getting a little bit low. That grip happens again. And you know, Danny's trying to stick onto his target. PCAT is kiting a little bit. They get the stun onto Thug. They're bursting him down with tons of damage. The leg sweep to follow it up, getting extremely low. Novos just pumping out those regrowths.
Oh, but he spent all of his mana, and suddenly we're actually tied on mana. We're moving deep into dampening. It's still anyone's match. Thugonomics needs to be careful. He can't afford to throw this game like he did game 2, but he's going too aggressive. He's right on top of Do. He could easily throw this match. Novos can't keep up with him. Do caught in the Fist of Fury. Thugonomics can't get back up. He's going to pull back. He's not throwing the fight, trying to play defensive, staying in the middle of the map so Novos can top him off. They need to wait for defensive cooldowns. They need to be worried. This is match point. You can tell the nerves are high. Thug now moves in. Will he be able to stay alive? Do looks for a Hex constantly behind these pillars. Now that the interrupt's over, he can tank out some heals. He's going to jump back up, trying to bait them down to the bottom, but he can immediately metamorphosis back on top. PCAT needs to peel. They drop the AMZ. They grip them in, but a triple Fist of Fury from Chun-Li claims that kill, and Splyce are going to take this series 3-2.
Ooh. Something that's really interesting that I wasn't expecting whatsoever, and I had to make sure I saw it twice to be sure. Danny Sinner was playing Chill Streak instead of Overpowered Rune Weapon. Overpowered Rune Weapon is overpowered with it.
I wonder if Panda Global are going to play up to par with Pen and Paper's Thunder Cleave that we saw earlier. Maybe they saw it succeed so well and they want to give it a go here in game number 1, but Volkovich and Eritros are going to be debuting their Windwalker Destruction Warlock composition. Walla seems to be unafraid, charging in on his Dragon, looking to reconnect onto that Warlock, I can imagine. Volkovich already triggering out of an early bash, and he seems to be pressuring down Rubcub. It's going to be a one-on-one here behind the pillar between the Druid. He gets stunned out of form. Critical mistake here. Volkovich is trying to punish it. Fist of Fury, no leg sweep, just yet to follow it up. He might be playing Tiger Eye. We have to wait and see here. Catches Rubcub into the paralyzed. Walla getting soloed by the Destro Lock on the other side of the map. Eritros letting it rip. Ironbark traded out. Double fear from Walla to try and buy time for Panda Global to recover.
Yep, and that is going to be the wall of Eritros used. A lot of defensive
What is going on?
double.
What? There's so much damage from Volkovich. Rubcub barely staying alive. Frenzy
but
regeneration.
Is also almost
Wallabear
dead.
is low. They're not winning the 2v2 on the other side of the map. I mean, Ellie Warrior isn't going to beat Destro RMPally. Windwalker's going to beat out Resto Druid. They need to change this positioning up because they're not winning these 2v2 1v1 scenarios. Volkovich offensively karmaing there as well. Rubcub basically has nothing left. He's just running into the pillar, not in bear form. He gets stunned out of form. He gets knocked away for a second, but Volkovich reconnects. Eritros is still crushing Wallabear. You do not normally see the Destro Warlock crushed the Warrior, but he is really putting the pain on.
Yeah, he crushed him so hard that he had to use Die by the Sword already, and that's a huge defensive because he's going to have Volkovich on his back the entire time. Wallabear still taking a lot of damage. Avenging Crusader
Chaos
is up.
Bolt!
Chaos Bolt coming out on Wallabear. That was a big hit.
Spell Reflect up for Walla, buys him a couple seconds, but another Chaos Bolt gets Storm Bolted away, but Walla's dipping low and low. Volkovich just needs to tab target over, Rising Sun Kick. Walla could fall down. Eritros is just tossing Chaos Bolts out for everybody, dishing them out like as if they were a meal at a lunch menu. There's too much damage coming out. Rubcub is struggling, trading out too many cooldowns, and Grmbl are kind of making Panda Global almost look like amateurs here in game one. They got to get their act together.
They really have to come back from this. Wallabear trying to find his target, but has to hide the entire time. So they did stabilize a little bit. Rubcub's mana is actually not that bad at this point, but he's going to try to get back on to that Destro lock. Not very many viable targets to hit. Wallabear just trying to make his way over to him, but you know that constant instant damage from the Destro Warlock. And there we go. We've got a stun out of onto Arturos as Wallabear trying to do some damage. There we go. The double fear to stop the heal. Kind of wasted that a little bit, but
Eritros kited it out.
Yeah, he's making a little progress on the damage. Jelly is finally getting some damage out. I do like that they switched strats, and now Jelly is back babysitting Rubcub, basically.
Yeah, they need to get Volkovich off of Rubcub. I can imagine maybe Rubcub's playing Vim, and that's why Volkovich is attacking him to get the Vim off. Then he loses 20% healing. He can't keep up with the damage. And Walla goes for a War Stomp, looks for a Cyclone. No Trinket kick available. Rubcub should recover. Eritros now getting pressured, really laying in. They killed off the Fell Hunter. He got stunned on it. Nice stun from Jelly. They need to keep this Fell Hunter stopped. They don't stop it. He gets the Fell Hunter back out alive. Now that interrupt will be threatening for Rubcub.
Yeah, and he had to use his Unending Resolve again for that to get that cast off because it does make him immune to silence.
Dark Soul,
Chaos there we go. Big Chaos Bolt
he
coming.
knocked it. Oh, it was a second too late.
Job.
He got the bolt off.
Oh, he did.
Now Fist of Fury to follow it up. Walla's still low. Another Chaos Bolt gets pummeled by Walla. Jim on top of Walla as well. Rubcub got feared away by Eritros. Portals are channeling in. Walla has to abort the mission. Leaps back, playing defensive. But Jim, usually as Avenging Crusader, your mana's not this good. He's playing phenomenally. Rubcub's actually behind on mana, which is highly unexpected with the Druid versus Paladin matchup. If Jim and Grmbl can keep this up, it's looking good.
And there's another Avenging Crusader coming out of Jim, dealing some damage onto Wallabear, just using this only for the offensive purpose, not even for the healing at this point. Arturos is taking some damage from Wallabear on his back, but Volkovich doing a great job of keeping Rubcub below that Vim and Vigor. It's great. He's doing a great job, just constantly knocking that off, keeping him below 80% health.
He can't fake him. Volkovich is inside of Rubcub's head. He can't fake cast that Spearhand Strike kick. Now into a Paralyze. Good crowd control from Volkovich. He's going to switch to Jelly. He baits it. Portals right back onto Rubcub. Would like to maybe see him stun out of the portal. He's going to get it regardless. Chaos Bolt on Jelly Beans. Eritros clotheslines him. They move in for a double leg sweep. Suddenly Panda Global on the back foot once again, blowing all of their defensive arsenal to stay alive. If Grmbl can find another opportunity like that within the next minute, they're looking to take game one.
And there we have a Stormkeeper coming from Jelly at that point, but not doing much. There he goes. Now he's going to let it rip on to the ads right there, trying to get some damage out possibly. But there we go. Now we have the big damage onto Volkovich. It is going to force out the Touch of Karma. That's an important
Another interrupt landed on Rubcub.
Wow.
Rubcub just can't fake Volkovich. If he keeps tanking these kicks into stuns out of bear form, it's going to throw the match. He Barkskins. Will Barkskin be enough? Volkovich is doing tons of pressure on his own. Rubcub survives. Has to use his Frenzy Regeneration, though. If Eritros can get over there with one Chaos Bolt, double fear from Walla. Denies the Avenging Crusader, but they basically have no pressure. War Stomp into a full clone. Good peels from Rubcub, but Jelly Beans is now getting crushed by Eritros. Earth Stun will deny the Chaos Bolt. Jelly trying to kite away from the Avenging Crusader as well, but he's still low. They managed to kill off the Fell Hunter. If they can keep that dead for Eritros, it will alleviate some pressure for Rubcub. They paralyze Rubcub on the Thorns. They swap off the Thorns to Wallabear. Triple Voodoo Totem from Jelly Beans. Eritros is still going for the Fell Hunter, gets it back alive. That interrupt now will be threatening to Rubcub, sends the pet back over onto him, I can imagine. Volkovich portaling for the heal. He's been using that portal constantly on cooldown to heal himself. That way he can stay so far away from Jim and still fight at full HP.
Grumbl's doing a great job of realizing when Stormkeeper is up and splitting. Jellybean still has some charges left of it. His first one wasn't able to connect on two targets there. It's going to fade. Wallabear actually going really hard at this point with that Battle Cry. Trying to put out some damage.
On Rubcub there. It seems like Grmbl are inside Rubcub's head. He just can't get through those interrupts. Just tanks them over and over. Now stunned again out of bear form. Luckily has Barkskin. Will that be enough? Jim on top of him. Double voodoo. Jelly Beans saves the day with that voodoo, but they're still going in. Paralyzed on Jelly. It's Jim and Volkovich versus Rubcub in bear form. Will it be enough? Fist of Fury out of form again. You cannot make these mistakes this many times. Rubcub barely blinking to safety. Volkovich is going to chase him down. Jim can't afford to. He's going to stay back with Eritros. Pressure Walla Bear. Another interrupt landed on Rubcub.
Wow.
And Grmbl are stomping on Panda here. They need to make something happen. Walla gets stunned really far away. Rubcub has to overextend to get back to Walla. Now Walla's still low. Rubcub flailing around to stay alive. Ironbark was traded out to stabilize. Next Avenging Crusader, though, could be devastating. And as we move deeper into dampening, Panda Global's healing is going to get lower and lower.
Yeah, this whole match has been in Grumbl's favor, and there hasn't been any moments that Panda Global has done basically anything to the enemy team. Rubcub's just going to be rotting down with Volkovich on his back, just cycling through those offensive cooldowns. Rubcub dashing
paralyzed
over
the blink! Into a Hodge? No Hodge.
Wow.
Oh, that was lucky.
That would have been it.
Oh, touch of karma offensive. Volkovich smells blood. He smells weakness in this bear. Will he be able to take Rubcub down? Jim gets storm bolted away. Rubcub's trying to kite. Goes for the snaring ward. Gets back into bear form. Bashes Volkovich away. Is he brave enough to go for the cyclone? Is he going to go for it? Gets the cyclone. Needs that crowd control to restabilize. Unfortunately, Eritros not able to interrupt that. Jelly now low HP. They paralyze Rubcub. Jelly doesn't have Astral Shift. He's jumping away, trying to kite for his life. Into the Hodge. Good crowd control chain. Rubcub trinkets out to break it up. Now the Hots are back onto Jelly Beans. He's going to be able to stabilize in a good position. Rubcub pre-bears the stun there. Good plays. Moving into dampening. He can't make the mistakes he was making earlier in the game. It will cost him. Eritros in the meantime trying to build up some split pressure. He looks like he's playing a little bit more aggressive. He's in the middle of the pillars rather than behind it, looking for Chaos Bolts with unending resolve. Walla tanks a bolt down to half. Rubcub trying to get in line of sight to heal him, but if he gets caught in a stun trying to heal Walla, Volkovich will solo Rubcub, so it's a difficult position for him. Can Panda Global pull this off?
Yeah, that was the Ironbark right there onto Walla Bear to keep him alive, but that means Rubcub doesn't have it for himself. 5 seconds left on Barkskin. He's going to have it back up in a second. There we go. He has that, but he keeps getting caught out of form, which we were saying. We're going to have a little bit of burst coming out onto Rubcub again and getting him down low.
He can't get above 50%.
He can't.
Walla has to come back to peel. He uses Portal in the Vortex to get the heal and then get back on the target. Now he's going to peel away. Jelly's still low. Everybody is rotting down. Eritros' pressure is going to start to sink in. Rubcub with a well-timed Tranquility, though, managed to recover through that. Good positioning and awareness. Jelly now getting crushed here in the stun. Trades out Astral Shift. Volkovich can easily swap targets. Touch of Karma and Touch of Death available. If he can combo those together, I don't think anyone's going to survive here at 21% dampening. Another interrupt landed. Eritros laying into Walla as he's trying to just get behind the pillar.
They don't know what to do at this point. I mean, they're trying to get a little reset going, but Volkovich is going to go through. Look at that long ride the wind right there. The double Fist of Fury stun. Does get stunned by the...
Oh no! Overextending. Gets the Karma off in between the stuns. Volkovich wants to go for the kill. Jim says, I'll back you up. Moves in with the Avenging Crusader. Everybody low HP. Rubcub cannot afford to make mistakes, but they stacked up for a triple fear. Nice peel from Walla. Interrupt landed though onto Rubcub. Volkovich still trying to keep up the pressure. Jim now moving in. The fear is over. The pressure will start to sink in. Will Rubcub survive? Gets stunned out of form with no trinket. Barkskin traded out into the leg sweep now. Will it be enough? Jumps into bear form. Walla trying to counter pressure. Chaos Bolt lobbed out onto Jelly Beans. Eritros casting on whatever goes into his line of sight at this point. An endless barrage of damage. Grmbl all at full HP. Panda Global all at half. And now in the face of 26% dampening, no defensive cooldowns, I think this is looking to be over soon.
Oh, it really is. And every single swap at this point is not going to be good for Rubcub because of how deep into dampening they are. Jim, full mana, playing that Avenging Crusader, you know, just being very efficient with his heals.
His beacon usage has been perfect
Yeah,
to be this high of mana. You have to always heal into the beacon to get the mana back, so he's playing phenomenally. One more well-executed stun lock could close this match here for Grmbl, but they're making a mistake now. They're stacking up. If Jelly Beans gets a Stormkeeper Chain Lightning combo here, could be devastating. Wallace trying to move in. Avenging Crusader denies the damage. Now they're switching the heat up in their favor. Rubcub's shortly going to be tapped on mana. Jelly's trying to kite away. Rubcub caught into the Hodge. I can imagine a paralyze out. And this deep into dampening, your defensive cooldowns are going to mean less and less. Now a full fear out of the Hodge. Good crowd control chain out from Grmbl. Astral Shift is faded. Jelly Beans is forced to retreat. Another fear on Rubcub. Stun lands out. Volkovich looking for the kill. Chaos Bolts on Rubcub to get that Vim off. Good swaps there from Grmbl. Always focusing 2 different targets. Make the rest of Druid Hots fall behind. Get that Vim off. Really good teamwork from Grmbl. And once again, they're looking to close. Everybody down at half. No Barkskin, no Ironbark, no Astral Shift. Panda Global in dire straits to survive.
Well, they forced out the Touch of Karma onto Volkovich by Jelly Beans using that Stormkeeper, so that was a good trade, but Rubcub just, look at his life.
He gated on top of him. Eritros gated on top of Rubcub. Can Rubcup stay alive? Jim Jim has bubble. At this point, if I'm Jim Jim, I target the Druid, I run at him with my team and just kill everybody.
Yeah.
We're so deep into dampening. Volkovich gets feared away. He doesn't want to trinket. He's saving that defensively. He wants to make sure he has that to survive so he can stay aggressive. Rubcup soaks a counter spell, and now another Chaos Bolt, but they get
good
air
swap, good
trust.
swap.
He's got nothing left, and somehow they're going to pull
No
this
way.
off. 1%, execute after execute. Airy Trust barely survives. How is Jim Jim keeping alive? He cannot. Volkovich is still going to play this out. Jellybeans is low. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Wallabear decides to say /delete Warlock, and Airy Trust is gone. I can't believe that, man. Grmbl were in the dominating position that entire game. I don't put Flame Shock on 3 people. Pick one guy, Flame Shock one guy, rend one guy from Wallabear, only focus down one target. Otherwise, Jim Jim is going to heal through this quite easily, so I hope Panda Global have the strategy nailed down for this, or I think Jim Jim's going to walk away with this game. They set up a really good map for it. Volkovich is going to paralyze the Warrior. He's baiting the Berserker Rage so they can fear him later, but Walla didn't fall for that bait. War Stomp into Cyclone early on from Rubcup. He's not going to have none of this shenanigans as he moves in to get his team aggressive.
Fear coming out from Wallabear really early onto Jim Jim so they can stay offensive onto Arturos. Both Jelly and Wallabear are going to be sticking onto that Warlock as much as possible. That does leave Rubcup kind of by himself, and Rubcup needs to not walk towards Jelly during this match because that double stun, I mean, look at how much he's knocked off of Jelly already just because of that.
Yeah, but they didn't overreact. They only used Iron Bark. Rubcup didn't panic in that particular setup, so they'll have Astral Shift for Touch of Death. In the meantime, Jim Jim's secured into a full Hex. They're focusing down Airy Trust, but Wallabear suddenly lost a lot of HP. Out of nowhere. That was a bad pun, but whatever. Died by the sword, used that low HP Lord's giving me an awkward Airy Trust with no unending resolve is going to be in an awkward position. He's stationed on top of his gateway for a quick getaway if he needs to. Gets pummeled on the Chaos Bolt. He might need to start thinking about running away. Jim Jim's trying to back him up with Apotheosis popped. That's going to be a ton of healing for him. Then Airy Trust should be able to stand still and cast. These hexes, though, from Jellybeans have been securing a lot of pressure. Airy Trust portals away when his healer gets hexed. Good coordination there, but he can leap back. Jim Jim life grips him, but he life gripped him away from the gateway, and now Airy Trust as a Warlock, he's going to have to waddle all the way back there, and he's going to be taking damage the entire time.
Yeah, that's not great. Trying to get out all those Chaos Bolts, but Rubcup again getting stunned out of form twice right there. Down
what
to
is
half.
Airy Trust doing to Walla? This is so scary. Rubcup's getting soloed by Volkovich, and I've seen this last game as well. Walla's trying to charge back, but he charged back into the Windwalker Monk. Now Volkovich hits a field day. Jellybeans is trying to carry. They know that. They interrupt Jellybeans instead, deny his healing surges. War Stomp desperately into a fear. Wallabear trying to pause out the game. He tries to go for a Hex now as well, but Rubcup is still getting crushed down below half. Jelly's trying to back him up with some healing surges. Airy Trust portals on top of Rubcup. Rubcup sees the portal, dashes away out of line of sight. Rubcup can spend literally 0 seconds in line of sight of Airy Trust, where he's going to get destroyed. Jelly now leading the charge on Airy Trust. Jim Jim trades out Ray of Hope, and mana is not looking good for Jim Jim if Panda Global can keep this going.
Yeah, Jellybean down to half right there. All of those stuns out. That's actually Volterex instead of Volkovich on our screen. So that is the actual Monk playing Monk. But Jellybean's down to half. Again, I do like these off kicks onto Jellybeans as he's trying to help out his team.
Yeah, Jelly trying to kite the Monk. It seems like Voltarius has switched his attention to Jelly. Pre-Astral Shift, the Fist of Fury. Nice play from Jellybeans. That's going to hold him off for now. Airy Trust getting shut down on a Chaos Bolt. Rubcup standing on top of Jim Jim, wondering if he wants to look for Cyclones or what he's really doing in the middle of the map. Now he's going to tank a Fear. Will they get any pressure off of that? Iron Bark is forced to be traded out from bad positioning, really. And now Jim Jim caught into a Hex. Cyclone onto Voltarius. They're setting up a 3v1 on Airy Trust. Airy Trust trades out Unnamed Resolve to cast Chaos Bolts, and Rubcup spending way too much time in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the map. Voltarius rolls over to Rubcup, now catches him into a Fist of Fury. He barely blinks away from that alive, and Rubcup cannot afford to compromise his positioning as he has been. Airy Trust has been punishing it left and right. Unfortunately, though, for Grmbl, unless Jim Jim can get a drink, mana is not looking too good for them.
All right, Rubcup looking good on mana, however, compared to Jim Jim. Like you said, Ice Fury coming out from Jellybeans. They're going to try to burst down Arturos, who does take a port away. Wallabear going extremely deep at this point to chase him. Jim Jim takes the gate while he's as a frog, and there we go. Second port from Arturos, plus Ray of Hope. That's a lot of cooldowns that were used. Wallabear just needs to stick on to his target, and the Chaos Bolt wasn't passed. He does get a Fear off onto Jellybeans. Is great job. Got another one and trying for those Chaos Bolts, and Wallabear is only kicking Chaos Bolts at this point.
Yeah, Robcub has completely stabilized. He has Iron Bark in his arsenal. Jellybeans has Astral Shift. Those two major defensives will deny any assault within the next minute. They're trying to force them out with this attempt, but they're not even getting it, and that's going to stall the match out even longer in favor of Panda Global. Erytros has built up at least some decent pressure on Walla. Jim might be smiting him as well. I really like Jim and Erytros as a duo, constantly forcing Walla away. They know it'll be difficult for Erytros to deal with him on his own, so he smites him constantly behind the pillar. He gets his stuns, his chastise stuns off cooldown faster with these constant smite spams. Now a stun onto Jellybeans. Jim with Apotheosis, trying to spam out whatever he can to get as many stuns as he can right now. It's some high-level holy play there from Jim. That forces the Astral Shift. They suddenly had Iron Bark and Astral Shift, and now suddenly they don't. That means that Grmbl actually have an opening here to find a kill. Jelly, if he gets isolated in a stun combo, he's already low HP. Nice clone from Robcub, though. That will stall out the swap. Hex on Jim. I'm wondering if Jim can do anything more to avoid these. He's probably getting purged on his holy ward. He needs to fade it, but a couple more full Hex chains could cost Erytros' life.
Yeah, Jelly's just doing a great job of when he realizes he can get those Hex when Jim is out of position. We have a fierce setup onto Jim. See if they have crowd control. No crowd control out of it. We see the double stun coming out on Jelly and Walla Bear. That Chastise doing work this match. Jellybeans does have his Stormkeeper active. There we go. Now he's going to finish using it. Not getting too much out of it, but Robcub, look at that. Tons of damage. He has to use the Bark Skin.
Yeah, Jim is even smiting Robcub. Robcub looks for a clone, gets the full clone. Erytros could be in trouble. He portaled back out of line side. Look at him just sidestepping back and forth, trying to predict where Wallabear's going to go. Jelly's looking for a Hex, gets counterspelled there by Erytros, and then eats a Chaos Bolt. Good shutdown from Erytros. Another Chaos Bolt. Voltarius training down Jelly. No Astral Shift. Iron Bark had to be traded out. Robcub looking for a clone, but this is risky. He can't fake him. He can't fake this Monk ever. Another kick landed there from the Monk. Robcub's just going to retreat away, gets caught into a paralyze. Walla in the middle of the map getting blown up by Jim and Erytros, down on 2%. Robcub at half. Everybody is low. Walla leaps back to try and stay alive. Panda Global reconvene behind the pillar. Voltarius is just going on to whoever he wants at this point. Robcub is still low, trades out the Frenzy Regeneration to try and recover. Erytros, though, isn't making the mistake he made before. He's not jumping on top of them. If he uses any of his mobility to go near the Warrior, it will cost him his life. Now that charge has been used, we might see his ports on top of them. Mind control onto the Warrior. I would like to see Erytros get a little bit aggressive here with the Warrior mind controlled away. He could have free reign. He's just walking in, doesn't want to waste a portal, trying to play it out safe. Jim has got a lot of mana back, and we're moving into dampening. It's still anyone's match.
Yeah, and pretty defensive Hex there on it to the Monk. Jellybeans trying to stay alive. Wallabear down low also. Iron Bark is now off cooldown. There we go, another pummel onto those Chaos Bolts. Arturos is just eating those pummels. It's a really smart idea. Goes for a Chaos Bolt. Gets one off onto Wallabear, not spiking down too much, but again, that was the Iron Bark on there. Robcub gets stunned with that Monk on his back. There goes the second stun onto him as he's trying desperately to get away.
Yeah, Erytros with good awareness there trades out a defensive cooldown while his healer was crowd controlled. That allowed him to tank this out at very high HP. Now he can get aggressive if he needs to. He's got the portals out. He's trying to build up some burst, but Jim eating a Hex with a clone on Voltarius. Good cross crowd control from Panda Global. Erytros in trouble as he's dipping lower and lower. Can Jim keep him alive? Apotheosis pop, trying to pick him back up. Heal after heal. Will it be enough? Spamming out flash heal, and Erytros' health is just not going up. Wallabear is too strong. They're going to Cyclone Erytros instead. Unfortunately, not until after he had fully recovered. Jellybeans down at half. Robcub, he's doing well on mana. It seems like Voltarius is still just harassing him. And Erytros and Jim, I'm not sure they can set this up. They're trying to drag Walla in the middle of the map. Double stuns, Chaos Bolts, but Jelly is backing up Walla very well. Every time Walla gets stunned, Jellybeans interrupts Erytros, knocks him away, whatever he needs. Robcub caught into a paralyze. And it's just a 1v1 between Robcub and Voltarius throughout the series, and a 2v2 really between Jellybeans, Walla, Erytros, and Jim. And so far, Panda Global are getting ahead.
They are now. Jelly is trying to get back to his target. Does get a nice Fury off, which is a good setup for his team. Wallabear trying to both LOS and deal damage to Arturos. Forces out the Ray of Hope. That's an important cooldown. Arturos is going to get a giant heal from that.
Oh, triple Rain of Fire. Ton of damage there for a second as Robcub escapes the Rain of Fire. Jellybeans is just taking a bath in it, though. He's down at half, trying to get back over. Robcub moving in. What's going to happen here as we all start to stack up? They do not want to stack up. Immediate gateway evacuation. Robcub with a nice war stomp, but doesn't manage to land the clone. Voltarius trinket out to kick the clone and now paralyze him. Erytros, though, is the one in trouble. Full Hex on Jim. Pummel onto Erytros. Robcub moving in to Cyclone at low HP, or maybe Cyclone Array. He doesn't have it. They life grip him, but that's not enough, and Wall is going to chomp in with an execute. Panda Global up 2-0 in this series. Now they're starting to figure this out, get their their shoes on basically because they've been running around randomly in the first game for too much, and now moving into game 3, I think that Grmbl are the ones that need to make a change. They need to not be mentally defeated. Voltarius needs to keep outplaying Rubcup.
Yeah, he does.
If he keeps outplaying him the way he is now with this
he's playing Blinding Light. So we talked to Jim about this. He goes all in with his spec, and he'll play Blinding Light for the extra interrupt while they're training.
He caught him out of form. Voltarius is setting up for the kill early on. No, he's trying to bait. He's trying to bait out a Barkskin. I don't think you have time to bait, though, against the Thunder Cleave. Now he's getting war stomped into a Cyclone. He trinkets out of that. Now he's going all in. He's managed to keep Rubcup down at half. Jellybean's getting crushed by Volkovich. Volkovich trying to stay on target with Pillar of Frost popped. Rubcup is holding cooldowns and being greedy. You typically don't want to be greedy against that Frost Death Knight's cooldowns. He's managed to escape for now, but Jelly's is so low. Volkovich gets disarmed, but Jelly kited, so a bit of a miscoordination there. At least he can't attack Walla on the swap, I guess. They grip Rubcup. He instant blinks the grip. Well done from Rubcup, but Voltarius in hot pursuit, just training down the healer. He's going to go for a paralyzed roll back over. Rubcup bears the incoming potential stun. Volkovich seems to be just trying to attack the Elemental Shaman, but the map that they picked, Jellybeans is abusing. He jumps down the balcony, he can jump back up, and Death Knight ain't going to be jumping too high. Walla getting swapped too. He's down to half. Rubcup Ironbarks him, which means Ironbark won't be available for Pillar of Frost, which is a huge opening for Volkovich. They need to try and set that up.
Yeah, and there was a fear used too on both Jim and Volterix, and that's important. The Hex, able to get the Hex off onto Jim during the Avenging Crusader. That's an important crowd control right there. Volkovich is going to go in with that Pillar of Frost. Lots of damage onto Jellybeans. Trades out the Astral Shift, which does fade, and
that's not even
he's
enough.
Taking so much damage. That grip.
Oh
no!
Blinding Light from Jim. Double Blinding Light. Jellybeans trying to kite away. Jim on top of him. Volkovich is Wraith walking over. Now he purges the Wraith Walk at the critical moment to get away. Jellybeans barely survives. Nice play from Jellybeans there to keep the Death Knight immobile, and that could have easily been his life. We got a ticking time bomb on that Pillar of Frost with 30 seconds till its availability. Voltarius has cooldowns as well. Jim could go all in for the kill with the Relentless from Rubcup. He can't trick it crowd control. Jellybeans is a wide open target for the next attempt, but they need to stay alive for it. Jim's getting pressured. Avenging Crusader forced out. With Avenging Crusader now up, they need to look for a kill. Jellybeans kites away from the double stun. Rubcup is getting destroyed. He barely survives. Nice Thunderstorm. Good backup from Jellybeans, and with that backup, Rubcup survives.
Barely, though, as Rubcup goes out, is going to try for another War Stomp clone, does land it, because Voltrex had 2 seconds left on his trinket. That's unfortunate. Volkovich taking some damage. Great shock by Jellybeans to interrupt Jim. Volkovich is able to get back up to full, however, with great heals from Jim. Jellybeans' trinket is going to be back up. His Astral Shift.
Double connect out of form, and that's almost going to be it. He gets paralyzed and gets gripped back in, but the Hex on the Death Knight. Jellybeans' MVP defense play right there. Keeps Rubcup alive to get that Iron Bark off, but he needs to get into bear form. He's tanking way too much damage. Jellybeans is trying to carry, but this bear might be a little bit too heavy. Rubcup trying to look for some clones, gets interrupted. Voltarius is still training him down. If Volkovich can connect again with Pillar of Frost, they need cross CC. They need to make sure that Jellybeans can't back him up, because again, stunned out of form. One mistake like that later on, it's going to cost them the game. Yeah, and this split, Volkovich doing a ton of damage to Jellybeans. Jellybeans tanking it though, having to use the Astral Shift since he's down to half. They're going to go for it with the double stun on to Jellybean and Wallabear. Wallabear taking a little bit of splash damage there. Voltrex is going, but during that onslaught, Jim tried to get some drinks off, back up to half mana, but he does have his Avenging Crusader back up and available, also with Blinding Light again, so we might see an all-in with that Blinding Light and Avenging Crusader. Jim playing a little bit careful right now, hiding behind the pillar. Jellybean's doing a great job of kiting away from Jim, which is really important because he wants to pull that Death Knight. As you see the damage, Pillar is back up. Whoa, again, he saves him with a Healing Surge, another Healing Surge, and again, Jellybeans saves Rubcup. Even though he's making this many mistakes, Jellybeans carries him so hard. Now a full Hex onto Jim as Jellybeans looks to rotate this pressure around. Rubcup's still trying to flail though, gets stunned again out of form. If they can connect any burst into this. Jellybeans, Healing Surge, he gets blind. Jim says, I've had enough of this. LA Shaman carry, he blinds him away, gets the trinket, now is stunned, but Rubcup has weathered the storm. Pillar of Frost is not available. They're gonna have to wait, reload that, and go again.
Yeah, as Jellybeans is taking damage again from Volkovich, this split is actually paying off well because they can swap onto Rubcup all of a sudden.
Oh no, Jim. Oh, don't die without bubbling. He has the greed on that Divine Favor heal. If he got paralyzed now into a bash, surely he's going to have to bubble.
Nope.
He trinkets, he escapes barely. Voltarius gets feared away, but it's before the cooldowns. Wallybear using that fear way too soon. That's going to be an opening if Vukovic can get over there. Jim needs to find a way to get a freedom on Vukovic. He's just not connecting onto anybody right now. Jim getting storm bolted. Jellybeans gets paralyzed. They need these paralyzed cross CCs or go for a split kill double stun. Wallybear is low, but the cooldowns have reloaded for Panda Global. They have a full defensive arsenal. Jim is almost out of mana. Jellybeans gets gripped on the jump. Nice grip from Volca. Now Rubcup though gets stunned away. He's going to charge over to Jellybeans and swap, stun him before the Astral Shift. Rubcup Ironbark's good reaction there. That should stave off the offense. Now a stun on Rubcup, but with Ironbark already active, Jellybeans can kite this out and survive. Jim needs to focus on getting some mana back because this fight can't keep going on with that little mana.
Oh yeah, that's his Avenging Crusader. He got cloned on. That's going to fade terribly low on mana, and Avenging Crusader was his only hope
Oh, he
at that
sees
point.
the weakness. Wallace sees that weakness. He's not going to let him drink. He's just going to get right on top of him. This is it for Grmbl. If they lose here, it will be the series for them. Wallace turning up the aggression, getting onto that Paladin, and nobody seems to care. Jim's just going to have to 1v1 Walla. Voltarius is trying to take down Rubcup, but Vukovic is getting soloed by Jellybeans. Icebound Fortitude gets traded out with Icebound. He needs to drink. Jelly sees the drink, jumps right on top of Jim. If they can just keep him out of mana, this should easily be Panda Global's game.
And these are the scary moments. Rubcup is trying to push up to assist his team just a little bit, and those massive swaps but from the Windwalker DK can spell defeat. Then we have a big Fist of Fury stun onto Wallybear as Jellybean's doing a great job of kiting away a little bit, making a little bit of room, and there we go. Now we have the leg sweep.
Caught him out of
for
form with
Rubcup.
no Barkskin. Volkovic is marching over. Cinder grows a pop. Rubcup blinks away, gets gripped back onto the blink. Can Jellybeans carry once again? Bears the follow-up stun. Rubcup survives, but they're keeping up the aggression. Jellybeans needs to carry some heals here. Healing Surge after Healing Surge keeps Rubcup alive. Jellybeans now moves over. Rubcup escapes. With this huge mana lead, I don't know how they lose this. A full Hex landed. I'm surprised to see maybe not a bubble here, but Vukovic seems to be fine. Jim's trying to play it out. He's regened a little bit of mana to keep this going. Trinkets out of the bash. Voltarius is trying to get on top of Rubcup. They go for a blinding light play. They're going to crowd control Rubcup and attack a different target, but they can't stay on target. That Death Knight just can't keep up with the Ghost Wolf. Voltarius is having an easy time connecting. Maybe he needs to coordinate the freedoms and ride the wind better because Volkovic has just been having such a hard time connecting to his target. Yeah,
Rubcup's been trying to get some Cyclones off, not able to. There's so much interrupts from that Windwalker. Look at the damage coming out onto Rubcup out of nowhere, though.
Jellybeans is spread out. He can't help Rubcup. If Vukovic gets over that, no, War Stomp into Cyclone. Rubcup's going to help himself. Jellybeans knocks away the opponents on the Avenging Crusader into a full Hex.
Good Hex.
Jellybeans, more like Jelly Carry. He's down at half. Vukovic trades out AMS. That's going to immune the incoming pressure, and slowly but surely, Panda Global are going to march to victory. Vukovic grips Jellybeans in, trying to go for the kill, gets disarmed by Walla. Good backup by the Warrior. Jim moves in now as well. Voltarius is still pressuring Rubcup. Daphne is starting to mount up. If they make a mistake here, potentially Grmbl pulls this back.
Oh, this is scary. Rubcup had to use his Ironbark. There goes the Bark Skin also as Voltarius is right on his back. Volkovic taking so much damage. How did he live?
Oh my god, Volkovic is going to give me a heart attack. Jim hangs on by a thread. That was the Pillar of Frost, though. The thread is now gone. Panda Global have free reign to go after whoever they want. Bubble spam. Holy Light's not enough. Get Cycloned at low HP. Good clone there by Rubcup. If he can switch that clone over to the Paladin, surely this match is going to be over. Gets the Mind Freeze, though. Volkovic trying to move in, gets purged on the Blessing of Protection. Jim gets Wind Sheared, and Jelly Carry takes this series 3-0. If you're in a tournament, man, who do you want on your team? You want that man in the bottom left, Jellybeans, wiping the sweat off his forehead. I can't believe that carry, man.
I apologize for making fun of his elemental's name. He lived up to it.
Zero Mistweaver monks were played in any regional finals, so great to see it on the BlizzCon stage.
Yeah, I think you're right. This Way of the Crane is going to be very strong against the spread pressure coming in from Unitas. Shapeus on that Demonology Warlock, Zeta on that Elemental Shaman, going to be looking to maybe stall out the game, just putting out as much spread pressure as possible, but Method looking to get aggressive very early on with that Incapacitate over onto Rind. Bloodlust has been popped. Stun over onto Rind as well. Shapeus just tanking through this damage quite easily so far with that Iron Bar coming in from Rind.
Yeah, we see Botar didn't immediately pop the Way of the Crane, using it now on the stun from the Fell Lord. And this is something interesting because we heard some teams saying that Unitas doesn't really run that Fell Lord. Shapeus has opted for it in this matchup. Makes sense against the melee cleave, of course, since they will all be stacking up within that. He's zoning them out, although he's trying to full fair onto the Ren. Relentless, he doesn't have a PvP trinket. Swepsy reconnects, but they can't get there with Blizzo and the Execute. He will survive for now.
Yeah, Unending Resolve still available for Shapeus. It gets stunned up. maybe a greedy play there, but Shape's realizing the situation, knowing that he had the ability to kite, avoid some of that melee damage, able to save that cooldown for a rainy day. Swapsy now taking a little bit of return damage with the full fear over onto Botar. Breaks though, he is caught up in all that cleave damage coming in from that Elemental Shaman and that Warlock, so they need to be careful when they get that CC on Botar not to break it. It's going to be very important for them to actually land a kill. Leg sweep into Incapacitate over onto Rin. Some pressure over onto Rin now with the stun over onto Shapus as well. Nice spread pressure coming in from Method at this point in the game.
Yeah, Rind actually was far away from Shapus' portal there, so he couldn't get any heals off when Shapus ported behind the pillar. He's able to connect some now. Is it going to be enough? Ironbark should keep them alive, but that was the pop once again from Triforce, and you can see Method are trying to be this aggressive team. They don't want to let Unitas draw the game out. They want to get in, tunnel down Shapus, and get this kill early.
Honestly, hats off to Method. It's working out very well for them so far. Swapsy having to use that Astral Shift, so defensive cooldown eaten through very early on. Shapus still getting lower and lower though. Always has that unending resolve. Rind really has nothing left in terms of defenses. Every time Botar has that wave the crane up, that's when they're going to be able to get super aggressive, coming up for about 2 seconds for Botar. So you can expect a big push onto Shapus once again. Shapus' pet actually gets killed. Now Shapus is into the full stun. He's going to be very susceptible to this damage. Gates away, trying to get a resummon. Gets interrupted once again. Good job by Method slowing down that pet summon. Pummeled again. Shapus is in so much trouble at this point, trying to kite away. Finally, the fellow is going to be dropped. Trying to get that Felguard out. Gets interrupted 2 more times into the full fear onto Rind. He's playing relentless. He has no trinket available. Shapus finally having to use that unending resolve, going to make him very tanky, but that was such a close call.
Yeah, he had to use it to even get the pet out. Such good interrupt rotation coming out of Method Triforce. That's what we expect from them, of course. They do need to be a little bit careful here. No way of the crane for about 10 seconds on Botar. That is a big healing cooldown when you do play the specialization on the Mistweaver. We can see though, look at the mana. Botar definitely taking the lead in this one. Rind really struggling with the pressure from Triforce. If they can just keep this up, keep connecting over onto Shapus, you get the feeling they're going to win this game.
Yeah, Incapacitate over onto leg sweep over onto Rind. Barskin actually forced out there just from Botar, so that might be an opening for Method Triforce if they want to get aggressive onto Rind a little bit later on, but it looks like Shapus still the target of choice. No unending resolve, no Ironbark available. Going to be tanking through this wave of the crane damage the best he can. Trying to kite away from his fort a little bit into the middle of the map. Finally gets that Felguard out once again. Shapus is doing a good job kiting. He's always running away from his fort so he can get that distance when he needs it, but it gets bursted down huge. Bloodlust almost out, but they don't even need it. Shapus barely surviving at 5% HP. Gates away, huge heal coming in from Rind, but Rind's mana is not looking good at this point in the game.
Yeah, clutch plays coming in from Shapus there, and I think this is one of the things we really can credit Unitas for. A lot of the teams are saying it. The defensive play is on point. Shapus and Rind, they've been the superstars of the LATAM region for a good 2 years now. They're playing together. There's great synergy with the portal, with the healing, but Rind is out of mana. The next Bloodlust will be popped now by Swapsy. No defensive for this. Ironbark comes up just in time. Might keep him alive. Fell Lord as well. They're trying to cut through it. They have the way of the crane. They have the tools, but Shapus survives.
Look at Rind just spamming out heal over heal. Healing touch, regrowth coming in over and over. He's almost completely tapped on mana. This is not looking good for Unitas. It doesn't look like they can find any sort of counter pressure at this point of the game. Revival coming up for Botar very soon, so that's going to be a nice defensive way. The crane coming up in 20 seconds. If Method can just hold on and keep up this pressure, the next way of the crane, Bloodlust, could be the end. Full fear over on the Rin. Shapus having to port away, so not going to have that available for the next time that way of the crane is up. He's going to have to tank through this damage. Hopefully he has Fell Lord, something available for that. Doesn't look like he does. Getting lower and lower. Revival going to be used. Botar wanting to stabilize his team's HP so they can push in for this final assault. Stun over onto Rind. Rind, no Barskin, no unending resolve. Shapus in so much trouble. Botar still has that way of the crane, just holding on to it. Maybe looking to pair that with that Bloodlust coming up very shortly for Swapsy. That's Incapacitate over onto Rind. Shapus needs to somehow survive. He ports away. Gates as well, but taken down mid-gateway. Method Triforce from start to finish, slaying Unitas.
Yeah, the mid-air execute coming out of Blizzo there at the end. It looked like an odd graphic, right? Because he was flying through the air and then he just charged in, got the execute. Blizzo
To start, Method Triforce up 1-0 right now. We'll have to see if Swapsy can bring it on that Elemental Shaman. Previous series today, we saw that Elemental Shaman being so strong. The amount of damage it can put out is crazy. Shapus is going to be under fire constantly, I expect. Anytime Botar pushes in with that way of the crane, that's when Unitas is going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and it's kind of a common theme, right? Whenever you're playing a Warlock in PvP, specifically Arena, you get very frustrated by the Warriors. They have a lot of lockdown. They have the Spell Reflect, the Pummel, the Stun. We can actually see a bit of damage over onto Rin, but the main focus, of course, will be Shapus. They already forced the Ironbark, maybe even going to be able to force that unending resolve? We can see so many cooldowns being forced. Swapsy is soloing Rind, taking off that Vim and Vigor and forcing the Barkskin.
Method Triforce playing so aggressive early on. Blizzo throwing out that fear into the incapacitate, into the leg sweep immediately. Like you said, they're able to force basically every single defensive cooldown. A little bit of damage over on the Blizzo right now with the bash over on a Botar. He's going to use that human racial to get out of that. Still trying to pressure down Rind the best he can. Full incapacitate over onto Rind. Now Method Triforce looking to get aggressive once again over onto Shapus, who's getting bursted down quite low, down to around 40% HP right now. Blizzo just really tearing in. That's going to be Thorns tossed out by Rind, so a little bit of reflected damage over onto Blizzo. He needs to be careful that he doesn't hit into that too much. Way of the Crane is available for Botar though, so he should be able to restabilize his HP as soon as they decide to get aggressive with that. And you can see the second that he pushes in, gets out that damage, the entire team of Method Triforce stabilizes. Rind getting a little bit lower and lower. Able to displace away though, he should be safe, but he might have left Shapus far behind. Shapus in the middle of the map right now, almost in the execute range. Ironbark was tossed out. That might be enough to keep him alive, but so much damage coming from Blizzo as well as Swapsy. This pressure is just insane coming in from Method Triforce. Way the Crane is down right now. Hopefully Unitas can stabilize at this point of the game, but they really just can't seem to get anything going.
Yeah, this is all going wrong for Unitas. They're really struggling to get any pressure. Shapus is being tunneled down. Feels like he can die at any moment. It's hard to even get a point off because every single time we try and say something, it's almost execute range. You can see the fear now over onto Rind. They're trying to get this kill. And Unitas, they came into this competition so confident, but they're going up against the Juggernauts, the European champions, the defending world champions, and it looks like they're just getting outclassed in this game.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, Method Triforce, this is the kind of the comp that they won BlizzCon with the first time. That Warrior with that Shaman, whether it's Enhancement, Elemental, they just know how to turn up that heat, get up the CC they need to, play defensive when they need to, and this is looking so bad for Unitas. But they have sort of stabilized at this point of the game. No Ironbark available. It's going to be up in 5 seconds for Rind, so that should be the defensive cooldown that he needs. But Shapus having to resummon his pet over and over. Such a nightmare situation for him to be in. If he's not dead, his pet is, and then he just has to focus on more defense, summoning out that pet. Luckily for him, he gets it out. Axe toss over onto Swapsy. This is the first offensive push we've seen from Unitas. Swapsy just line of sighting though, getting bursted down. Huge though. Shapus finally able to get out some of that damage. Nice war banner coming in from Blizzo though. Able to free up Botar a little bit in that situation so he can get those heals out onto Swapsy when he needs to. Now big pressure over onto Shapus once again with the incapacitate leg sweep over onto Rind. But Rind pre-Ironbarks it. Very nicely done by Rind. That might be the only reason that Shapus is alive at this point in the game, but the Method able to force out that defensive cooldown. Unending Resolve still available for Shapus, so that's going to be very important for him to survive the next go.
Yeah, and once again you can see Way of the Crane being used onto Rind to lower his health so that he's out of Vim and Vigor range, which means of course he does lose the 20% healing bonus from that, so well played by Botar. But we do have to once again give a bit of credit here to Shapus and Rind. If they can show these signs of life, combining that Thou kills with the Bash Cyclone from Rind, they can potentially get a kill onto Swapsy, but Blizzo has been on point this entire tournament as well as the European regionals, the entire year in fact, with those war banners, with those interrupts. He's just such a nuisance to play against.
Yeah, Method doing such a good job in this game, targeting down Rind, getting him below that 80% HP threshold like we talked about, and that really reduces his healing, making it so difficult to actually top Shapus off. Incapacitate, leg sweep onto Rind once again. Botar targeting him down, getting out that damage when he needs it. Botar just all over the map right now with that Way of the Crane, putting out pressure onto everyone. You can see Unitas all getting rotted down. Ironbark tossed out once again by Rind, trying to stabilize, but Method Triforce in the driver's seat, just everyone at 100% HP. Nice burst over onto Blizzo though, gets caught in the stun. That dive of the sword is going to be forced out, preventing some of this incoming damage. Now the fire gets turned over onto Shapus. Unending Resolve has been used. He's got in the middle of the map right now. No gateway available. Going to be spamming out those fears. Incapacitate over onto Rind. Can Shapus survive? No Ironbark available. No Unending Resolve as that fades. His pet is actually dead as well. He gets pummeled. Nice pummel by Blizzo. A lot of pressure from Method right now. Can Shapus survive? This is the same situation we saw last game, but now he doesn't have that Unending Resolve. Finally able to get out that pet, but is it too late? Rind in a good position right now, able to just spam out those heals, but his mana is not looking too good at this point of the game. We're not even at dampening, already down to around 25% mana.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to swap up their strategy a bit more, hit Blizzo. We saw Hosido killing some of those war banners, trying to get some Cyclones over onto Botar, expose him for that Way of the Crane. It's something we talked about at the start of the game. If they can get those Cyclones, it's going to be very impactful, but on the flip side, Rind almost out of mana there. On a clock, this team, of course, the Mortal Strike reducing the healing from Blizzo means that Shapus is falling further and further behind. We see Ironbark, we see Barkskin, all these cooldowns being traded out by Rind, but he is dropping lower and lower on mana. They need to get this set up soon if they are going to take down Triforce.
Yeah, Swapsy has Stormkeeper up as well, so if you can get that off and they can get a nice setup over onto Shapus, this could be good night for Unitas. At the Triforce still, everyone 100% HP at this point of the game. Botar has that Way of the Crane up in another 3 seconds. That's when they're going to be able to get super aggressive. But like you said, Unitas has been doing a good job so far getting that CC out. Rin getting swapped to right now. No Barskin available, but he doesn't look like he's in too much trouble. Method Triforce turning their attention over onto Shapus once again, whose pet is dead again. This is just so difficult for Rin to heal through the spread pressure. If they can interrupt this Felguard, Incapacitate coming in from Botar, now into an Earthquake stun and a pummel. Shapus just having such a hard time getting out this pet. Gets interrupted once again with that leg sweep, which is going to be increasing the amount of damage that he takes. Wind sheared as well. Cast after cast. Method Triforce playing this out so well. Finally, full bash over onto Botar. Blizzo getting a little bit low. Can they get the counter kill? Shapus into execute range. Taken down. Method Triforce from start to finish. Although Unitas had a couple moments in that game where it looked like they could win. Method Triforce just dominating.
Yeah, I think, like you say, a few signs of life from Unitas. I like to see that, of course. The LATAM teams in the past, we've seen them perhaps getting really kind of destroyed in some of these tournaments. So they're definitely doing
to actually pull out a victory here.
I think one of the things that we saw starting to work for Unitas was when they started swapping over onto Blizzard a little bit. Of course, Elemental Shamans, which Swapsy is playing right now, are known for being able to kind of keep their distance. They have a fair few ways of getting out of sticky situations, whereas Blizzard, they can catch him in battle stance maybe. He's trying to play very aggressive. Like Josh was saying, they really try to avoid dampening. They want to get the early kills. Maybe they can catch him off guard.
That same thing, Incapacitate into leg sweep over onto Rind. Barkskin as well as that Ironbark already forced out. It's a nice pre-Ironbark though onto Shapus, preventing a lot of that incoming burst. And Rind actually throwing out that Barkskin just so he doesn't drop out of that Vim range. He knows he's not going to be dying. He just wants to prevent Botar from basically soloing off that huge healing increase. Shapus getting lower and lower though. He might have to port away at this point in the game. Valkyle's over on the Blizzo. Not a lot of pressure though. It didn't seem to connect. Shapus still getting lower and lower. Might have to actually port away at this point in the game. Rind getting incapacitated. Shapus in a lot of trouble trying to get out that fear. Blizzo taking a lot of damage though. That's going to be the life cocoon coming in from Botar. Nicely done by Unitas.
Yeah, I actually like the Barkskin from Rind. Of course, you can trade it basically equally with the Way of the Crane, only a few seconds difference between those two cooldowns. And one of the weaknesses of Turbo Cleave is, unlike the Demon Hunters, unlike the Windwalkers, they're not very mobile. So if Rind is playing max range, as you can see he is, it's very hard for them to swap over to him and punish that Barkskin.
Yeah, Hazita actually had a nice Hex as well, slowing down Swapsy. So if he can consistently get those Hexes out, but it might not matter. Shape is still in the middle of the map right now. That's the Unending Resolve with the full fear onto Rin. Ironbark and Unending Resolve have been stacked up. Stormkeeper available for Swapsy. Shapus needs to survive. This is a dire situation. Method looking to close out the series 3-0. Shapus almost into execute range with a nice stun on a Blizzo, but the second that fades, Blizzo connects that execute, and that is it. Method Triforce dominating their first series.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing Unitas later in this tournament, though. Of course, they are not eliminated yet. We are playing double elimination effectively in these groups. Unitas have been definitely challenging other teams, but Method Triforce were just a little bit too strong.
Yeah, I really feel like they got their worst team first. I mean, anyone going up against Method Triforce.
That aggressive style, which some of the other Windwalker DKs that are playing perhaps the rest of Shaman or the rest of Druid can't do.
One thing I'll be looking for in this game to see if Primes is going to be playing that Tiger Eye Brew specialization. It can be very strong to pierce through some of that Elemental Shaman armor. We'll have to see if he uses that Fist of Fury stun or if he spams out those spinning crane kicks to build up that buff. Looks like Jamie is the target of choice very early on with a nice Hodge over onto Leanne. Streaming taking a little bit of crossfire as well, but this is the pillar. Everything coming out from Blank very early on. Blinding Light over onto Leanne. They're looking to all in Jamie very early on. Astral Shift should be enough to diffuse that, but Leanne just cannot get any healing out. Jamie doing an excellent job kiting though, and he's going to be completely fine.
Yeah, and one of the other things to note here is he is running the Whirling Dragon Punch as opposed to Serenity. You can see on the left of your screen Primes with that Storm, Earth and Fire, and that's going to spread very well with the, of course, the change recently to the Thunder Eye Brew, as we were saying, so those images doing slightly more damage benefiting from that, and that means maybe they can get a bit of pressure here, but ultimately it looks like most of the damage is onto Jamie.
Yep, Jamie taking a little bit of damage right now, but he has stabilized completely. Another Incapacitate over onto Leanne. Blank Esports looking to get aggressive once again. Nice leg sweep over onto Leanne. He trinkets immediately. Doesn't want to overlap the Barskin with the trinket. Just trinkets, displaces away into bear form. That should be enough. Prime's looking to get aggressive on him, though. Caught into the bash into a full Cyclone, so he's going to have to sit that. That should be enough time to give Leanne a chance to stabilize his team. Streaming having to use that AMS. This is a nightmare situation. As that Frost Deathline, it's so difficult to get pressure on the Elemental Shaman. They have very good kite ability. You have a warrior just snaring you the entire game, so this is very difficult, but a lot of pressure over onto Jamie right now. No Astral Shift available, but Leanne tossing in that Ironbark causing Jamie to be a little bit more tanky and increasing the amount of healing that he does get.
Yeah, Jamie is getting put under a lot of pressure here. You can see Lian's one of the first healers we've seen running the PvP trinket rather than the Relentless, which means he is getting caught up in a fair bit of that crowd control from both Primes and Unix. And Jamie isn't able to get too much damage out. He's having to sit in the Ghost Wolf for the kiting, but it's not really helping him get away. We can see Streaming, they're getting a bit of pressure onto him, but ultimately, I think the game plan for Rocket's Eclipse is to just try and keep Jamie alive and try and wear down that blue mana bar on Unix. If they can do that, that's definitely a win condition for them.
Nice Hex coming in from Jamie. Unix going to trinket out of that immediately. That means he has no trinket available. Still can always fall back on that bubble if he needs to. Streaming taking a lot of damage right now. Still has the reset with his Icebound Fortitude, but really just having a difficult time to connect to his target. Jamie doing an excellent job kiting. He actually used the Astral Shift. They're not exactly sure why, so using that Astral Shift, preventing really not too much damage. He was able to kite away, so didn't get too much value out of it there. That might be an opening for Blank Esports. Pillar of Frost has been popped. A lot of pressure going to be coming out from Blank Esports. Lian also tossing in that Iron Bark as well, but they're able to shred through it a little bit. Big heals coming in onto Jamie. Nerd Rage taking a little bit of that residual cleave damage coming in from that Frost Death Knight, so Lian's going to have to stabilize him, but Streaming still in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, good grip stun coming out there from the team of Blank Esports, and as you were saying, Van, the Astral Shift may be a little bit preemptive, forced out the Iron Bark as well, but they did commit the Remorseless Winter and the Pillar of Frost for that. Can they get aggressive with the next Touch of Death is going to be the question, of course. That's up in 20 seconds before any of those defensives, but just passively, Jamie dropping a little bit low. He does have that Thunderstorm if he wants to knock his opponents away, but it's not enough right now. He's really struggling to kite. You can see Nerd Rage just being slowed and slowed. Can't really keep up to his targets because of those Chains of Ice and the Ride the Wind from Blank Esports.
Yeah, Unix sitting down for a drink, causing Streaming to have to use that Icebound Fortitude, so not going to have that defensive cooldown to rely on. Full Hodge over on the Lian. Going to be followed up with that Blinding Light, more than likely. Jamie could be in a lot of trouble right now. Lian tricketing out of that immediately, though, so Trinket is down. Iron Bark going to be available. Lian now caught into that Incapacitate, but Streaming cannot connect. Prime's using that Ride the Wind, though. It's going to allow Streaming to get a little bit more mobility and finally connect over onto Jamie. A lot of pressure coming in from Blank Esports, but Jamie still into that Ghost Wolf, trying to kite around. Stormkeeper has been popped. Streaming going to be in a lot of trouble. He realizes this, drops that anti-magic zone, but a grip over onto Lian. Nice swap onto him. He has no Trinket, but Barkskin gets forced out, still getting lower and lower. Frenzied Regen should be enough to keep him alive. Jamie spamming out some heals and spamming out some counter pressure as well. Streaming caught into a full Stormbolt now, but it looks like not too much damage coming in from Rockets.
Yeah, Ride the Wind is just such a nuisance for the Elemental Shaman, right? I mean, the way he wants to survive is by kiting this Death Knight. Death Knight's traditionally not that mobile, but of course it gives you the freedom, gives you the 40% movement increase. Jamie just cannot get away. He is being pummeled this entire game. There's no PvP trinket on Lian. The Astral Shift is now available, so they do have the answers, but he's just not getting out enough damage. On the flip side though, Unix dropping lower and lower on mana. He has been going for those drinks, but they're doing a good job of stopping him. When he runs dry, Paladins really struggle when they're out of mana.
Yeah, Lian might be in a lot of trouble here. He has no Barkskin for another 10 seconds. He needs to play exceptionally passive. You can see him on the pillar. He does not want to get death gripped into a leg sweep. That will surely be the end of the game. So playing very, very safely into that bear form, just topping off his team. Not a lot of pressure coming in from Blank Esports at this point of the game. So Lian able to just play very passive. Unix almost completely We are not even into dampening right now, so you can just tell how much pressure Jamie and Nerd Rage are putting out onto this Windwalker and this Death Knight. Full Hodge over onto Lian. Still no Trinket available. Followed up by the Blinding Light. Jamie needs to be able to survive. He's doing a good job kiting, but unfortunately Streaming cannot connect right now. The Stormbolt over onto Nerd Rage. Ride the Wind going to be enough. Finally able to get to Jamie, but still Nerd Rage just doing a good job healing in this game. Lian positioned very far away. That's Incapacitate over onto him, but he was able to get out enough healing where Jamie really doesn't feel threatened.
Yeah, it was a really nice swap coming out of Blank Esports, but Jamie was able to preemptively get that Astral Shift on the stun, so Syndragoza was able to come in, but it wasn't enough damage quite. Lian, he's taking a little bit here. We can see the chilling Disorient onto him is going to deny some of that healing, but he's just able to kite away. He's going to push for the Cyclones now on Linux. That's going to be the bubble. It won't be enough though, most likely. Streaming without that Icebound Fortitude. Huge heal with the Divine Favor will keep him alive, but you feel like they're on their last limbs. Blank Esports up against it here in game one.
Yeah, Unix going for that drink. Lian says no way. He charged in, stopped it, and got a full Cyclone onto Unix, which he had to bubble to keep Streaming alive. So really good job there by Lian, realizing the situation, and now this is looking very, very dire for Blank Esports. Unix completely tapped. This is his wings as well, so if that falls, his healing might not be enough, but they might have one last opportunity on Jamie here. Iron Bark should be able to shut it down, though. Jamie still just kiting around. He realizes if they can live, if Rocket's Eclipse can live just a little bit longer, they basically default win this game, but they get the nice triple stun. Leg sweep. Jamie could get bursted down here. No Astral Shift still available for 4 seconds. He needs to kite away. He needs to be able to live a little bit longer. Full bash over on the Streaming. He might have wanted to actually use that Icebound Fortitude to get aggressive there. Finally going to use it. Able to reset his HP a little bit, and Unix was able to sit down for a drink, which is so huge.
Yeah, I think that was the big theme of that aggression. Jamie didn't have anything left, so they had to play defensive, and Unix used that opportunity to get about 30% of his mana bar. Very effective for him. We can see Jamie dropping low once again, and Lian is actually behind on mana right now, so they need to be careful. They do have the defensive cooldowns though, PvP Trinket and Astral Shift available for them, but look at the side of Blank Esports. They also have a fair bit. We can see Touch of Death being committed now, trading out that Astral Shift immediately, Jamie.
Yep, so a Touch of Death is going to tick here. Iron Bark still available for Lian as well. They might have to use both of those cooldowns. It's not a situation you want to be in. Streaming still getting kited though, taking a lot of pressure from Nerd Rage at this point of the game. Unix getting lower and lower, trying to get out that Tears Deliverance. Stinging Powers healing a little bit. Full Incapacitate over onto Lian. Not going to be able to get too much done. Lian actually looking like he might have wanted to go for a drink there, but opting to just try to close out this game with that full Cyclone over onto Unix. He does have Trinket available, but no defensive cooldowns whatsoever. Blank Esports is in a lot of trouble, but Rockets Club, really all they have to fall back on is the Trinket of Lian as well as that Iron Bark, but I really think that's going to be enough to keep them alive.
Yeah, I wonder, Nerd Rage is struggling so much to connect to his target. You can see him once again here, slowed by the Chains of Ice, and the people are kiting away from him with the Ride the Wind. I wonder if he could just swap over to Unix. A little bit of pressure should be able to generate over there, but instead he's going to keep trying to peel for Jamie, trying to play this defensive strategy. It's been working for them so far. We can see though a lot of problems are coming on the side of Rockets Eclipse. They do have a fair bit of damage over onto Streaming right now, but the Wings is available for Unix. He should be able to heal through this damage, and Jamie just cannot get away.
Yeah, this is the Pillar of Frost as well. Blank Esports looking to get aggressive. Unix charging in, looking for that Hodge. Doesn't have the Blinding Light though, so Prime's going to have to get that Incapacitate if they want to have any chance of actually landing a kill here. Full leg sweep into Incapacitate, but he left a little bit of an opening there in his CC chain, so Jamie was able to get a big heal. That little misplay may have cost him this kill and this setup. Full bash over onto Primes now into that Cyclone, so Lian doing a good job crowd controlling. Stormkeeper has been used by Jamie, looking to get super aggressive on Streaming, but he's fine. Uses the EMS, deflects that incoming damage. Unix though, no mana whatsoever, 22% dampening. I don't know how he's going to be able to heal through this much longer.
Yeah, so this is the offensive cooldowns from Blank Esports. You can see Touch of Death, 10 seconds. Breathless Integrator and Pillar of Frost also coming up very, very soon. If they can survive till those cooldowns, that's going to be their win condition, but they cannot. Streaming will die to the execute of Nerd Rage. If they'd bought another few seconds, maybe they could have turned up, but still the Astral Shift. And it was one of these cases where Rockets Eclipse, they looked like they were maybe struggling, but they always had the answers, and they were able to take game one.
Yeah, definitely. That's that was a very very interesting game for a lot of.
So he can basically choose any point on this map and say, hey, this is where we're going to play. For him, I think that should most likely be the open space, because if he's heading towards those rooms, he's going to end up stacking up a lot with Lian, and that's going to make it very difficult for Lian to avoid those grip stuns.
Look at that full Stormbolt onto Streaming immediately. Nerd Rage wants to slow down some of this damage. He's got Battle Cry as well, looking to get aggressive very early on. That's the full Hodge into Blinding Light onto Lian. Blank Esports pulling the trigger. Jamie trying to survive with that Astral Shift and kiting away, but looks like he's still taking a fair bit of damage. Freedom over onto Streaming. That's going to be key. They need those Blessing of Freedoms onto Streaming when they are doing those burst chains over onto Jamie, so he doesn't get kited. Jamie just cannot get away. Lian's might possibly have to throw out that Iron Bark, but he's in a good position right now, able to just spam out those healing touches, and Jamie should be completely fine. Yeah,
I really like how Blank Esports played this. They just ran in, used every cooldown. You can see the Breathless Integrator and the Pillar of Frost immediately trying to unknow Rockets Eclipse, but they couldn't. They only got the Astral Shift. Any lesser team might have also overlapped the Iron Bark there, but they see Touch of Death is still available for Primes. They knew that not everything was committed by Blank, and the split of the cooldowns, although caught up into the double stun, could be detrimental to them.
Yeah, the triple leg sweep coming in. Lian caught into the Fist of Fury as well. That was a nice knock coming in from Jamie, though, slowing down some of this damage coming in from Streaming and Prime. So well done by him. And you can see the positioning here. Jamie doing an excellent job using that elevation to sort of leap and hop around, making it very difficult for Streaming to reconnect. But a nice Blessing of Freedom going to come in. Jamie immediately purging that, dispelling it. Wraith Walk as well. So now Streaming and Primes have this opportunity to put out some damage, but Lian just so far away. Primes cannot get that Incapacitate he needs to sort of get this pressure rolling. Not able to land that CC. This is beautiful positioning coming in from Lian. Actually pre-Iron Barking that Incapacitate. It gets gripped into that Fist of Fury stun. Barkskin has been committed, but possibly way too late. Trying to tank through this damage in bear form. He displaces away. Prime's in full aggro mode right though. right now. Streaming actually caught into a Stormbolt as well, so a lot of pressure coming in from both teams. Streaming might not want to, he might not want to reconsider pushing in this far at this point of the game. Unix going to have a difficult time healing him if he does chase into that room, so good positioning by Lian.
Yeah, both of these teams playing on a very high level. You can see every time they swap over to Jamie, he's moving towards that second tier. He wants to be able to use the gust of wind every 15 seconds to hop up, and that's why they're struggling to swap over to him, though we can see the blinding light into the Hodge on Lian. He's trying to sit through this with the Astral Shift. Looks like Jamie should be able to kite away and survive, but because of that, they're doing the swaps over onto Lian a little bit more, which I really like actually from the Windwalker DK. If they can catch him in the incap, into the Death Grip, into the stuns out of form, they can definitely get that kill.
Yeah, that might want to, they might want to shift their focus onto Lian a little bit more. Ironbark going to be tossed onto him, but it seems like, Blank Esports, they're getting most of their pressure, most of their momentum from those grips, with Streaming getting lower and lower, actually having to toss out that Icebound 4-2 to get some healing on himself. Key defensive cooldown that has now been eaten up, so he's not going to have that available. Lian still has his Trinket, but no Ironbark, no Astral Shift. If Blank Esports can get one good go, a Pillar of Frost coming up in 35 seconds. Rocket's Eclipse not really going to have an answer. I guess they have the Ironbark, so Lian's doing a good job really trading out that Ironbark for that Pillar of Frost, which is really good. Jamie once again leaping away from Streaming. Streaming just got to be so frustrated in this situation. Just cannot connect to the target he wants. Maybe Blank Esports, they need to turn their attention over onto Nerd Rage. Keep him honest, not in battle stance, but a nice grip leg sweep. Lian's going to trinket out of that immediately, displace away. Going to be completely fine, but Blank Esports doing a good job. They got that trinket, and now they have an opportunity on their next grip leg sweep.
Yeah, and there's definitely some Method-esque play about Rocket Eclipse. You can see they're basically just playing this brick wall, no overlaps ever with their defensive cooldowns. Lian, we've talked about his progression from 2016, where he was making some of those mistakes on the Mistweaver Monk, to now where he's looking like one of the most solid healers that Europe has to offer, and they're just playing it so well. Even Nerd Rage is coming in with the peels when he needs to. Jamie just able to kite away, and they're running down that mana bar once again on Unix down to about 20%, and on the smaller map it's going to be really hard for him to get those drinks.
Yeah, Jamie's going to Trinket Astral Shift, wants to prevent this damage. A lot of pressure coming in from Blank Esports. This is the CC chain over onto Lian. Jamie needs to be able to survive. He gets gripped back though with the freedom onto Streaming. He's not going to get peeled away. Jamie getting lower and lower. Lian having to toss out that Ironbark to prevent some of this damage, but that's every single defensive cooldown forced out by Rocket's Eclipse. Full stun over onto Primes. Can they get some pressure over onto him? Full Fisted Fury stun over onto Nerd Rage as well as Jamie. Jamie gets topped off, but that was every defensive eaten up there. So Rocket's Eclipse could be in a lot of trouble, but they've managed to stabilize. Streaming getting lower and lower. AMS available. Might have to use it. Unix mana not looking good. Dampening should be kicking in very, very shortly.
Yeah, it was all the defensives, but it was exchanged for all the offensives on the side of Blank Esports. You can see that Pillar of Frost coming up soon, though. If they can get the grips done, I don't actually like this using the Fist of Fury here. I'd rather waited, as Josh was talking to, between the games for that triple stun. We see it now, but Jamie just able to move away, use those healing surges because of the mismatch with the stuns there. That could have been the opportunity for Blank Esports, but now you can see Ironbark's up in 13, Astral Shift's up in about 20, Rocket's Eclipse are starting to rotate, and as you can see, Unix down on cooldowns, down on mana, and almost out of this game.
Yeah, Blank Esports pulling the trigger a little bit early, allowing Jamie to actually get a Hex on that setup, so Primes wasn't able to really get anything going. Nicely done by Jamie defusing that situation. Streaming trying to reconnect with that freedom. Little Fist of Fury going to be tossed over onto Lian, trying anything he can to get some pressure going, force out that Bark Skin, but Lian not falling for it. Full bash over onto Primes into that Cyclone. Now Primes really has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. He just caught in his crowd control, cannot help Streaming. Double blinding light going to be, or sorry, the blind coming out from that Death Knight onto Jamie, as well as Nerd Rage trying to slow down some of that damage as he was in trouble. Gets topped off. Full Cyclone coming out from Lian though. Jamie still could be in a little bit of trouble, but Rocket's Eclipse, they have all the defensives available. Lian's mana looking very good. If Rocket's Eclipse can continue to play this very solid game defensively, I think they do have this game in the bag.
Yeah, I think so too, and that's why I agree that earlier Blank Esports could have had the opportunity to make those swaps. They're getting the blinding lights over onto Lian. If they use that to grip him in, get some stuns, they can definitely kill him. He's playing the PvP trinket, so he's not got that stun reduction from the Relentless Talon, but they're just not going for it, and I have the feeling it's too late at this point. You can see Astral Shift and Iron Arc both available for Jamie, and even though the Touch of Death's being kind of committed here desperately, it's definitely not going to kill him.
Yeah, but they split up their offensive cooldowns. I actually like this. They may have baited out that Ironbark with that Touch of Death. They still have the Storm Earth and Fire. They still have the Pillar as well, so they have one last opportunity, but Streaming getting lower and lower. Icebound Fortitude might have to be tossed out. The grip leg sweep, Lian immediately trinketing out of that. I love Lian's decisions. Every time he gets caught in those bad situations, he doesn't hesitate. He trinkets immediately, and it really causes his team to not fall behind. Now he's in a good spot to actually toss up those heals on Jamie. Jamie's not going to be getting too low, although this is all the offensive cooldowns coming in from Blank Esports. Jamie's in a good spot right now. Not able to kite currently, but still should be completely completely fine. Incapacitate over onto Lian. Jamie has that Astral Shift. Doesn't want to be too greedy with it, though. The Double Fist of Fury stun coming out, but Jamie doesn't get caught in it. He's able to just kite away. Unix is drinking. Can Jamie slow it down? Manages to get that Earth Grab. This is huge for Rocket's Eclipse. Lian's mana about 50%. Unix down to around 10% mana. Streaming getting lower and lower. Trinket AMS coming out from him. So Rocket's Eclipse once again whittling down these defensive cooldowns, getting pressure where they can.
Yeah, that was really nifty positioning on the drink there from Unix. He ran all the way into that little hole in the room, so to speak, so Jamie had to walk all the way in to stop it, but it was enough. Lyric's still low on mana, and we can see Streaming basically out of defensive cooldowns. He does have enough runic power for that Icebound Fortitude heal if he chooses to use it, but instead he's getting offensive, but the defensive fear comes out of Nerd Rage. Trinket Fear immediately mitigates a lot of that swap, because that could have been dangerous. There was no Trinket on Lian. They wanted to swap over to him with the Pillar of Frost, but beautiful play by Nerd Rage. That rotation once again from Rocket's Eclipse.
Yeah, Blank Esports, this is very, very dire for them. That is going to be the Icebound Fortitude heal coming in from Streaming. That's basically the last defensive cooldown they have available. Lian positioned, 40 yards away, just tossing out the heals. He realizes he has the mana advantage. His team, if they can just survive, they are most likely going to win this game, rotating the way that they are. Jamie has Astral Shift, so very, very tanky in terms of defensives. Lian still just positioning far away. Nerd Rage actually, I think he's going for Stormbolt onto Unix, leaping away, trying to get some sort of crowd control, so then get some CC going and possibly take down Streaming, but it looks like nothing really happening at this point. Streaming waiting for that Pillar of Frost to come back up so they have an opportunity to get some burst out, little stun over onto Primes. That's the Incapacitate. Blank Esports has one more opportunity to maybe get some pressure going here with their offensive cooldowns, but with that Incapacitate, the way Rocket's Eclipse is positioning, it's just so difficult for them.
Yeah, and now the Avenging Wrath has run out of Unix. This is going to be the game, surely. We can see the connection. They're trying to blink away. Trinket again from Lian. He knows that this is this team's time. The offensive cooldowns are coming out from Blank Esports. This is their last chance, but it will not be enough. Streaming dropping lower and lower. Unix is running on fumes at this point. One execute will finish it all. Stun. Can Nerd Rage connect? He does. 2-0 Rocket's Eclipse.
Yeah, just textbook game coming in from Rocket's Eclipse. They just didn't overlap their defensive cooldowns. They did a good job with positioning, and that's why I really feel like Warrior, Resto Druid with that Elemental Shaman is so difficult for Windwalker, Deathknight to actually get their setups rolling. They have so many different ways to...
BlizzCon 2017, and we can see the Ring of Pieces are on the side of Rook. He wants to be pushing for those. There's going to be a big mind game, actually, between Jamie with the Thunderstorms and Rook with those Ring of Pieces.
Yeah, Blank Esports really talking up that Ring of Pieces. He's actually playing Wave of the Crane as well, so this is going to be very interesting, being able to assist his team with some of that melee damage coming in from that Mistweaver Monk. Maybe they're going to be looking for those all-ins onto Lian. Could be difficult for them to get that damage over on Jamie. Jamie actually just playing on the ground. He's opting to just kite down to the ground. Streaming getting lower and lower. AMS already tossed out. This is going to be the Way of the Crane coming in from Rook as well. Grip leg sweep over onto Lian, trinketing out immediately, but it looks like they're going all in, trying to chase down Lian, but he's just so far away. Jamie doing a good job throwing out that Hex as well. But it does get broken. Lian should be completely fine. Still has Barkskin, still has Ironbark. Rook tossing out those heals. Way of the Crane is down. They weren't really able to accomplish too much. Lian getting knocked down there by that Ring of Peace, but really not doing too much in terms of offense.
Yeah, and I'm wondering actually what the Ring of Peace achieves. I mean, it's very flashy and stuff, but you're knocking Jamie off, and then the melees are just going to follow him anyways. I mean, it's you have to wonder the value. We can see the wind shear. Can he get a heal? He couldn't get it. He had the IBF up, but he didn't turn around and Death Strike Nerd Rage, so he didn't get the healing from the talent as the Frost DK, and that was a very quick game. I don't know how he didn't get that.
I don't know how he didn't get a heal. Maybe he was disarmed or something, but it just seemed like I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Knows there is not an arcane mage in this game.
But look at these comps. Hey, there we go. Now we've had every single healer in this tournament so far. Now that we have Amni on Disc Priest, really well known for playing those discipline setups. And he's the guy on the team that his team was talking about. You know, he really needed to bounce back from a rough start at regionals, so we'll have to see how well he does.
Yeah, and Kara's going to jump into the fight, popping Avenging Wrath very early on. He wants to lead out with this assault towards Psy Foxy. Amni deflects. Archangel popped. Full trap has been landed as Kara is retreating back behind the pillar to escape certain death, healing himself back up. Obviously, the off healing from the Rep Paladin going to prove to be very useful. Pre-Sanctuary onto the Fear there from Kara. Asgaroth breaks out of the crowd control, reconnects, and now Kara and Nixie will move out. Nixie's going to charge after SSDS. SSDS disengaging away. Kara, that Rep Paladin, not going to have the mobility to keep up. Instead, retreating back to the pillar and trying to bait Psy Foxy into his clutches.
All right, Cyfoxy looking for his target. Looks like he's going to be swapping over to Nixie for a little while, and now there we go. He's going to be maiming Asgarath on that, and now we're going to have the Ascendance. We're going to have the Artifact on use. This is everything going in. Carrick down really low, getting extremely low, having to bubble
Divine
right there.
Shield. Yeah, Divine Shield's been proper. Cyfoxy at the same time needs to be careful. Pulls back. Amni making good calls there for him to stay in line of sight. If Cyfoxy goes behind this pillar, he will die, gets life grip back. Amni says, get out of there now. You cannot stay in front of that Ret Paladin shredding machine. Cyfoxy though jumps right back into the fight. They got that Divine Shield. They're looking for the kill. Bash, can SSDS snipe the trap from across the field? It doesn't look like he was able to connect it out of the stun, so he's gonna have to do it the hard way. Leaps in for bursting shot. Now combos it into the full trap. Kara on the run. Cyfoxy going in. Amni needs to try and purge. He mass dispels around the corner. Nice snipe from Amni. Blessing of Protection now removed, but Asgaroth into a mind control. Amni taking this game into his hands. He's not healing though, and SSDS had to turtle. Cyfoxy solos out the Spirit Link. Close calls as both teams go all out.
Yeah, that turtle trade was questionable at that point. Cyfoxy getting pretty low right now, still holding on to his pain suppression. And I know in regionals he had some problems using that pain suppression before targets died, so he really needs to be on the game. Ooh, that was a good fear. Broken out right there by 2 trinkets.
Full trap! SSDS and Cyfox are looking to close this out. If they can get any crowd control, Amni right on top, knocks them away. Now Carr at 2%, flash of light, the only thing keeping him alive. Asgaroth can't believe that he's alive. SSDS is getting soloed by Nixie. He's trying to kite away, Nixie on his tail. SSDS managed to survive, but Amni's completely out of mana. They have to find a kill on Kara right now. They have to go in for it. They need to land one more trap. Cyfoxy eating the Hodge behind the pillar. Nice skull bash. They need to land it. Bursting shot. And will he land the trap? Kara standing. Kara eats the trap, but it's not enough. Another stun to follow it up, and Sneaky Snakes are going to take game number 1. Nixie not giving up though. Amni is out of mana. SSDS has no cooldowns available. If Nixie can stay on target, he's not going to be able to. Amni says, nope, get out of there, SSDS, and he should be able to survive. Asgaroth is trying to purge out. They're still playing it out with a 2v3, but this warrior does not look like he's going to be connecting anytime soon. They're still trying to play it out though. It's a tournament, you never know. Sometimes teams, when they win, they stand up and they kind of throw the game, so they're just trying to play it out, but at this point it's obvious that they've now fully recovered and it is over.
You just can't count them out. You can't count out the Sneaky Snakes. They are looking incredible here, and they're going to be playing. Let's see if they're prepared or if ABC can bring it in with the counter.
And Asgaroth is going to be playing Blessed Hands as his tier 6 honor talent choice instead of that Avenging Crusader. Of course, the entire team, minus Asgaroth, is going to be start off in stealth as Nixie looking for his target.
I want to see Sneaky Snakes tunnel the Paladin, as Zico suggested. He doesn't have many defensives that can't be purged or mass dispelled. Looks like Nixie's going to start the fight. Full blind onto Amni, leading the assault towards SSDS, but he feigned death the beginning pressure. Amni's going to trinket out of Polymorph. He sat the blind, but now going through a kidney shot. SSDS could be in trouble. He's looking for crowd control of his own. Looks like they're targeting down the rogue Nixie. Not normally the primary target. He already traded out Evasion, though, and he could be an opening target now for Incarnation. They need to stay alive a little bit longer. Now with Vendetta popped, SSDS could be in trouble. Amni choosing not to use Pain Suppression, uses Barrier instead. The shield should reduce the damage enough for SSDS to survive. Asgaroth is blown through his Avenging Wrath. One more crowd control chain onto him, and Nixie could be in trouble.
Yep, and SSDS down to half, and there we go. The Pain Suppression is forced out right before the bubble. So that was an interesting trade right there. Definitely necessary, though. Alex is using that combustion, pumping out some damage. So SSDS getting extremely low, needing to turtle there. I really like the Blinding Light pick now that I've been seeing it more and more in this tournament.
All right, well, Amni has no defensive cooldowns, neither does SSDS, and really it's against the wall right now for SSDS to be able to stay alive. Nixie and Alec are doing so much damage. They're trying to pull something off with a stun, double fear onto the DPS, and they are going after the Holy Paladin, Asgaroth. They realize Divine Shield is his last line of defense. They can mass dispel that and get through it that way. If they can build up the damage, SSDS getting gripped back to the pillar, though. Amni doesn't want to throw the match. Could be a close call here. Cyfoxy is trying to solo Asgaroth. Will Nixie or Cyfoxy be able to find the damage? He gets the Divine Shield by himself. Mass dispel. They can now look for the kill. Asgaroth has nothing to protect himself. Down at half. Full trap on the Nixie. Not being dispelled. Full stun on Asgaroth. Interrupt onto Alec. Triple crowd control for Sneaky Snakes. And they're looking to pull this game around. Asgaroth down at half HP. Amni into a polymorph, but they need to polymorph the DPS. Asgaroth's the one in trouble. Ring of Frost trinket instantly. Cyfoxy goes for the kill. And Sneaky Snakes pull it back. In the meantime, though, Amni's still polymorphed. SSDS into the kidney shots. Vendetta is ticking. Tons of damage. And I'm not sure if they're going to be able to play that out to the finish, but either way, does look like Sneaky Snakes are going to take game number 2.
With the counter potential for ABC, this is absolutely insane to see Sneaky Snakes coming out in full force so early here, especially with this composition. If they can continue to play this composition, they are going to be in their comfort zone.
I just gotta say, Sneaky Snakes are such an intelligent team. You know what they did this game that really made the pressure just shift like that in 1 second? They went on Nixie, right? And we were kind of like, well, they should tunnel
all year long.
He has, so this will be a big showdown. We'll have to see if Kara and Nixie can score a kill. That crowd control on the Disc Priest is going to be really important. Amni is just waiting for the opener, trying to get some shields out for that first initial burst, and there we go. We're going to have an opener, the kidney, and with the cheap shot onto SSDS, lots of initial damage, just going completely out, and that does force the pain suppression already.
Yeah, pain suppression I think was a fair trade. Now a Wyvern Sting landed on Asgaroth as SDS and Cyfox, they look to turn the pressure around towards Kara. Trap landed, pain suppression now has been forced on the opposite side. Full fear secured from Amni. Life gripping Cyfox away from the stun. Kara getting 1v1 by SSDS here. Kara's forced to retreat back behind the pillar. Nixie's trying to peel Cyfox away, but Cyfox is not giving up the chase. Going right behind that pillar on Kara. They're going to bursting shot Cyfox away. They do not want him. They want to go after SSDS, but SSDS is in too good of a defensive position at the moment. Nixie getting knocked away. Nixie is getting ready to start the next attack. He wants to start with a kidney shot onto Amni and then a cheap shot onto SSDS, and he's bouncing between both of them. They need to spread out, so Nixie needs to use Shadow Steps to commit both those crowd controls. This is good spread right now. Amni's very far away from SSDS, and they need to keep this distance for as long as possible. Nixie's running over. He wants to start the chain. Full kidney shot. The Wyvern Sting on Cyfoxy. Good cross crowd control from Kara. It's a 3-on-1. SSDS getting bursted down. Will he be able to survive the stun lock? Aspect of the Turtle has now been traded out. Clean setup for ABC.
Yeah, that's really great job by Kara right there, you know, putting that crowd control onto Amni and forcing both.
Kara now just get crushed.
Oh yeah,
I don't even know what just happened. He just got mauled down, and now his aspect of the Turtle is out of the way. This is a completely even game. Amni though with Trinket, I guess they do have the lead. Amni has the lead in this position. One more attempt set up from Sneaky Snakes could be the life of Kara. Kara knows that. He's right behind that box. Now trying to move out. This could be the end of the match. He's disengaging in. He's going for the kill. Nixie gets bursting shot away. Kara's trying to land the trap. Snipes in the trap. Now SSDS could be in trouble if he doesn't land a trap of his own, but he's caught into the stun lock. He's not able to. Amni caught into the fear. Smoke bomb gets dropped. Cheap shot. Cheap shot. Cheap shot. Gonna find the kill. Now putting a point on that scoreboard. ABC 1-2. But can they play Thug Cleave every time? I feel like Rhett Hunter is gonna just run over that.
Yeah, I mean, EU has held on for now, but that is a very good point indeed. I will say this was one of the most dangerous matchups to be playing against Sneaky Snakes because they are a total momentum team.
In favor of Sneaky Snakes, 30% ABC, but here we go. Match point. Can NA take down EU?
Now Evangeline is going to be playing Crusade as his level 100 talent. So he's going to have very, very punchy wings. It's going to take a second to get going because it does ramp up, but that pairs very well with that Hammer of Reckoning talent too.
Oh, nice. He sanctuaried the kidney and death the trap instantly out of it. Good play there from Sneaky Snakes. That's going to get them a massive lead. Kara down at half. Bursting shot on Asgaroth. If SSDS can snipe in that trap, full trap is landed, forces the trinket. Massive lead here for Sneaky Snakes.
Oh, it is. This is not looking good for ABC right now as they started to fall behind. Nixie is using his cooldowns very quickly. 2 charges of Shadow Dance already spent plus his Shadow Blades.
Nice Wyvern Sting there from Kara onto Avenge. There's no way to dispel for him. That CC'd most of his Avenging, or his Crusade, so he's just kiting Avenge. Really good positioning for Kara right now to avoid the end of that Crusade. That's when the Rep Paladin does the most damage, and Kara's a Rep Paladin main, so obviously he would know that, so really good adaptation there. Kara just kiting around the map. He knows that they lost the initial exchange. They need to stay alive. Smoke Bomb to punish the early trinket. Avenge trinkets out of that, though. He's playing human. Double bursting shot. Need to land a trap. Full trap is landed. Paint suppression, I feel like, should almost just be used offensively. Maybe he doesn't need it. There's just no damage.
Yeah.
Nixie and Kara not doing enough damage. Now out of the trap, Amni decides to use paint suppression. I feel like it might have been too greedy.
There, yeah.
Sanctuary. Full fear, though, onto Asgaroth. Kara, very low. Avenge got knocked away. Life grips him back. Great teamwork from Amni and Avenge. Kara down half looking for a defensive Wyvern Sting onto Avenge to just stay alive. SSDS now getting pounded. Will Nixie be able to take him out? Penance is flying in to stabilize. Asgaroth's paint suppression has been blown. Full stun has landed. Blessing Protection or Turtle overlap. Definitely a panic attack there for SSDS, but he secures the trap. They need the damage now onto Kara, but Avenge gets peeled away by Nixie. Still anyone's game at this point. Did he death? I think he premonitioned that trap again on Amni. He got out of another trap. Critical moment here to stay aggressive.
Yeah, as Kara's trying to get away from this Rep Paladin the entire game. He does have his Crusade back up right now as Kara's going for some more damage. They're definitely choosing to go into SSDS and avoid Evangeline as much as they can. Now that they've forced Turtle and that Bop, It seems like SSDS could fall another, but this crowd control onto Asgarath is just flawless.
Yeah, there's nothing left for SSDS to stay alive. He needs to be careful, but he goes for the kill instead. Full trap has been landed. Kara is very low. Surely Aspect of the Turtle gets traded out here. That will keep Kara alive. Now Evangeline is trying to drive the bus to victory as he marches towards Kara. Kara's trying to kite. He goes for the bursting shot, lands a trap of his own. Now SSDS needs to be careful. I'd like to see him just jump off the side, feign death, avoid it. His healer's going to get feared out of the trap. Asgarath in position. Full kidney shot. Avenge choosing. No Sanctuary available. No Sanctuary. SSDS kiting Nixie. Now SSDS trying to do what Kara was doing earlier, but Kara is still getting tunneled down. Avenge bubbles out of crowd control. They need to go all in for the kill at this point. Everybody has blown every cooldown. This game is going to end at any moment. They're going to stabilize for a couple of seconds, but after that, Kara will be in danger. SSDS will be in danger, and now even Avenge opening himself up. Amni trinkets the blind. SSDS disengages over to land the trap, snipes the full trap. Now Amni gets Sanctuaried out of the kidney shot to go for a fear. Double fear has been landed. Avenge needs to get to his target. He doesn't have a freedom. Avenge is just waddling in that red paladin wheelchair trying to get over there. Kara's kiting him so good this match. He's down at half. Avenge just can't get there, and Kara's gonna stay alive.
All right, Asgarath is keeping him alive. I really like this kiting by Kara. You know, like you said before, he's a Ret Paladin main. He knows how to deal with Ret Paladins. You see him trying to get away as much as he can. I love the peels from Nixie also onto Avenge. Sitting in that kidney shot, or the cheap shot right now, forces the bubble down, so Asgarath again, full trap.
Full trap.
Just keep happening over and over and over.
Shadow Blades for Nixie. He's going after SSDS, but he's got Aspect of the Turtle again. This is looking good for Sneaky Snakes, as Kara is going to be isolated on the next crowd control chain. Amni moves in, lands the fear. I don't think there's any follow-up though, and the DR fear is not going to be enough to find a kill. Asgarath moves back up. Life grips Avenge back up to the top, trying to buy some breathing room maybe?
Yeah, that was weird.
That was a little bit strange, but the wings are up for Avenge. He's trying to get some damage pumping. Kara still kiting for his life. DR bursting shot. These DRs are getting messed up by Sneaky Snakes. They're kind of throwing the match now as a result. Avenge is not able to heal himself. He's trying to line of sight Kara. Amni now out of crowd control. They need to calm down. They're getting too ahead of themselves. That was a DR fear into a 1-second bursting shot. They need clean crowd control because they had the win with that, and now they're an open target with no bubble, and if Avenge overextends, it could be trouble. At the moment, we see Wyvern Sting on Asgarath. Kara is just kiting like a legend. It's almost like he's played Hunter his entire life. He's in the best position at all times, but a full fear has been landed. Anything could knock Kara over. SSDS moves in, gets bursting shot away. Kara trying to escape. Nixie peels Avenge away. Good teamwork. Now a life grip saves Kara once again as both these teams continue to battle it out.
Yeah, there was a Black Arrow pet that actually ate a trap during that onslaught. I'm not sure which pet it was. Nixie is going to try to find his target. Looks like he's just going to crowd control Amni at that point. Does get Sanctuaried out of it by Evangeline. They're going to go into Evangeline again. A minute 30 on his bubble. They need to make something happen if they want to win.
Oh, that's a ton of damage going towards Avenge. Amni is getting interrupted. Blessing of Protection has been used to try and save life. Purged it off. Avenge is going to go down. Amni got step kicked. Avenge is barely staying alive. Kara's moving over to land the trap. Can Amni premonition the trap? Avenge is standing on top of him as well. Kara wants this. Goes for the double bursting. Needs to land this trap. He gets the trap sniped out. Avenge is line of sighting Nixie. If Nixie gets to Avenge, surely he's going to go down. If he has a stun, there's the cheap shot. He saps Amni out of the trap. They look for the fear as well. SSDS feared away. Avenge in a 3v1, kiting to stay alive. Now looking to reverse the pressure. Kara has Aspect of the Turtle, but Kara's in a great position this entire game, just kiting away. Avenge can't chase him. Avenge is forced to come back. Sanctuary's the kidney shot right before he got stunned. Critical moment. Barrier will save him now. Trap landed on Asgarath. Nixie is dipping low. They could swap to him. He's going to get away from that Ret Paladin bandsaw. Does not want to get cleaved down. Good defensive Wyvern Sting from Kara. Sick play from Kara, really, to keep his team alive this long. Sneaky Snakes, they need to find a way to penetrate through, but it's not looking good for them now.
There was a blind trinket right there.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was his trinket. Yep. As SSDS is going to LOS just a little bit. Kara lands a full trap onto Amni, going for some more damage onto Kara.
Oh no, Avenge. Oh, triple bursting from SSDS, looking for the peel carry, trying to keep Evangeline going, but Kara's just on the other side of the map the whole game. SSDS has to solo him. Nice knockback as well. Avenge is not able to reconnect. Amni into the kidney shot. A full fear to follow it up, and Avenge is going to go down. ABC tied this series 2-2.
Wow. ABC is back in this 2-2. Sneaky Snakes now have the ball in their court, though, as far as the composition pick is going to go, but ABC already showed that they can come back from just about anything.
I was really impressed.
Seconds to reconsider Asgarath. It's match point. Are you going to go all in?
They are.
He's going to go all in. Dark Archangel.
This is the way to end. Oh, Nope, just
Nope,
kidding.
JK.
Oh.
He's teasing us, man. My name is Super Tease, not yours. Don't do that. That's not fair. Nixie's in stealth. No flare is going to find him. He's going to go across the map. But Amni surely has combat from the Hunter pet already, so Nixie's going to have to start off with some double stuns. They bursting shot Avenge. Trinket Sanctuary again instantly, but he's not a priest. He can't death. He actually put Earth Shield on himself. Now caught into a full blind. Does he Trinket? Yes. I think Trinket on the blind is a smart move. Switches the Earth Shield back over onto SSDS. Nixie has kind of been baited over, but Avenge is somehow across the universe. He's trying to get back to attack Nixie, and I think they're going to attack the Rogue instead. They know Kara is too elusive. They're going to go after the Rogue. Bursting shot has been landed, but Kara bursting shots SSDS. SSDS Trinket's a bursting shot. Now
To
he's an
land the
open
trap,
target.
yeah.
But he's an open target now.
Yep.
Asgroth gets stunned. Amni gets stunned, though. It looks like they're going to do a healer swap. Avenge should be able to easily off-heal him or protect him. It seems like he's tanking through this just fine. He's got a healing stream, totem down. That's going to reduce damage. He switches Earth Shield over. With Ascendance popped, I imagine he's going to recover. There's no more stuns. The swap was affected. They got Ascendance, but now I would like to see them punish SSDS with a smoke bomb. He used his trinket to get a trap. He played aggressive. If he goes in the middle of the map, he's far away right now. They definitely could catch him. They go for the stun, but they don't smoke bomb.
Yeah,
I really thought that could have been an opportunity there.
Right, I'm surprised they're not capitalizing on this. They could force a turtle if they would have gone with Smoke Bomb, but that is a long cooldown. Also, Kara just cleaving into Avenge and SSDS at this point. You know, he's looking for those crowd control moments that he can land on Amni. Step kick. Amni gets Sanctuaried out of it. So Kara's still gonna be tossed into damage, and there you see he has to trinket
Trinket to the
the
Hex.
Yeah, just to stay offensive.
You can't really punish it as the Rep Paladin team. There's no stuns or smoke bombs, obviously, because you're not a rogue. So Kara, I think that was the right move to Trinket to keep the pressure going. Ascraft, in the meantime, caught into a stun, into a bursting shot. Nixie peels away with a cheap shot. Smoke bomb stuns the Trinket. Nice play there from Nixie, holding SSDS down, but now the Exhilaration heals him back up above half. He's still out in the open, and Kara is letting it
they
rip.
snapped off?
Aspect of the turtle has been forced.
There we
Ascraft
go.
is moving in for the killing blow with that crowd control. Fear has been landed. They switch their attention to Avenge. Avenge Trinket's out. I mean, nobody can touch Kara. He's just the untouchable Hunter. Avenge is just trying to chase him down, mounts up onto the pony, chasing him, but he gets Wyvern Stinged. It unfortunately breaks. That was maybe a bit of a miscommunication. Nixie broke that. Now Evangeline is waddling his way over. Asgroth into the full trap, but no damage. They can't touch Kara.
I know, Kara's just doing such a great job kiting, but
wings.
he's taking a bunch of damage. There's the wings, but he's going to
got
get knocked back. Evangeline's still not touching him. Kara
Bursting. Trinket's the bursting, man. Evangeline YOLO
into
Trinkets
the
all the time.
absolute full trap. That does get dispelled. His wings are still up now, not playing Crusade this time around. So he's going to have those random moments where he's going to burst a lot harder.
Full trap. Asgroth Trinkets. It's an overlap, though. Pain Suppression and Trinket in that attempt. That's going to leave an opening. Kara's last line of the defense will be his own aspect of the turtle. A Hex landed, and Turtle's on 2%.
Oh, that was
Barely
so
stays
close.
alive. Close call. Nice Hex from Amni. I would like to see maybe his Hexes go on the Rogues to stop these setups, but that Hex definitely secured the turtle there. Avenge getting Wyvern Stinged, and Kara's been using that Wyvern Sting on Avenge and the off DPS in this entire series to slow down pressure and get away. I like that. He uses Wyvern Sting to create space for himself. It's not really worth the extra 2 seconds on the healer. In the meantime, though, I think ABC are against the wall. They really have nothing left. They're facing a team with Divine Shield, Blessing of Protection. Avenge can protect SSDS if Amni gets CC'd, and Amni can save SSDS if Avenge gets CC'd. So this would definitely be Sneaky Snake's game to throw as they initiate the final assault. Kara is trying to retreat. The untouchable Hunter, will he be touched? Avenge gets trapped. Amni dispels it, and Kara is down to half. Asgroth life grips Kara away. Avenge is just sighing right now. /Sigh wants to get over there, but he's going to attack the Rogue, and I think that's what they need to do more often. Just switch to the Rogue,
Yeah, I don't
attack the
understand
Rogue
why
while
he's
you're
not
walking.
just hitting him. Yeah, I know, and there he has to use eye for an eye right there, you know, having a little bit of damage reduction as Nixie's going to go over and peel. For Kara, looks like they're going to retreat a little bit because Asgroth
These Wyvern
does have the...
Stings.
Yep, the Wyvern
Perfect
Stings are
on the
great.
freedom. He just denies all the mobility of the rat. But Nixie just got crushed. I don't know what just happened to Nixie. I guess SSDS decided to just type /delete. Nixie's so low, a full Hex landed. Nixie's basically got nothing with evasion ticking down. Avenge gets feared away in desperation. Asgroth gets interrupted on the Shadow Man, gets hodged on the Penance. If they can secure a trap here onto Amni, Nixie will surely go down. SSDS moves in. I guess Trap is not available, or he's baiting the Premonition. Nixie is still just so low HP. SSDS goes for the bursting. He Premonitioned that, I believe, but lands the trap anyway, and Kara is low. Everybody is dying, and Sneaky Snakes are looking to close this as Kara goes down. Sneaky Snakes will advance in through the group stage, avoiding elimination.
NA has done it, and we are going to see them celebrate right now. Sneaky Snakes, I mean, you're seeing Logan on that top portion of your screen, SSDS. He was joking behind stage saying that they were going to get 3-0'd, and now they come out, look absolutely insane. Really exciting to see them do it.
We had it the whole time. Solo on the Resto Shaman.
What is this comp?
Top right. This is
China,
kind of
bro.
odd.
This is China, bro.
I mean, it's double Shaman Warlock, and I do
But what
believe...
spec of Warlock? It's hard to tell.
We'll find out in a second. It'll be interesting.
I think it's Destro.
Yeah, I'm leaning
It must
on
be
the side
Destro,
of
long gateway. Oh, they actually interrupted the gateway.
He's trying to go for it again. That Voodoo Totem allowed Alistair to secure the gateway, and yeah, I can imagine that he is destruction.
Yeah.
A full Hexo land on Cole. What is going on with Jykes? Already down below, very low HP. Astral Shift has been traded out, and this is the all-out aggression that Method Synergy have built their name on, and catching Jykes off guard very early on, still just training him down. Needs to get behind a pillar, line of sight those incoming purges. In the meantime, OG Dark trying to get some work done. Hex secured onto Colo. Mez trades out anti-magic shell. Trill commits the touch of karma offensively. They're going all in for the kill. Will he fall or will he stand is the question as he's trying to defy the kill, but it is not enough. Method Synergy and their all-out aggression.
Yeah.
Stomp out China here in round number 1.
I don't think this was a comp we expected out of China.
Oh, no, not at all. But I will say that what was what was really interesting to watch this Destro Warlock play against the 2 melee. We've talked about this cremation spec and being able to AoE just so well. And
You guys know exactly what to look for. We're going to jump straight in here with Method Synergy versus Imagine PvP.
And we can see Imagine PvP trying to go all out towards Colo, but they got peeled away by Mez. Of course, Mez is going to be the one you want on your back, protecting you. In the meantime, Jai getting gripped in. He's trying to freedom away, and Kite, he's playing the double blessing and protection, double sacrifice. He's not going all in, but they're going to run him down, and that's the correct strategy. Paralyzes the Aura Heal. Can Colo jump over and purge it? He's not able to get over in time, but Jai had to bubble anyway. Colo now getting bursted down. Astral Shift is over. Anti-Magic Zone is fading. We see Trill trying to peel him away. The Double Fist of Fury buys Colo time to top off as he guns it out of there. Wants to create as much distance as possible. Now OG Dark getting swapped to dangerously low. Anti-Magic Shell seems to be enough for him to stabilize. Mez now caught into the Fist of Fury as they switch their attention to him, but he gets Voodoo Totem on the Fist. Well done from Colo. Breaks up that stun and damage. Now Colo trying to jump away from the grip, but he got rooted on it. Good play by OG Dark. That's going to hold Colo in place. Now Mez, Trill, and Colo are all stacked up, and they could easily just all fall. Spirit Link, Icebound Fortitude, Death Strikes to heal in the Spirit Link. Nice play by Mez, but they kill the Spirit Link off before they can benefit. Now Colo caught into a stun. Trill tries to reverse it with a stun of his own, but it's not enough. Spear Hand Strike down at 1%. Colo gets out aggroed. Zion, Touch of Karma to secure his life, and Imagine PvP say, no way, Jose NA, we're gonna out aggro you today.
didn't even have to use Blinding Light during that either. That was very impressive.
Oh, that was so many cultures brought into that one call, Super Teams. But really impressive performance coming out here from Imagine PvP, and they showed that they could actually do it in the mirror. Now the question is, do we see Method Synergy take that mirror again? Obviously, some changes did come in as far as healers were concerned, trying to get a little bit more aggressive on the Imagine PvP side of the stage. But what was it about those aggressive plays that really paid dividends, Zico?
Control burst moments, and then go back to splitting. And the mana should be in favor of the Druid, so it's a smart composition pick here for Synergy.
So Trill is playing Ravager too, instead of having that Blade Storm and Anger Management. So this is pretty interesting. I'm interested to see how we use it. I assume when they go to the all-in AoE, is when he's going to drop it, yeah.
Is he actually Ravager?
He is. That is Ravager.
This isn't Mythic Plus Trill. Double leg sweep though onto Mez and Trill. They're trying to go aggressive here with OG Dark popping that Pillar of Frost. Gripping Colo now in for a stun, and Mez dipping low, down below half HP. Haven't managed to get the blur just yet. OG Dark recovering though with some quick heals by Jai. Now Trill very low, dive by the sword, barely activated in time with that paralysis caught onto Colo. They swap over to Mez now. Colo has burned a ton of defensive cooldowns to recover, and this was not how I expected this matchup to play out.
No, not at all. We see the paralysis on to the Paladin just for a second, but a lot of damage onto Mez right now, and that Fist of Fury stun taking a lot of damage. Colo
Jai
needs
moves
to get
in,
away.
lands the full stun, and now Mez definitely needs to consider running away. Blur has been popped to reduce the pressure on himself. They switch over to Colo, and Zion does so much damage. This pressure they're keeping is relentless. Colo just can't escape from it. Barkskin is now faded. His entire team is vulnerable. Will he be able to recover is the question. I'd almost like to see Jai just go all out, get in there, get that Hodge out of the paralysis, and just get a kill. They get the leg sweep instead. Unfortunately, it was DR'd. The first mistake there by Zion, and now he gets storm bolted away. Colo should be able to easily escape. OG Dark getting disarmed, trying to disarm the IBF. Nice play there from Trill, but they don't even need to use it. Trill now gets swapped to. He's low. Blinding light onto Colo, and Trill could fall. Darkness gets popped out by Mez. Trill is hiding in that darkness right now to stay alive. Zion trying to keep up the aggression, though. Trill is dipping lower and lower. They grip him in, trying to harass the heals out from Colo. OG Dark now getting in reverse at 20%. Does the Icebound Fortitude. He's so greedy with the Icebound Fortitude. Holds on to it. Trill has recovered. Method Synergy just need to take a second and breathe. Just calm down, relax, play defensive, and play for the long game, because Jai's mana, look at it, it's already halfway down.
And he's out of Blessing of Sacrifices also, which is really important. That's what kept OG alive right there. And there we go. Now we have the gigantic Icebound Fortitude heals coming out by OG Dark. But the Holy Paladin, again, at half right now. Mez is poking here and there, like making his way over to him when he can. That AMZ is popped to stop a bunch of the damage from Mez, but now we're going to have another Fist of Fury stun. I do like that Zayon and OG Dark are, you know, they're collapsing on a target when they need. Here comes the grip
He
into the
danced
stun.
the leg sweep. Mez blade danced
wow.
and dodged the leg sweep. Now Zion is in trouble. He has no touch of karma. He's caught to the Chaos Nova. Instantly trinkets out. They're going to go all in for the kill on Cold, but Vortex pulls Zion back. They can't reconnect. OG Dark, if he goes around that corner, will surely go down. Colo into the paralysis. They switch over to Mez. Mez has Blur available. Now the Death Knight is in trouble, but he wants to stay aggressive. Who will fall first? Zion is trying to kite away. Ports for the heal, but he ported right in the middle of the map. The heal seems to be enough to keep him going. Imprison on Jai. He trinkets out of that. He wants to keep his team completely topped. He knows they're on the ropes. They need to find a kill soon, and they need to stay aggressive.
Yeah, OG Dark back up to full again, as the only defensive they have left right now is going to be the bubble.
The fear on the grip. Trill just peeled a great setup. Colo got bare form as a result. Mez is flying in the air. Synergy are perfectly fine in this position as Mez rains down fire towards his opponents. OG Dark at half HP. Jai is almost completely tapped on mana. He gets interrupted by Mez. Mez looking for the MVP play to take the game. Will Jai be able to handle the pressure? Gets imprisoned away. OG Dark into 3v2. Zion moves over. They need to kill. They go for the Fist of Fury. That's not enough. Jai moves in for the Blinding Light Hodge play. The last play of the game for Imagine PvP. If they don't find a kill here, I don't think they ever will. Mez is down below half, but he's kiting away. They can't stay on target. They swap back over to Trill, but the stun was DR'd. They get died by the sword nonetheless. Trill could be an opening here if they can keep this momentum. They might have just lost the game though if they can't. OG Dark down below half, and Jai basically has nothing left. OG Dark barely hanging on. Death Strike after Death Strike, and Jai, unless he finds a drink, this game's gonna be over soon.
I understand the Ravager now. They're dropping it on top of the Ursul's Vortex with Battle Cry in there, so it's just the AoE cleave them both down. OG Dark getting kind of low. That Blessing of Sacrifice is used though, able to freeze his life right there since it's the 100% sacrifice. We do have the bubble still available as OG Dark was disarmed right there. 45 seconds till his Icebound Fortitude.
Look at the melee, they're moving in and out to try and avoid a double stun. They're literally dancing next to each other, trying not to stack. Trill has been moving in and out as well. There's the Stormbolt onto Zion. He gets this bopped out of it. Zion's going all in, but get imprisoned on the bop. Nice play from Mez, good reaction. Colo getting trained down, but with Bearform and Barksian should be perfectly fine to tank this out. Good plays from Colo so far, not getting caught off guard. Mez now getting swapped to. He's getting bursted down half. Pops the Metamorphosis to reverse the pressure around. OG Dark trades out anti-magic zone, that shield, his last line of defense. Colo still getting harassed by Zion. If Zion can find an opening, they could get the kill. Colo is out of form, but OG Dark could go down as well. So much pressure, executes after executes, will ultimately claim the kill, and Method Synergy find it.
That was the Ursul's Vortex Ravager again. This is the first
yeah.
time I've seen this, like, actually been used, you know. Never seen it on streams, never seen it in tournaments, but it's really interesting. I like that play.
The question is...
Picks talents-wise that we can tell. We'll get into the match right now.
Yeah, if you're a healer, if you're Colo and Jai right now, you are screaming. This is the most stressful thing as a healer, to be gunned down by a Windwalker and a Death Knight. You can tell they're 40 yards away. These healers are hiding in the corners. They do not want to get swapped to, but Colo's going to get gripped in first as they look to get a stun, but they don't land the stun, and Colo actually was able to jump away. OG Dark's going to chase him down, gets voodooed away. In the meantime now, Jai has been gripped into the middle of the field. He's getting bursted down. It could be a Divine Shield. He gets a double blinding light, but they don't both trinket.
Look at how low.
They got a double trinket. They trade out Divine Shields. He's not going to have that Blinding Light for some time. This is definitely Method Synergy's game to try and win, getting the Divine Shield out of the way if they can get some purges. But Colo walks into a stun. Looks like they're going to go after Trill. It seems like Imagine PvP are kind of all over the place with their targeting. Jai gets gripped back in. He's desperately trying to get away. He needs to get away. He needs the space from Mez and Trill. He's hiding behind the pillars. Trill is gunning him down, paralyzes him for Mez to reconnect. Mez is too far. Trill might go for the solo kill. Colo lands a double voodoo. Zion, OG Dark going to move out of that. And now with Pillar of Frost, a ticking time bomb. 10 seconds it's going to be available. Colo only has Spirit Link. He needs his teammates next to him. The Cinder Ghost gets dropped early. Colo getting pressured. Pillar of Frost, ticking time bomb. 4 seconds is going to be available. Colo rides the wind to get out of there, gusting back behind the pillar just when Pillar of the Frost came back up, and he needs to stay very far away right now or risk a certain death.
No, Method's doing a great job of recovering. They were peeling OG Dark off and Zayon. Yeah,
oh no, he had Wraith Walk still. He Wraith walked back to him. It's going to be a race to the finish. Who can kill which healer first at this point with Pillar of Frost available? Zion just waiting to pull the trigger. I'm surprised they haven't gone just yet. Voodoo Totem onto the Pillar of Frost. Colo trying to stay alive. Earthen Shield Totem has failed. Trill pulls back to peel for Colo. Good awareness from Trill to not go for the race. And now OG Dark is in trouble. He's dangerously low. Icebound Fortitude needs to be potentially traded out here as Jai is caught into a blind. Colo, though, caught into the stun as they pull the trigger, looking for the final kill. Colo caught into that Fist of Fury, trying to jump, gets gripped on the jump. Will he be able to get the support and hang on? Will Jai go down first? It's a race to the finish. Blinding Light onto Mez. Jai trying to kite away behind. He needs to be behind the pillar so he can Blessing Protection without it being purged, and Colo knows that. So Colo goes all in. He gets on top of the Paladin. He's getting ready to purge the Blessing Protection. He knows it's finish now or never. He gets out of line of sight, though, with the Blessing Protection. He needs to stay away from the Shaman. Colo chases him down, purges it off, paralyzes him for Mez to reconnect, Fist of Fury to follow it up, and Jai has nothing left. How is he going to stay alive? It seems like they're trying to peel him away. Great peels from OG Dark.
Yeah, great
and now
peels.
Jai will survive, and now Colo is on the back foot.
He is. That was that all-in play that they needed to go for. Being up 2-1, they're allowed to do that. OG Dark getting low. Icebound Fortitude has already been used. He doesn't have much left. They're going to go offensive. There we go. Storm, Earth, and Fire going up. But the life bars, look at how low Imagine PvP is. They're going in on Colo, though. This is going to be it. They have to go for the cross kill right now.
There's no cooldowns for Avenging Wrath. This should be easy pickup for him with that. Oh, no, it's not!
Okay.
Zion's going to go down. I mean, do you really lose as the Death Knight Holy Power? Do you really lose? He got interrupted and OG Dark is going to go down! Method Synergy pull off the cross kill, and I don't think a Holy Paladin is going to 2v1 a Death Knight and a Windwalker. All he had to do was connect one heal, and OG Dark would have been fine. Jai is going to try and play it out. I mean, Mez might die by accident somehow here to a Holy Paladin.
I don't think Method Synergy are going to make any mistakes. Not here. They are going to be able to close out this series against Imagine PvP. That's 2 NA wins in a row.
And what an ending to that series. That was incredible. We knew that Colo was going all in on the push right before that, on the go right before that, all in. Chased him down, purges constantly.
Absolutely, it really is a big advantage. On the flip side, though, Swapsy did say that this was the hardest matchup in their group. They really thought that Unitas played the LSD so well. So now the onus is on pen and paper. Can they play this Cleave to the extent that Method Triforce were able to? Because we saw some close games. Of course, we did see Shapers able to combine some of those tower kills with the Cleave from the Fell Lord to try and get some of those kills.
Yeah, Rin into the Incapacitated Legacy, already throwing the Iron Bark out onto Shapers, preventing some of this incoming damage. Doe getting a lot of pressure out very early on with that Stormkeeper, but Shapers HP is very stable. Rin in a good position right now. You know, he's playing Relentless, no Trinket. All CC is going to be a little bit less on him. We're going to be waiting to see when PCAC can get that full fear out. Maybe they can get some big burst now that Rin does not have that Iron Bark.
Yeah, and we can see this positioning is actually slightly different to how Method were choosing to play it. Doe sitting on the pillar with Saggy, so he's actually sitting right back with his healer, whereas Swapsy was preferring to sit in the open, get a little bit more, get some more damage out. PCAT as well, getting a fair bit of damage onto Shapers, but not as much pressure as we saw from Method in the early stages of this game. On the flip side, Doe taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, this is not looking as good for Pen and Paper as it did for Method. Full stun over onto Doe right now as he gets down to 5% HP. Life Cocoon coming in very clutch. Stack, though, with the Astral Shift. Pen and Paper playing this potentially a little bit sloppy right now. That is going to be the way of the Crane coming out from Saji as well. Trying to get some pressure for his team. Incapacitated leg sweep over on Rin. That classic CC chain. Shapus getting that Felguard up. Not going to be interrupted. So it seems like you need Unitas Black having a much better time in this match. Rin getting bursted down a little bit, but should be fine with that Frenzied Regen and Barkskin.
Yeah, the playstyle coming out of Pen and Paper is completely different. Do is playing defensively. Saggy is also only using the Way of the Crane to react to situations where he's under pressure rather than using it aggressively, such as Botar. And when they got the pet there down from Shapers, if that was Method, they all go in. They stop the pet coming up, but immediately able to support back, summon it again. And Shapers and Hosido are actually starting to get some really good pressure in this game. We can see if they can get one more swap onto Do, no Astral Shift, no Trinket on Saggy, that could be the kill.
Yeah, Shape is taking a little bit of burst right now. Nice Hex from Doe onto Hosida, but looks like Shape is able to just port away. He's going to be completely fine. Still has that gateway available as well, so he can kite that anytime PCAT can reconnect and get some pressure out, he can always fall back on that mobility to escape. Saji has the Way of the Crane in, but yeah, this team is not able to get out that same sort of consistent pressure that we saw from Method earlier. Unitas also had an opportunity. I mean, they got practice against this composition. It's looking a lot better for them. I think they're playing it out right. Pen and Paper potentially needs to play a little bit more aggressive. I think they have the damage potential and the crowd control to really force Shapus defensively, but they're just not able to get it out. PCAT getting lower and lower. Dive of the Sword traded out as well. Felguard taken down once again, so Shapus still having that same classic problem. He goes down, or his pet does. Rin not able to heal through that spread pressure.
Yeah, and Rin's able to get a fair bit of crowd control over onto Saji, and he's not playing the Relentless talent, which would obviously mitigate a lot of that. The Trinket it's good in some situations where you want to get aggressive, but we haven't really seen that from Pen and Paper so far. We'll have to see if they can utilize it for one of these really aggressive pushes, but looks like the game's just kind of stabilizing both these teams, sitting back for a bit. Shape is taking a little bit of damage. Rin actually getting caught up in the crowd control. He is playing Relentless, of course, so he doesn't have the Trinket for that. Able to get out, uses his artifact, should be able to stabilize Shape.
Yeah, Dow Q is though connecting onto PCAT. He's gotten to the stun. 2% HP. Can he hold on a little bit longer? Saji caught into the crowd control, trying everything he can to keep him alive, but he gets taken down. Unitas Black going to strike first blood, winning game number 1.
Yep, this is Brazil. Unitas Black, of course, the Brazilian duo of Shapus and Rin, joined by Hosido, who has been playing so good in this tournament, able to take game 1. Their position, so this LSD is riding them through. They played in every single game so far to see if it can win in the game. Game 2 on Ash remains.
Yeah, Unitas has practiced so much this year. They really are experts of this composition. PCAT running in, immediately stopping that gateway with the Stormbolt. Heroic leap, nicely done by him. Shape is not going to have that gateway now. Hosido getting hexed up as well. This is a good start for Pen and Paper. They want to get very, very aggressive. This is what I like to see. Shape is getting lower and lower, incapacitating the leg sweep over onto Rind, but they aren't able to knock off the Vim. That's one thing that Method was doing very, very important. They were knocking off the Vim and Vigor from Rind, reducing some of his incoming healing. Unitas striking back right now with a nice little swap over onto Do.
Yeah, and just look at the way they're using their cooldown. Saggy, he's using the Way of the Crane kind of like reactively as opposed to proactively. He's not pushing in on Rin, he's just using it when Do is dropping low, and that means that Unitas Black aren't under so much pressure and they're able to get offensive, which is what we've been seeing be the theme throughout these games. On the flip side, Thunder Cleave still does a lot of damage to Shapers. He needs to be very careful. When he gets caught out in the open, it can be devastating.
Yeah, but Do in a lot of trouble. He's already trinketed, no Astral Shift for another minute. Saji caught into the full bash right now. If he can get a Cyclone out, Rind manages to get that Cyclone, so Do having to kite away right now as he is in trouble. Luckily, he can line of sight, toss some heals on himself. Doesn't look like Shapus or Hosido able to get out any damage right now as they turn their attention over onto PCAT. Saji having to play catch-up right now, but luckily he has that Way of the Crane leg sweep over onto Rind. He's going to be able to tee off on that Resto Druid to heal up his team in this moment, and he stabilizes his team for now.
Yeah, I really like how Rind and Shapus are playing this matchup, though. It reminds me a lot of Looney and Warwick. They're just able to kite behind the pillars. They know when they need to use their portals. Their positioning is on point, and they are playing this game so defensively. Even against Method, they were really struggling to get the kills, and it just gives them time. Hosido, he's in that aggressive positioning. He's getting the hexes on Do. He's really shutting down Pen and Paper, and Unitas just look like a brick wall at this point.
Yep, Stormbolt over onto Rin. Pen and Paper trying to get something going, but PCAT in a lot of trouble. It is going to be the Life Cocoon coming in from Saji that should keep PCAT alive for now as they try to get something going, but he's just having such a difficult time connecting to his target. Nice Vortex there from Rind. Heroic Leap has to be used so we can reconnect over onto Shapus. Shapus using that Axe Toss, and that is the trinket from PCAT, and that's how we saw PCAT die in the last game. He was caught in those stuns, so Shapus as well as Hosido can organize their damage and coordinate when they do get those full stuns on PCAT. That's definitely a huge win condition for them.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's definitely something that's come out from the fact they've already played against Method. They've started to figure out this matchup a little bit more. We've seen Shapers and Hosido focusing slightly more of that damage over onto the warrior PCAT, which has been very good for them so far because it just makes it slightly harder for Saji. He has to push in to get those heals, and with the Way of the Crane that might be logical, but of course that cooldown does run out at some point, and it's just quite a hard matchup for them if they can't get aggressive.
Yeah, Rind actually, despite splicing in with the full bash onto Saji, looking for that Cyclone as well. It gets shut down there by Doe. Nicely done, making sure Rin can't get that crowd control up, keeping him honest there. PCAT taking a lot of bursts right now. Hizito having to kite away as well. PCAT caught into the full fear. Gonna Zerker Rage that to get out. This is nice pressure coming in from Pen and Paper, but it's on a Hizito. This is something we haven't seen in the previous matchup. Before it was all the pressure onto Shapus, but Shapus is doing such a good job kiting in this matchup. Very good positioning, making it very difficult for PCAT and Doe to actually get any pressure out.
Yeah, this is desperation for Pen and Paper. Swapping over to the Elemental, they don't know what to do. They can't get any damage or pressure going on to Unitas. I mean, hitting the Elemental is not going to be a good thing. Warriors are very immobile. He doesn't have the Death Knight with the chains to help him connect to his target. They are going back over onto Shapus now, but he just ports away. I mean, they're just wasting time. They're going to swap it over to Rind. I like this. I think this is much better than trying to hit the Elemental, but again, he has the Buckskin, he has the Gateway. He should just be able to get away.
Yeah, the Vortex Gateway going to be enough to keep Rind alive. Doe trying to continue that pressure as well. Saji, they're all sort of dogpiling over onto Rind right now. Stormbolt over onto Shapus. Axe Toss comes out though, and a lot of burst over onto PCAT. The Earthshock stun gonna follow that up as he gets bursted down lower and lower. Saji caught into the stun. He has to trinket out of that. Dive by the Sword forced out as well. Valkyrie is going to connect, but it's not gonna do too much. Dive by the Sword is gonna be enough to deflect some of that incoming damage, but PCAT in a lot of trouble. He needs to make sure he's not getting over aggressive on Shapus.
Yeah, absolutely, and the PvP trinket was used there by Saji. PCAT also using his Dive by the Sword. They have nothing left for this next swap from Unitas. If they can connect with one more Thalkiels, they will win this counter matchup again and go 2-0 up in the series.
Yeah, Doe, just you can see him on the pillar right now trying to avoid as much damage as possible, but I really feel like he needs to be getting more aggressive if his team wants to secure a kill in this game. Cyclone over onto Saji, stun onto PPCat. Can Shapus get out the damage that he needs? Doesn't look like it. Not able to find that way. The Crane is up for Saji right now, is able to easily top off his team, but now that it's down, Life Cocoon still not available for another 12 seconds. It's going to be very difficult for him to heal up his team. Zito going to be spamming out those purges on all those enveloping mists coming in from that Mistweaver. Zito getting bursted down quite low right now, though, having to use that Astral Shift to keep himself alive. Stormkeeper has been connected. Saji still has that Life Cocoon. You know, he has the Way of the Crane coming up very shortly. That should be enough to keep PCAT alive. Stormbolt onto Rind as they try to counter pressure. Zito in a good position, though, right now. Everyone from Unitas is completely fine.
Yeah, that was almost all the pieces to the puzzle. I think Rind's Cyclone expired just a little bit too early, so they were able to get the Way of the Crane and survive. But that's also another thing about Elemental, right? Like, we talk about the consistent damage of the Thalkiels. Elemental's very proc-based, so if you're not getting the damage, if you don't already have the Stormkeepers loaded, then you might not have enough to actually damage to kill on a CC setup. We can see now they're trying to put a bit more pressure over onto Hizito. He's already used the Astral Shift, gets caught up in the Stormbolt, but a good Thunderstrike once again knocking PCAT away from the target. It's so hard to connect to an Elemental.
I think the big story of this game is just leaving Shapus alone too long. He's able to get out too much pressure. The Axosses are on point, as well as those fears. And now PCAT in a world of trouble right now, trying to connect some pressure on Rin. Valkyries connects onto PCAT. Saji has no healing left. Uses that revival. That's the last little tool he has in his arsenal to keep PCAT alive. He needs to wait for that Way of the Crane. Shapus getting lower and lower, though. Still so safe. Anytime he needs to, he can just port away behind the pillar. Rin's easily able to top him off. You can see his positioning. He's right on top of that port. Saji pushing in, though, with the Incapacitate over onto Rin. Pen and Paper able to stabilize. Dampening is now kicked in. We are at 7% dampening, but I really feel like Pen and Paper, they need to get aggressive. They need to be pushing onto Shapus if they want to have any hope of closing out this game.
And this is another thing, right? Dampening should theoretically, it should support the Thunder Cleave. They've got the MS, but it just doesn't look like that. The CS onto Saji, he was lower on mana. PCAT just falls. And once again, Unitas, how are they doing it? They're winning this counter matchup against the China #1, who everyone thought they were playing so well.
And now Latin America is just one game away from making it into that top 10. And they are doing it with a composition that they have rode out throughout the entire season. They are doing it on their comfort pick. Nothing too...
Those pets, that's where all your pressure generates from. You can actually look at the poll at the bottom of the screen. 64% of people thought Pen and Paper was going to win this matchup. Unitas proving them wrong.
Yeah, and I think that's also bearing in mind that we've had 2 wins for Unitas. Imagine what that poll looked like before. Everything has stacked against this team from Latin America, both the composition, the fans. No one expects them to win these games, and yet they do it. The LSD composition from these guys has just been so well executed, both against Method and Pen and Paper, and if they win this game, they will eliminate the first first team from China.
Joe actually used his Bloodlust there immediately, and Shapus kited all of it. I don't think he got 1 point of damage off there with that Bloodlust, so that's very unfortunate for Pen and Paper. Unitas doing a great job deflecting this initial assault. Doe now caught into the Axe Toss. He is going to trinket out of that. Everyone right now from Pen and Paper rotting down to the Stormkeeper of Josito. So good job by him. Fell Commander has been dropped by Shapus. A lot of pressure over onto Doe right now. Can't get that Astral Shift off. He's just going to go down. No, he's not. Barely surviving there. Astral Shift comes out at 2% HP. That's a full hex over onto Saji as well. Doe needs to be able to dispel that, but it's just not in line of sight. Life Cocoon's still available. Way of the Crane available for Saji. That was such a close call.
Yeah, Saji actually did everything we wanted him to do. He pushed in, he immediately used the Way of the Crane, but they crowd controlled it. They've learned from the series against Method. Josito getting the Hex, getting the Fears. It was not enough damage to force them over the line. Now, Shapus in a bit of trouble. This is where Ruins of Lordron does suffer for the Warlock. He can't really kite away. Rind able to get out of crowd control. He used the Bark Skin, but he's still out of Vim and Vigor range. He needs to top himself off so that he can heal up Shapus, but he's dropping so low. Pummel almost in execute range, but he will recover with Unending Resolve.
Yeah, Unending Resolve going to be preventing a lot of that incoming damage. That was away the Crane from Saji. Now that that has faded, Unitas has an opportunity to strike back. Saji not going to be able to heal quite as easily. Doe taking a little bit of pressure, but it seems like he's just line of sighting. Rind actually pushing in, looking for a full Cyclone. Fakes out the wind shear there. Nicely done. Valkule's consumption over onto Doe. Life Cocoon was traded out by Saji to keep him alive. Nice burst coming in from Unitas.
Yeah, really nicely executed. Once again, Rind, when he gets those free globals, he is one of the best Resto Druids in the world. He gets the Cyclone. Now, caught up into the crowd control. Saji does have that Way of the Crane. Is he going to use it for the Vim and Vigor? It doesn't look like it. He's just porting away. That could have been an opportunity to get a lot of pressure there, but once again, Shape is able to be topped off, and now it's their turn to get offensive. If they can crowd control Saji here, he doesn't have the PvP trinket, they can maybe get a kill over onto Doe.
Honestly, Shapus is playing so phenomenal in this game with his kiting, his ports, his gateway. He needs to be able to survive a little bit longer, though. Fel Lord has been dropped. This is going to be very scary for Doe and PCAT. They can't just be tanking out this Fel Lord damage. Doe getting lower and lower. Astral Shift traded out once again. Full bash over onto Saji. Doe trying to escape, trying to get away. Shears up Rin. Rin now caught into the full fear, but no pressure going to be used. That was completely defensive fear from PCAT. He needed it, though, to keep his teammate alive.
Yeah, and we did get the Astral Shift once again, so there's going to be no defensive cooldowns basically for a good 40 seconds on the side of Pen and Paper. If they can get the crowd control over onto Saji, we'll have to see. Of course, Fel Lord is also quite a long cooldown, so they won't have that for the next onslaught. Preemptive Iron Bark from Rind on the endcap might be enough to save Shapus. He doesn't have any defensive of his own, of course. Ports away, should have that gateway available soon, but another beautiful play from Rind.
Yeah, Shapus just tanking out some of this damage. I don't believe he has his gateway available just yet. He has no distance. Taking a whole bunch of bursts with the sheer over onto Rind. Unbelievable damage coming in from Pen and Paper. They strike back, coming back in this series.
And that's why it's hard for the Warlock in these matchups. You can get bursted down, especially with the Warrior. You've got the Sharpened Blade, you've got the Mortal Strike. Very difficult, and yeah, Pen and Paper on point in that game.
Not going to be giving this one up that easy. They are fighting for the
Unitas.
Yeah, so in terms of matchup, I think Thunder is a fine choice here. Of course, it's on the biggest map in the pool, Blades Edge Arena, so that range damage is going to help them. We've talked already about how good Elementals are at kiting away. The concerns we have are losing Shapus, who's one of the most experienced members on this team. Are they going to have that offensive shot calling? It's really up to Aiden on the Warrior, the new addition to the team, to step up, synergize with Josito. Of course, both these guys did come from the same team, so they should have some inbuilt synergy.
Ooh, I love this positioning from Josito, just pulling them into the corner of the map, but that's the incapacitated leg sweep over onto Rin. Aiden getting bursted down, might have to use the time by the sword, gets it off at 1% HP, rallying cry as well. So a lot of initial pressure over onto Aiden. That's a full fear over onto Rind. He's already used the Iron Bark, so many defensive cooldowns forced out very early.
Imagine the nerves and stress on Aiden right now as well. This is his first time on the BlizzCon stage, and 30 seconds into the game, there's no defensive cooldowns left on Unitas. Huge concern for them and their fans. We'll have to see if they can get some aggressive pressure. They haven't really forced anything on Saji. He's not playing the Way of the Crane, so he's just able to sit behind a pillar, tunnel that Soothing Mist, and if they can't get the pressure to go through that, they're just going to lose this game.
Yeah, Josito doing a good job with his position, making sure Saji has to pull off the pillar. That's a full bash onto Saji, gets trinketed out, but Doe getting lower and lower. Caught to the Stormbolt, no actual shift available. Unitas Black gonna close it out. Aiden strikes back.
And we will see Latin America in Anaheim looking incredible here, and it seems to be the sign of a disciplined team, Sidu. They are going to be a threat when we descend upon Anaheim.
Yeah, I actually wonder if this is going to be the best choice into Imagine PvP's composition. I wonder because The thing is about Warrior Mage, it's very good at putting healers behind. You've got the Mortal Strike for the healing reduction, you've got the Arcane Mage who obviously provides a ton of damage and also provides a good amount of pressure with the threat of the counterspell, the threat of the polymorphs. But Restoration Shamans, firstly, they don't have to worry so much about interrupts, as we do see the beautiful Ring of Frost out of stealth. That's a very good combination from Alec, but also there's not too much like stacking on this side. We've got the Warlock, so he's not going to have to play near Xeon, and that's going to make the Arcane do significantly less damage.
Yeah, Xeon committing that touch of death already onto Alec. Really not too much damage coming on very early onto Alec. Ironbark is going to diffuse a lot of that initial damage. Alastair looking to get in a position where he can actually get some CC onto Asgrath. Alec taking a lot of pressure, going to be popping that Arcane Power, trying to do some damage over onto Alastair, who does pop that Unending Resolve. That should be enough to deflect his damage. He ports away as well. Not the best start for ABC.
Yeah, I think this is really difficult for Alec. He's going to be tested. He's already had to use his PvP trinket. Now, normally for a mage, we don't really talk about that, but as Arcane, it's very significant. If you get caught up in the stuns against a Windwalker, you only have the one Ice Block, and then you're basically dead. So we'll have to see if Ascraft can heal Alec through this. They're not really getting too much pressure. Another bit of crowd control over onto G. Can they get the pressure on Alistar, though? It doesn't look like it just yet. Ascraft not even pushing in for the Cyclones.
Yeah, he's going to gate away from Jai. Jai caught into that Polymorph right now. Ports on top of him once again. Alastair in a good position. Maybe getting that full fear onto Ascraft. He displaces away, though. Very well done. Alec in the middle of the map, making sure Ascraft doesn't have to overextend. It's going to be a full stun, but really not too much damage connecting. Once again, it was a DR stun onto Alec, full onto Nixie. Maybe just trying to slow down some of this incoming damage from ABC, but maybe a little bit of a misplay there from Xeon as well. Not able to accomplish too much with that leg sweep. As Mana's doing very, very well. Asgaroth tied right now, so no team has a mana advantage at this point in the game.
Yeah, notice also that Alec is playing human. That means he has more stun breaks for the Windwalker. That's actually very significant in this matchup. And also the fact that he's playing with the Restoration Druid means that every single time they counterspell the Arcane School, which is very important against the Arcane Mage, the Resto Druid is able to punish Xeon with those Cyclones. So that's well drafted by ABC, good synergy from them. The other thing they've definitely got going for them is Nixie. He's doing a great job of denying a lot of the damage from Alistar. Very annoying as a Destruction Warlock to be tunneled by a Warrior.
Yeah, this is weird. Alec's having a very difficult time actually connecting any sort of significant damage. Xeon's keeping him honest in the middle of the map. Mark Ballooneth's going to be cast out. Alastair going to be using that Unending Resolve to slow down some of this damage. Down to around 40% HP. Getting bursted down huge. Vortex actually on that portal. Well done by Asgaroth, but Alastair looks to be completely fine. Jai just playing max range right now, just spamming out the heals over and over. His team is in no danger of dying right now. Incapacitate on that Ironbark from Asgaroth. Looks like they're trying to make a swap over on Asgaroth. Actually getting his trinket there. I don't know if Asgaroth was in much trouble, but maybe just didn't want to fall behind. So that could be an opportunity for him at the PvP coming up.
Yeah, Alec dropping very, very low. He does have the Temporal Shield, but if Xeon can connect, they will get the kill here. This is going to be, or they will get the Ice Block, sorry, the CS over onto Ascraft. Not quite enough. Alec, I actually don't know how he was able to hold on to that, just blinking the sheer mobility from that Arcane Mage. We see now offensive trinket from Xeon, trying to get the pressure here onto Alec. Can they get the Ice Block? Yes, they do. That is huge for this team. He only has one of those, and it's on a 5-minute cooldown.
Yeah, it's very long cooldown for an Arcane Mage. Now Alex just looking like he's going to have to play very defensively. This is not what you want, though. As a mage, you don't want to be running back to your Resto Druid, and it's going to be very easy for Xeon to get out, maybe potentially double stuns, as well as those incapacitates onto Asgaroth. Really think Alex needs to reconsider his positioning, pull a little bit further away from Asgaroth, but maybe just wanting to slow down some of this damage, making a swap over onto Xeon, but Xeon realizing the situation, he rolls away, drops a very safe port. He's going to be completely fine.
Yeah, the decision making for Nixie is actually quite interesting, because if Alistar's playing that far back, it's really hard for Alec to get any pressure onto him, so he feels like he's doing nothing. But he can't chase Xeon, he's too immobile, and if he stacks up, they're just going to get double stunned with Alec, which would be hugely, I mean, that would just be horrible for ABC, so they need to avoid that, of course. But look at Alec, he's just unable to do anything. There's so many interrupts, so many stuns, he just can't get the pressure out, and G was able to drink to full mana. Ascraft's trying for a drink right now. If he's able to get that, that will be huge, but even so, Alistar's just looking fine.
Yeah, I actually like what Alec is doing. I think ABC's win condition is just stall until dampening. Asgaroth just got full mana. Just play very safe. Do not push in. As soon as Alec is pushing in, he's trying to get, you know, any sort of crowd control on Jai. I really think they're losing. Just let the game play itself. You know, Nixie on that Warrior is going to be doing a significant amount of damage onto that Warlock as he gets lower and lower. But it's going to be the Unending Resolve. He ports away once again to safety. This is what they need to do. Just play middle map. Just hit whatever they can. Don't get overly aggressive. I really feel like if the game goes on long enough, ABC has a big advantage.
And one of the things that we saw there is Alistar, when he's using the counter spells over onto Asgraf, if Alec holds onto that arcane power and there's no counter spell, he will absolutely obliterate that Warlock with the triple procs from the arcane missiles if he can build that up. We see now they're swapping over a little bit to Nixie. Actually, Asgraf getting caught up in that Hex there. I'm not sure how he was able to get out of that one. Maybe it was the Hex Totem, so that does make a little bit more sense. But Nixie, he's been kind of like the silent majority in this game. He's been keeping Alistar honest so much, and it's just, they've been basically seen no Chaos Balls from this Destro Warlock.
He's on Trinketing out there, so that might be an opportunity. Nixie getting a little bit lower, Asgroth having to turn his attention over onto there. Alec getting a full polymorph onto Xeon. That's going to give ABC an opportunity to stabilize, and now Alaster in the middle of the map getting teed off on once again. And as the game goes on, I mean, we're at 3% dampening. This can only last so long. Nixie on that Warrior is going to shred through this Warlock. You know, Alec and Asgaroth with the Cyclone, with the Polymorph, going to be able to control Xeon quite a bit. Whereas Alaster, you know, Jai, they're not going to have that same sort of control onto Nixie, so it's going to get difficult as this game goes on.
Yeah, and then you can see ABC building confidence. Ooh. They want to get aggressive here. Alistar having to trade out the Unending Result, and G is dropping mana fast and furious. We see the Ascendance coming out from him as well. He needs to get that big healing, but a lot forced by ABC, and they're getting aggressive. ABC pushing into their pillar, and stacking is a disaster for Imagine PvP. That will allow all of that arcane spread damage. The more people he hits with his barrage, the more damage it does. Xeon behind the pillar is not a good sign for Imagine PvP.
Not at all, Xeon. They need the pressure onto Alec, but Alec and Asgaroth, I mean, with this positioning, it's very difficult. Xeon, his only target is really Nixie. Actually, throwing a leg sweep onto Nixie could be a bit of a mistake as well. I don't see much pressure generated with that. It's a 45-second cooldown. Might have been much better used onto Asgaroth or Alec to sort of generate some pressure, but Nixie's just going to be in defensive stance, just trying to survive as long as possible. I think G actually went down for another drink, so in terms of mana, he's doing very well. Alec maybe making a mistake, pushing in right now. Actually gets the full ring. Now Alaster could be in a little bit of trouble, but he does have that Unending Resolve coming up very, very shortly. This is the Arcane Power. Alec looking to get very aggressive, connecting the Arcane Missiles over and over. But you can see the positioning from G. He's behind the pillar, spamming out the healing waves, and Imagine PvP stabilizes.
And Alec is just the strategist, right? We talk about how smart he is, how experienced. He has been sticking to his strategy this entire game. He's been sitting back, he's used every single counter spell on Alistar, not even tempted to CS a heal on G. And he's also been using the abilities he has very, very well. The Ring of Peace, you wonder why is he walking into that Ring of Peace? It's because he's using the mass invisibility to make it stealth so you can't see it as G. And then he pushes in, gets that. On the flip side though, Ice Block is up, but they definitely don't want to use this as dampening starts to come in. The CS over onto Asgraf, he does have his Iron Bark and his Artifact up, should be enough to stabilize Alec.
Yeah, this is the problem. Anytime Xeon chases, he's caught into a Polymorph, then into a Cyclone. He cannot control his character, whereas Nixie, he's not going to get caught into these full fears. He can Berserker Rage them, putting a lot of pressure onto Alaster. Xeon still having good damage right now. It seems like Imagine PvP has a little bit more pressure on their side, but Alex just in full retreat, trying to pressure down Xeon a little bit, and as dampening gets higher and higher, it's going to be difficult for Xeon to sort of stabilize his own HP. G might have to actually come off the pillar. Touch of Death has been committed. A little bit of burst over onto Alec right now, incapacitate over onto Asgaroth. Alec trinketing out of that leg sweep, going to be using that Mass Invis as well to put himself invisible, as well as Asgaroth. Mark of Illumith going to be used. Alaster pulled out into the middle of the map though. This is an opportunity for ABC to get super aggressive. He's not anywhere near his portal, but he is right beside his gateway. He's going to be gating out of there, making sure he's not in any sort of danger.
Yeah, and G read that perfectly. He was able to get down the Earthen Shield Totem and the Healing Tide. So well played by him. They're going to swap it over to Xeon, but they're just going to force the Touch of Karma. Unlikely they're going to opt for him as a kill target. We can see Cyclones maybe coming out. So once again, counterspell onto Asgraf. Now Alec will go for the Polymorphs. We see Xeon once again in crowd control, and as soon as the counterspell comes out from the Warlock, Cyclones on Xeon. This is such execution from ABC, looking very good in this game. I'd like to see Nixie use this opportunity to push in on Alistar low, keep up the pressure. They're stacked up right now. They can get the Resonance stacks from the Arcane Mage and get some real pressure here.
Yeah, Xeon pushing in again, using the Storm, Earth, and Fire. Full Stormbolt though. Nixie looking to slow down some of that damage as they turn their attention onto Xeon. Xeon doesn't want to be targeted down, so puts Nixie into that stun. You know, Chaos Bolt's now flying in from Alaster. I don't think Nixie can afford to be off him for that long. He needs to make sure he keeps this Destro Warlock in check. If he's just spamming out the Chaos Bolts, it's going to be very difficult for Asgaroth to heal through this. We are at 25% dampening. Alex pushing in, getting the full Ring of Frost. Mark of Alunith. Missiles coming out as well. Nice interrupt coming in from Xeon. That kick on those Arcane Missiles is going to slow down Alex damage by a significant amount. Alaster porting back to G at this point in the game. G able to just spam out those heals once again. Nixie having a very difficult time connecting to his target. And Imagine PvP is getting getting some significant rot out right now.
Yeah, G actually got sat down for another drink, and that was the first time we've seen the counter spell over onto him. Let's see what ABC can do with it. They also have the fear. Stormbot over onto Alistar. They force the unending resolve. Is it going to be worth it though? They're going to try punish this. No counter spell available for Alec. Can they get significant damage over onto Alistar? The Hex Totem, I really like that coming out of G. He uses it to zone Nixie so his Warlock can precast, but there wasn't the damage available. They did get the trinket from Ascraft though.
Yeah, Xion coming back, putting a little pressure out onto Nixie. This could be the die by the sword. No Iron Bark going to be available. Opting to use that die by the sword. They want to get really aggressive with the interrupt over onto G. Elaster in a lot of trouble right now. No unending resolve going to be available. Huge damage coming in from Alex. This is the arcane power. Elaster has to be very, very careful. He's in big trouble. Nixie getting lower and lower though. They can make a swap over onto him. Touch of Karma has been committed. Nixie getting lower and lower. Got into the stun. He has to trinket out. He needs to get away. Iron Bark used by Asgrath, but he's caught into the full incapacitate. Nixie trying to slow down some of this Destro Warlock damage. Caught it into this full Storm Bolt, but he's getting lower and lower. Asgrath finally able to connect some huge heals, and now Elaster can be in a lot of trouble as he ports away. G able to just spam out those heals. Very close call for both teams.
Yeah, really close call, but the Iron Bark and the defensive stance. This is why in dampening, ABC has the advantage. They have those passive damage reductions, and imagine PvP are struggling so much. We even see random astral shifts from G. He wants to mitigate as much damage as possible, but you get the feeling the longer this goes on, the higher the chance for ABC to win it. We see the Temporal Shield not going to do too much for Malik at this stage in the game. They do definitely have the damage to turn this around. If they can get the Ice Block and then just keep pressuring Alec, they will win this. The trouble comes when Xion is caught up in crowd control such as this, and they just 3v1 Alistar.
Yeah, Alistar getting lower and lower. Cyclone over onto Xion. Can he land the full Ring of Frost? It doesn't look like it. Something really nice for Alec in this game is he has that Fell Hunter, but that's a full fear over onto G. Alistar going to port into the middle of the map as he gets lower and lower. Alex able to connect the damage. Unending resolve. He needs to be able to tank through some of it. Asgrath pushes in for the full bash, almost into execute range. G gets locked out. This is so hopeless for Imagine PvP, but they somehow managed to hold on just a little bit longer. Arcane power, pot the full Cyclone. Ooh. That might have been the killing blow coming in from Alec. Might have been a misplay there, but if they can get any CC out onto G, looks like they're going to stabilize. That could have just been easily the game with that arcane power coming in from Alec, but now Elaster's going to be completely fine.
Alec must have been screaming. 41% dampening. All his offensives popped in the Cyclone from Asgraf. Unlucky, I guess. They really have to hope that's not going to punish them, because now Imagine PvP have stabilized. Mana is an issue as well for ABC. They have the Ice Block, but the counterspell means Alec isn't peeling for himself. Now another counterspell over onto Asgraf. This should be the Ice Block potentially, but Alistar has to kite away the Mark of Eluna of the counter pressure. He's not got the defensive cooldowns, the unending resolve. We see Nixie now taking a lot of damage. This is really anyone's game at this point. The beautiful full sheet behind the pillar though. Xion will be caught up. Can Asgraf recover though? He has no mana left.
I don't think he's going to be able to recover. Almost 50% dampening. Xion still has that touch of karma. He's going to be able to play super aggressive. Unending resolve used as well. Incinerate spam coming in from Elaster. Alex uses that temporal shield, gets a little bit of healing from that. Trying to kite away. The Bloodhouse Silence comes in from Xion. That's going to be the Ice Block. Asgrath has no chance of ever drinking. Innervate comes out trying to get out that wild growth. Alex just not going to get topped off though. Xion looking for some more pressure over on Alex. He's looking to close out this game. Imagine PvP smells blood. They want to go in and finish off Alex here. Asgrath still has that Iron Bark available. He needs to make sure he uses it. Elaster getting lower and lower. Caught in the middle of the map. He's going to port away, but Nixie charges in, gets the full fear. That he also trinkets out there. So if Xion can land any sort of stun, maybe they can get enough healing. You can see Elaster just kiting behind the pillar, but ABC pushes in. Elaster gets taken down. Such a close call earlier on, but finally ABC is able to close it out.
And Nixie came out clutch at the end there. He was being kited, yes, but he got the off kick on the
so
Ascendance. Spirit Walker's Grace healing tide. If that had not happened, they would have got the recovery. That was so many healing coins. They're going to play it out, of course. Xion does still have some of his offensive cooldowns. We're at 52% dampening. I don't know if we've seen that yet this tournament. So high, but execution from ABC. Aside from that one moment, that was so scary when they cycle in the arcane power. Yeah. Overall, though, good game.
Yeah, of course they are going to play this one out. We already seen some pretty crazy cross kills go down today, but while they are doing that, Sidu, we see these compositions. What exactly is the path of victory for each of these teams for anyone who might not be familiar with what ABC and Imagine PvP are trying to do? So yeah, I actually like these compositions we don't get to see that often, and as the game does play out here, we are finally going to see that kill come in. And now, Sidu, I do want to hear what you think, how these comps actually play out.
Yeah, they're not very conventional comps.
One of the fantastic things about watching these tournaments, imagine PvP, imagining up some crazy stuff, and ABC, Alec the Mastermind, with another brand new, unique composition that's 1-0 up in this series.
We'll have to see how ABC decides to play this one. I think if they try to stall, I don't think they're favored. I think the damage coming in from that Elemental Shaman is going to be much more significant than that Windwalker Monk. We'll have to see, though, Alec pushing in, trying to land that Ring of Frost. Doesn't manage to get it onto G, but, you know, Lasser gets into that. You know, OG Dark going to be taking a little bit of damage early on by that Mark of Luna. G throwing the Earth Shield onto him to slow him down. Full Fear's coming out. Lasser taking a little bit of burst right now. You know, ABC kind of all over the place, but the swap over onto G is going to force the Trinket Link immediately.
Yeah, and one of the other things about stacking on the Restoration Shaman is you are getting the benefit of that resonance. We see the Arcane Power, Alec doing a lot of damage right now. The whole team rotting. Now Fear onto G. They're swapping it up over onto Dark Archon, China's MVP. Can he get out of this situation? Looks like he should be able to, even holding onto the Astral Shift. Bold play by him.
Yeah, Alec trying to pump some more damage onto OG Dark, but now he has to kite away. Asgrath has to stabilize his HP. You know, ABC used a lot of offensive cooldowns there. They got a lot of pressure. They're able to get some defensives, and once again, Lasser having to use that Unending Resolve. He's caught into the Stormbolt, almost into the Execute range. He's going to be very tanky with Earthshield and Unending Resolve, but still taking so much pressure. Might have to port back. At this point in the game, OG Dark getting caught into the Polymorph. Alec trying to slow down some of this damage, but it gets interrupted now. Nixie under fire. Wind Shear onto Asgrath. Interrupts all over the place coming in from Imagine PvP. Full bash onto OG Dark. Nice Hex Totem coming in onto Nixie, slowing him down. OG Dark able to kite away, you know, get out that damage. Nixie now afraid to sort of leave this pillar. ABC in full retreat.
Yeah, and what was the bane of Mage Druid back in the day? It was always those interrupts. Why? Because the Lock Shaman has so many. Nixie dropping terribly though there. We've seen the Trinket forced by Asgrath. That was the Ironbark as well. They basically have nothing left. And one of the great things about these wizards is they don't have to target the Arcane Mage. We talk about how slippery they are. They really cannot die in most matchups, but here they have 3 targets. If they can hit Asgrath, they'll hit him. If they can hit Nixie, they'll hit him. They can kill through, die by the sword, but Alec is the pinpoint right now, getting caught in the middle of the map. He doesn't want to get locked on Arcane here.
Imagine PvP is doing so well, and they're pushing the pressure, now charging in. Lasser could be in a little trouble, though. That is the mark of Aluneth. Alec does have Arcane Power up if he needs to. Unending Resolve was used, so this is an opportunity for ABC. Alec still has the Arcane Power. Lasser has no wall. If he can build up enough damage, bait out some of those interrupts, he can definitely get out those missiles, get a lot of burst onto this Warlock, but still ABC once again having to run away. I just don't know how long they can sustain this Restoration Druid. Going to have a very difficult time healing through this Destruction Warlock and this Elemental Shaman. So far, ABC able to live, but Imagine PvP, they are chasing them down relentlessly.
Yeah, and the difference is when they had Zerion on the Windwalker Monk, obviously he was chasing Alec, but he wasn't really doing much to Nixie. Now, Nixie has to worry about the Elemental Shaman. We see the double fear now over onto him. Can they connect the Ring of Frost? Yes, they can. That's going to be the PvP trinket from G, but he does have the Earth and Shield Totem up right now, so he should be able to stabilize Alistar. On the flip side, you can see Nixie dropping lower and lower. If they can keep up this pressure, if they can get some of the purges in even, G has a great mana lead. They can easily take this game.
Yeah, Alec actually doing a good job. He's playing Burning Determination, so if he gets interrupted, all other interrupts are going to be shorter on him for 8 seconds. So if he's just getting chain interrupted over and over, it's actually not too big of a deal for him. So I think that was an excellent talent choice. Lasser caught into the Stormbolt, or sorry, OG Dark caught into the Stormbolt, a little pressure over onto him right now. Asgrath actually sitting down for a drink, just in the middle of nowhere, managed to get a little bit mana back at this point in the game. Nixie taking a little bit of pressure into D-stance, sort of tanking some of this wizard damage coming in from Imagine PvP. Alec getting bursted down very low, has to blink away. Unfortunately, with that Burning Determination, he does not have Prismatic Cloak, so that's going to be very dangerous. You don't have that same sort of defense when you do blink away, so Alec is definitely going to be a good target.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we saw last game is that ABC were able to utilize a lot of that crowd control, right? The polymorphs, the cyclones. We haven't really seen that in this game because Asgrath's constantly having to deal with some level of pressure from Imagine PvP, which means he's scared of getting interrupted by Alistar low. Of course, Destruction Warlocks, they have the potential even for the double CS. There's a lot of interrupts on this team he has to work through, and he just doesn't have the time in many of these situations. That means there's a lot more pressure on Imagine PvP. That means even if this game does go into dampening, which it very likely will do, they're going to have the opportunities to win.
Yeah, you see that Fell Hunter that, you know, Lasser has charged in on Alec and Asgaroth. I think that might actually be a mistake. He gives Alec basically a free battery to spam out those arcane explosions, get missiles. Maybe if he played you know, a little bit more passive with that pet, although it might not slow down some of the drinks coming in from Asgaroth, it would also slow down a lot of the damage that Alex can potentially generate at this point in the game. Temporal Shield's going to be used. Arcane Power still available for Alex, so they do have a big go at some point in this game, but this turned into sort of a stalemate where no team really wants to push in. Nixie getting low, though. He gets knocked very far away from Asgrath, forcing him to push in. Double Mortal Coil is going to be thrown out onto Alec as well as Nixie. A little bit of damage coming in. Alec looking for that Ring of Frost, but he actually misses it. Lands a full Polymorph, though. Very nicely done. Caught into that Earthshock stun. Not really able to generate too much pressure. Alastor getting a little bit lower. No follow-up CC. He actually runs into the ring, so he gets Polymorphed into that Ring of Frost. Arcane Power is going to be popped. Full Fear out of that. G is going to trinket into a triple DR Polymorph, but no more crowd control available for ABC. Alastor should be able to survive, but he gets pummeled. He's caught into the middle of the map, spamming out Fears onto Asgaroth. Imagine PvP having a very difficult time right now generating pressure for themselves.
Yeah, and one of the things that Asgrath benefited from that stalemate we saw just a short while ago is he was able to drink up to 4 mana, whereas G has been under pressure this entire game. He's down to about 30%. As we get into Damping, that's going to be very significant. Another thing I do want to touch on, of course, is that Asgrath is running the Nourish build of the Restoration Druid. You can see those fast healing touches. There's potential for that to be very efficient going into Damping. It's a lot of healing. There's also outplay potential. If Imagine PvP can lock that down, get the counter spells over onto him, they can blow up Alec or Nixie in very quick time. So a risky pick by Asgrath, but I like it.
Yeah, Alastor getting lower and lower. Polymorph onto OG Dark, trying to slow down some of that incoming damage. Alex doing a good job with that CC. You can see G's mana is not looking good. Asgrath getting that clutch drink. That's going to be Iron Bark as well as the Dive of the Sword tossed out onto Nixie as he was taking a significant amount of burst at that point of the game. But Asgrath able to stabilize his team's HP. You can see Alastor, he's kiting down on the floor. Nixie trying to reconnect. Earthen Shield Totem was dropped there by G, so that's not going to be available. ABC slowly working through some of these defensives. Nixie having to run away, though. He doesn't want to get too far from Asgaroth. Asgaroth needs to be able to actually toss out some heals onto him. The Mortal Coil is going to be tossed out onto Asgaroth as well as Nixie. Now Nixie's running behind the pillar. Alec trying to build some pressure for his team, but they're split up. This is not a good position for ABC to be in right now, but nice displacement coming in from Alec, using the Arcane Mage mobility, getting across the map very easily.
And displacement is just so powerful, especially on a small map like this. You blink one side, but then you can displace all the way back, no matter how far you've moved. If that can't be purchased, it's going to be so powerful. I think one of the other things to look at, as Alec does pop his Arcane Power here, this is the offensive cooldowns. It's only going to force the Astral Shift from OG Dark, but this game is looking better and better for ABC, much like game 1. If they can just get one more crowd control into G, that could easily be it.
Absolutely. Alastor is going to be summoning out that Fell Hunter once again. Arcane Power is really not getting too much done from Alec. Couple of these situations, maybe you could try to save it, for after Astral Shift, for after that Unending Resolve, but maybe it's just too difficult for him to actually generate that pressure without it. OG Dark in a little bit of trouble right now. You can see he has no defensives left. G actually trinketing there out of a Stormbolt immediately. He doesn't want to fall far behind, I guess, but his mana is not looking good. Imagine PvP, they have no defensive cooldowns left besides that Spirit Link, and now he's caught into that full Polymorph. OG Dark needs to be able to kite away. He's running on top of that Gateway. Earthen Shield Totem was dropped preemptively by G, so really good job by him. Nixie getting low, though. The full Hex onto Asgrath. He trinkets, throws out the Iron Bark onto Nixie. Nixie needs to be able to tank through some of this damage. Imagine PvP has completely stabilized at this point of the game. Alec getting lower. This is not looking good for ABC. Temporal Shield was tossed out, absorbing a lot of damage. Alec should be able to keep himself up with that. Deciding to displace back into the action. They want to keep this pressure rolling. Last year used that Unending Resolve to actually get out some cast there, so using that a little bit offensive. Now that's not going to be available for him. If they can get any crowd control onto G, Last year could be in big trouble.
Yeah, Alistar really was the MVP in that last exchange, getting the double Infernal stun to deny both the Cyclone and the follow-up Polymorph from Alex. So well played by him, making up for G's mistake of trinketing earlier. Now we can see as Damping starting to stack, G's even going for a couple of purges. He wants to get the pressure over onto Nixie. They recognize that this game is not looking that good for them. G has no mana. He's trying for the drink on the other side of the map right now. Let's see if he can get it. Can they keep Alec away? He's going to push in and try to do it, but we see just the slows coming out. They actually push in for that drink. He should be able to use his mobility as an Arcane Mage to get back if he needs to, but he's content sitting on the enemy pillar. We see Alistar without the Unending Resolve. He could be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Alastor down to 50% HP right now. We see what Warriors do to Warlocks later on in the game. That's a full Fear pummel on Alastor. You can't really do too much at this point. Alec doing a great job with that full Polymorph as well, interrupting OG Dark. No cross heal's going to be coming out. Alastor all by himself. Nice Cyclone coming in. If Asgaroth can get that Cyclone onto G, could be the game, but he's not able to. He gets caught into the Fear. Good job by Alastor, even though he's dying, getting out those Fears to keep himself alive.
Yeah, tournament lives are on the line here, guys. If Imagine PvP lose this, they're going to be one game away from elimination from BlizzCon 2017. They're feeling the heat as they do swap the pressure over onto Alec. He's just able to displace behind the pillar once again using that arcane mobility. Asgraf now, he's completely dry. Is he going to go for another drink, or is he going to try keep Nixie offensive? These are the kinds of calls you need to make in these high pressure situations, because of course G is going for another drink. Nixie has to blink in, trying to get offensive, but on the flip side, another counter spell onto Asgraf. Alec really struggling to get away. I think this might be the ice block from him. Blinks behind the pillar, maybe he's going to be able to get out.
Asgroth completely tapped on mana, looking for a drink. They need to slow down that drink. If Asgroth is able to drink here, he's actually able to get some. Nixie trading out to die by the sword. This is huge for ABC. G completely tapped, trying to get out of combat. You can see him here desperately looking for that drink, but Alex has no way. Managed to stop that immediately. Alec has that arcane power available, so ABC has potentially huge offensive pressure available to them. Asgroth sitting down for a drink once again. This is such a hopeless situation for Imagine PvP. They need to make something happen, but Alec is just doing such a great job making sure they cannot get mana. Asgroth almost completely full on mana at this point. If ABC does not win this game, it would be a throwaway.
Yeah, and this is the thing about Restoration Druids. Not only is their mana good just from how they use their spells, they are so good at resetting. They can Shadow Meld, they can go for those drinks, and G does not have that luxury. He's dealing with an Arcane Mage who can blink across the entirety of the map and stop those drinks, and this is starting to look like much the same as Game 1 for ABC. If they can just now connect onto Alistar, G will not be able to keep up. Asgraf has the mana to keep Alec offensive. They just need to push in for the kill now.
G actually got one tick of mana there. Alistar doing a really good job with the Death Coil as well as that Fear over onto Alec, but Alex still shutting it down. That's a full Fear out onto G, but Alex is getting lower and lower. Does not want to go down without ice blocking, casting out that Ring of Frost. Very dangerous. If he had gotten interrupted there, he could have just gone down without being able to use that defensive cooldown as he gets lower and lower. Asgroth having to expend a lot of mana to actually top him off at this point in the game. Blaster has no unending resolve, no defensive cooldowns available for Imagine PvP whatsoever. That's a full Stormbolt as well. Alistair needs to potentially kite away, but Nixie taking a lot of pressure as well. Asgroth having a very difficult time dealing with this damage coming in from Imagine PvP. Nixie has no defensive. Asgroth has not used his Iron Bark, needs to toss that out, being very, very greedy. Finally, it's used, but he gets locked out. He's not able to capitalize on that additional healing. Laster using his unending resolve. They want to close out the game right now. Full Fear onto Asgaroth. Laster getting low as well. Could potentially be a cross kill. Polymorph out onto G, but it does break. Nixie getting lower and lower. Laster, though, taken down in the Stormbolt. Can they take down Nixie? Huge heal coming in from Asgaroth, and that is it. ABC going up in this series 2-0.
What a game coming out of ABC. It looked like everything was going on. A very efficient Stormkeeper from Dark almost was enough to kill both the players, Nixie and Alec, but they pull it off. There's so much stress on this team.
That really was such an incredible game. And before we even jump,
we'll have to see if Imagine PvP can get those drinks for G or really shut down the drinks from Asgaroth, because I think that's a huge winning a big part of the way they'll win this game.
And I think one of the other big parts is we looked at the player card, the statistics there on Alec. He's only played 7 games throughout the regionals and BlizzCon so far for ABC, but they have been crucial games. 3 of them were against Rocket Eclipse to put them through to the final against Method, of course, in the European regionals. And now he's brought out the Arcane Mage once again, and he's looking very strong on it. He only has 1 loss on Arcane throughout the entirety of all of those, so really showing that mechanical skill in the class.
Yeah, Laster looks to be the target of choice very early on. Also trying to get out those Chaos Bolts, but Alex says no way, able to actually interrupt that with Counterspell. Stun over onto Alec as well, but he gets dispelled out of that by Asgaroth. Kind of a stalemate early on, some damage going out onto Nixie. That is the Earthen Shield Totem used as well by OG Dark. Alec using that Arcane Power very early on, looking to get aggressive. Stormkeeper is going to be used by OG Dark as they do try to pressure down Asgaroth a little bit in this game. Maybe that's something Imagine PvP wants to do. They want to get more pressure out onto this Restoration Druid. If he is playing the Vim, it's going to be more difficult for him to heal up Alec as well as Nixie.
And I think one of the things that's changed here is that Alistar Low is now going for the Soul Harvest, which means he's probably playing the Chaos Bolt build as opposed to the kind of Conflagration fire damage build. That is a huge change from him. He's basically saying, now that we've got more casters on our team, you don't have enough to interrupt all of us, so he really wants to make those Chaos Bolts count in this game.
Yeah, he wants to bait all those interrupts on himself, and that's going to free up G in this game. He's going to be able to get out whatever heals he wants. He doesn't have to deal with those pesky counter spells coming in from Alex. If he does, that frees him up to get out huge damage. Interrupt over onto Alex right now. You can see him just running back to the pillar. Doesn't want to be caught in the middle of the map against this Destruction Warlock and this Elemental Shaman. They kind of know that if they can stall out the game long enough, they theoretically might have an advantage, but this bigger map already being so problematic for ABC. Look at this triangle formation coming in from Imagine PvP. The classic formation coming in from this wizard setup makes it difficult to basically hit everyone. G going down for a drink very early on, wants to keep his mana up, whereas Asgrath already down to around 70% mana. So in terms of mana, Imagine PvP does have a big advantage at this point.
So you can definitely see the respect that's being paid by ABC here. They recognize that if Alec gets locked on Arcane, he can't use any of that mobility, he can't use his temporal shield. So that means that those Chaos Bolts with Focus Chaos Sword, they are going to hurt a lot. So he's instead playing by line of sight. He's really going to stick this one out to some heavy level of dampening. But on the flip side, of course, we're losing the Fire and Brimstone, we're losing the Cremation on Alistar, and that was a lot of the reason that Asgrath was having to heal through so much damage. So if they do line of sight this, it should be easy for Asgrath to go for those drinks and just kind of stabilize over and over.
Yeah, Alistar you can see running on top of G. He's actually going to be gating away. When, you know, Alistar does have that mark of Alanith, he can use that to break his healer out of CC, something to definitely think about in the future. And any resolve is going to be used onto Alistar here as he is down to around 40% HP. Alex taking a little bit of damage in the crossfire. That was arcane power, so a decent trade there for Alistar. See G trying to get those heals out onto his Warlock, able to top him off. Nixie getting lower and lower, as well as Asgaroth. OG Dark creating huge amounts of pressure for his team. Asgaroth in a much more difficult situation on this map. If he wants to get heals on his team, it makes him susceptible to taking some of this damage. Lastar taking a lot of burst, full fear onto G. He does have that trinket up, so he should be okay. Spirit Link still available as well. Lastar is just going to be running behind the pillar, trying to slow down some of this Arcane Mage damage. Should be completely fine. Nixie having to retreat.
I'd like to see ABC use one of these offensive pushes for Asgrath to go drink, but he really just hasn't had the opportunity. He's down to about 20%, but every single time he wants to, either Nixie's low or Alex low, we see a lot of purges coming out, in particular out of Dark Archon, because he, of course, doesn't really get punished so much by having to spend the mana on it. A Soul Harvest did come out from Alistar low there once again. They were just able to line of sight that one, so they do really respect that offensive cooldown coming out of the Destruction Warlock, but if Asgrath can't get drinks, that means that ABC could lose this game quite quickly.
Yeah, Asgaroth almost completely tapped a mana at this one. OG Dark pushing in. He has to trinket out of that stun, trying to kite away as some of this damage comes in, but this is looking so good for Imagine PvP. ABC really just can't get anything going. Arcane Power is available for Alec. Asgaroth just not able to get out those drinks. That's what we said at the beginning of the game. It's going to be such an important part of them winning. You know, he in the last game was able to reset his mana basically from being completely to full, which gave them such a huge momentum swing. Nixie having a very difficult time connecting to his target right now, getting some damage out onto Lasser, but they can't be in there for too long, and Alec kind of trying to create as much pressure as he can by himself. That's the mark of Alanith onto OG Dark. So I like what they're doing. Alec needs to just basically hit whatever he can, and Nixie can bounce around. He can get some damage on the Warlock, but I really feel like OG Dark can't be pushing in. They need to punish him with that counter pressure.
Yeah, and we can see that when they do push in, we're getting the Arcane Power coming out of Alec. They were trying to get some pressure over onto Dark Archon. They forced a lot of mana out of G as well as that Astral Shift, and now he's caught up very aggressively, maybe getting Cyclone by Asgrath. Looks like he's opting to just let Nixie hit him a little bit more, but I really think that, it's super fun to see the old kind of destruction where the Chaos Bolt really does matter. If you get hit by it, Alec might be forced into the Ice Block right now. It reflects the sheep on himself, well played, but the Chaos Bolt's going to connect. It connects through the pillar. It's just not enough to force the Ice Block there. That was a little scary for Alec, but Asgrath is now completely dry. Somewhere in the stands, Thugonomics is smiling.
Yeah, he has no mana whatsoever, and you can't heal when you don't have any mana. At least that's usually how it works. OG Dark caught into the full stun now, taking a little bit of damage, but ABC in full retreat once again. Full stun onto Nixie. He has to trinket out of that immediately. Nice counterspell coming in from Alex on that Chaos Bolt. That could have been the end of Nixie right there. So good coordination by ABC, not overlapping the die by the sword. Counterspell is enough to keep him alive for another day. Asgaroth needs to somehow find a drink though. OG Dark just playing so aggressive that it makes it very difficult. Alec gets the mark of a Luneth out onto OG Dark, but anytime that happens, you can see OG Dark playing very defensive. They know when this Arcane Mage has that damage rolling, they can just play defensive. Outside of that, they should have an advantage. Double stun going out onto Nixie as well as Alec. Alec's getting dispelled out of that, actually trinketing out of that. Nixie trinkets as well, so no trinket available for Nixie, no trinket available for Alec, and no mana available for Asgaroth.
There's definitely some risks being taken here by Imagine PvP. They are pushing in without the Unending Resolve. We saw Dark Archon also pushing in without his Astral Shift prior, but they have to do it. They know that Asgrath, look, he's going to go for a drink right now. Can they stop it? They do immediately. Rain of Fire into the stun. They actually forced the Bark Skin with that one. It's such a desperate situation for ABC. Asgrath has to keep kiting away, but look at Dark Archon's position. Always on his tail, always looking for those opportunities to just pressure him. Alec also can't get away from the damage. A beautiful cap thrown at Asgrath there, forcing Alec back behind the pillar, but this is just looking so good for Imagine Imagine PvP.
ABC is doing a decent job, though. They're making sure they at least get some offensive goes available. That might give, you know, Asgrath an opportunity. You can see Asgrath actually regen some of his mana. That's a full polymorph out onto G. OG Dark looks to be the target of choice. He trinkets out of that stun, trying to kite away. Asgrath gets interrupted on that cyclone. Alec getting interrupted as well. So Laster doing a really good job with those counter spells there, slowing down ABC on this final offensive push. Now Asgrath actually looking for a drink. He manages to get the drink and the re-stealth. This is exactly what ABC needed.
He misses him.
He gets some more mana. This is so good. Alec using the temporal shield. That should heal him up a significant amount. And now the momentum shift has swung once again, but Asgrath needs to be able to stabilize his team. Nixie so low, Alec low. Asgrath getting lower as well. Needs to use that bark skin, maybe way too late. Still has Trinket into bear form. Alec getting lower and lower as well. Blinks away. Asgrath might have to commit that Iron Bark to top off his team. You can see G just pushing in, spamming out dispels. Smells blood in the water, but unfortunately for him, Asgrath was able to top off his team.
Huge moment for ABC. There's so many of those AoE effects that Imagine PvP tried to use to stop him. Narrowly missed. They didn't quite know where he was, of course, because he was hidden in stealth. Asgrath playing so well, and now that's one of the things that the Nourish spec you. When you're ahead, you are ahead. You cannot afford to use the interrupts on the Restoration Druid. He's able to keep his team topped off. So much pressure. Dark Archon does have the Astral Shift in 2 seconds if he can survive till we see the Ascendance and the Healing Tide coming out of G. Massive healing cooldowns with the Spirit Link as well. Everything has been used, and now ABC once again pushing for the kill.
Alastair doing everything he can there. He realized the best defense was offense. Popped his Unending Resolve, popped his offensive cooldown, was able to generate huge pressure, forcing Nixie and Alec to retreat, but now he's a huge target. Using that Unending Resolve offensively means he does not have it in the future, and G really doesn't have anything to keep him alive. If they can get one big setup on OG Dark or Alastair, ABC could definitely close out this game. We are at 22% dampening. Mana is actually in favor of G once again in this game. Asgrath having to expel a huge amount of mana to heal through this this Warlock damage, or sorry, yeah, this Warlock and this Elemental Shaman damage. G sitting down for a drink now, 100% mana. So Imagine PvP in the driver's seat at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big drink for G, of course. Not as impactful, I think, as the drinks from Asgrath, but definitely going to help his team. Maybe he can even use that to get some purges over onto Asgrath, and then that's huge, of course. If he gets purges over onto him, then that will reduce the nourish. But we see OG Dark dropping lower and lower. He will fall. ABC able to take the series 3-0, eliminating China as a region from BlizzCon 2017.
That is absolutely crazy. ABC is able to do it, and now we are going to know our top 10 that will be playing at Anaheim, but you got to give it up for China doing this in style, playing a really interesting comp one is. But as we're actually looking at this right now, were there any matches in particular that really stood out to you, Sidu?
I really enjoyed the Rockets Eclipse matchup. That's a team I'm keeping my eye on. I really enjoyed the Pen and Paper versus Splyce matchup. Unfortunately, Pen and Paper were eliminated. So, I mean, so far, day one, 2 teams eliminated. This has just been an insane day. A lot of matchups you didn't really expect to go that way. I am super excited for Friday to see what is left in store for us.
There is plenty more in store. This party is just getting...
Bottom, but he can immediately metamorphosis back on top. PCAT needs to peel. They drop the AMZ. They grip them in, but a triple fist of fury from Chun-Li claims that kill. And Splyce are going to take this. He's going to switch to Jelly, baits it, portals right back onto Ruckup. Would like to maybe see him stun out of the portal. He's going to get it regardless. Chaos Bolt on Jelly Beans. Airy Trust clotheslines him. They move in for it.
And
that's not even
taking
enough.
So much damage. That grip. Oh no!
Blinding light from Jim. Double blinding light. Jelly Beans trying to kite away. Jim.
He's always running away from his port so he can get that distance when he needs it, but it gets bursted down huge. Bloodlust almost out, but they don't even need it. Shape is barely surviving at 5% HP. Gates from Blank Esports. This is the CC chain over onto Lian. Jamie needs to be able to survive. He gets gripped back though with the freedom onto streaming. He's not going to get peeled away. Jamie getting lower and lower.
Lands the trap anyway, and Kara is low. Everybody is dying, and Sneaky Snakes are looking to close this as Kara goes down.
But the life bars, look at how low Imagine PvP is. They're going in on Colo though. This is going to be it. They have to go for the cross kill right now.
There's no cooldowns for sure. I know Avenging Wrath. This should be easy pickup for him with that. Oh no, it's not.
Okay,
it's going to go down. I mean, do you really lose as the Death Knight Holy Power? Do you really lose? He got interrupted in OG Dark.
do that, they're just going to lose this game.
Zito doing a good job with his position, making sure Saji has to pull off the pillar. That's a full bash onto Saji, gets trinketed out, but Doe getting lower and lower. Pop to the Stormbolt, Doe has assist available. Unitas Black. Used, but he gets locked out. He's not able to capitalize on that additional healing. Laster using his unending resolve. They want to close out the game right now. Full fear onto Asgaroth. Laster getting low as well. Could potentially be a cross kill. Polymorph out onto G, but it does break. Nixie getting lower and lower. Laster though taken down in the struggle.
But definitely going to help his team. Maybe he can even use that to get some purges over onto Asgaroth, and then that's huge, of course. If he gets purges over onto him, then that will reduce the nourish. But we see OG Dark dropping lower and lower. He will fall.